On day 1, I spawned in as the Grinch. Wow, look at that! I'm the Grinch, ready to steal Christmas. Oh no, I only have 3 hearts. I guess it's true what the story says. The Grinch's heart is way too small. I was so focused on my hearts, I didn't hear the huge group of bad snowmen creeping up on me. They blended in with the snow at first, but I heard them just before their leader grabbed me. Hey, what's the big idea? I know I'm the Grinch, but that's no reason to be so mean.
Come with us, and no one gets hurt.
Forget that. I've got to steal Christmas. I don't have time to deal with you. I pulled away from the leader and started to run away. Luckily, I was faster than the bad snowmen and was able to run past them.
Hey, get back here!
No way! As I ran away from the bad snowmen, I started thinking about what I knew about the Grinch. If I was going to be him, I wanted to get it right. I knew he was a mean one who couldn't stand the Whos or their Christmas celebrations, who wanted to take all the presents and food for himself. But wait, the Grinch doesn't work alone. He has his trusty dog Max, his only friend in the whole world. I looked around for a dog, but couldn't see one anywhere. Oh no, what happened to Max? How can I steal Christmas without him? I was about to start searching the ice caves for my dog when an ice cave spider crawled out of the cave and bit me. Ouch! I could feel that the bite had poisoned me, and I had to think fast to counter the effect. I ran and ran and ran until I found a village, and there was a pen full of cows. Perfect. Excuse me, Miss Cow. Can I have some of your milk?
Sure, fine by me.
I was able to get a milk bucket and cure the poison before I got too sick. But before I could look for any other supplies, a farmer came into the pen.
Eek! Get out of here, you! Stop trying to ruin our holiday fun!
You didn't have to tell me twice. I made my way back toward the caves, and after making sure there weren't any more spiders waiting for me, I crawled into one to rest. I found some logs, sticks, and charcoal, and crafted and placed a campfire to get warm. As I settled in, I thought about Max the dog again. What's the point of stealing Christmas without my best friend? I have to find him and get him back so we can pull off the holiday heist of the century. On day 2, I woke up and went out of the cave. I made it through the first day, but if I was going to keep surviving, I needed to find a safe place to hide out. But I didn't want to stay somewhere that the bad snowmen might come looking for me again. I decided that, whether they liked it or not, I should camp out closer to that village. That way, I'd have lots of people who would also see the snowmen coming. But I couldn't set up right in the village either. If I was too close, people like that farmer might get mad and chase me out of town. Then I'd have to start all over. I decided to have a look around and see what was right by the village. It turned out that there was a mountain right next to the village, and from the top of the mountain, I could see the villagers down below. Perfect. Not too close, but not too far, and not out by those dangerous snowy caves where the snowmen found me before. This is it. This is where I'll build my base. But before I could build it, I needed some tools. I made myself a crafting table and crafted a wooden pickaxe. Next, I took that pickaxe and mined some stones. Awesome! Now I can make stone tools. I made a pickaxe, an axe, a shovel, and a sword. Then I got to work gathering some more wood so I could build my base. All the way up here, on the edge of a cliff, it was going to be kind of tricky to build, but I knew I could do it. While I was working, I saw a figure approaching me. It looked like a villager. I'm just building a base. I'm not here to steal from you. But as they got closer, I realized it was a pillager instead, and he shot an arrow at me. Oh, no you don't. I drew my sword and managed to fight him off. Then I chased him away from my base for good measure. As I was walking back to my base, I saw that someone had dropped some cookies and left a chest in the middle of the forest. The chest had a bunch of supplies in it. These aren't mine. It would be selfish to take them. But I am the Grinch after all. It started to get dark and began to snow, so I settled in for a good night's rest. I'll get even more done tomorrow. On day 3, I woke up knowing that I needed to get more supplies. I looked all over the mountain, but I couldn't find anything useful. So I decided to sneak back down into the nearby village instead. If the villagers are going to treat me like a criminal because I'm the Grinch, then I guess I'd better start stealing. I decided to go to a different village than the one right below my base, just in case they caught me and chased me back home. Instead, I went to the next village over and started sneaking through town looking for supplies to snatch. But as I entered the village, I heard someone scream. Help! I did see something though, a horde of zombies attacking the village. No wonder someone was screaming. Get back, undead creeps! I drew my sword and started swinging, fighting off the green ghouls. A little girl appeared on top of a nearby building, holding a bow and arrow. She started firing arrows at the zombies, and between her arrows and my sword, we drove all of those nasty undead back out of town. She came to greet me. Thanks for the help.
Sure. My name is Cindy Lou Who. What's yours?
Zozo, but you can call me Mr. Grinch. Say, have you seen any bad snowmen around here, or just these zombies?
The snowmen came yesterday. They took a whole bunch of people with them. My family, too. I don't know who they're working for, but they keep kidnapping people and destroying our town.
That must have been what happened to her parents. Come back to my base with me. We can hide out and stay safe while we figure out who those bad snowmen are working for. On days 4 to 5, Cindy and I worked on the base together. We demolished the previous starter house I made and built a bigger house. I even added a loft where Cindy could live. But it still wasn't completely finished. We needed to strengthen our security to keep safe, just in case the snowmen came back, or something else found us. And whoever was ordering them around, the big bad who took Max, was probably way tougher than them.
I'm getting pretty hungry. Could we look for some food?
Great idea. Me too. I think I saw some apple trees down this way. Help me pick some. I've got some other supplies we can use to make a pie.
I love pie.
Who doesn't? Cindy and I found a whole bunch of apple trees and started picking the fruit to take back to our base. As we were gathering apples, we suddenly heard a howl. What was that? Cindy and I both looked around and saw a pack of feral wolves closing in around us. Cindy was so much more defenseless than me, I couldn't let the wolves get to her. Quick, Cindy, climb this tree and get to safety. I'll handle these wolves.
I can use my bow and arrows from up there too.
Cindy climbed up out of reach and started firing arrows at the wolves. I helped out with my sword from down on the ground, and together we were able to defeat the wolves. As Cindy climbed back down from the tree, I noticed something shiny on the ground. A bottle. One of the wolves must have been carrying this in its mouth. It's a potion of healing. Sweet. I grabbed it, and together Cindy and I took all of our apples back to the base.
We're going to need to find a way to keep danger away from our base. I think I might have an idea. But first, let's eat.
On days 6 to 8, Cindy and I started to get really hungry again. We can't live on apples forever. We need to find another food source.
Oh, I know what we can do. We had cows and chickens back in my village. No one's using them right now. We should go get them.
Oh, great. Let's make some pens for them first. We worked together to build the pens, 2 for the chickens and a big one for the cows. We even added a small farm to feed the animals. Then we headed back down to Cindy's village to round up the animals. As we were working hard to herd the animals in the right direction, which was much more difficult than I expected, I heard a voice yelling at us.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch, but you're no match for me. Better come willingly if you ever want to see your dog Max again.
What? Who's talking about my best friend Max? I looked up, but I couldn't see anyone. I could just hear them.
Wait, look!
Cindy pointed, and I saw a huge Jabberwock looking down at us from the top of a tall tree. You took Max?
My friends call me Steve, and my enemies call me Evil Steve. I took your little dog, and Cindy's parents too. And I won't stop there. You think you can steal Christmas? Try doing that when there is no one left to celebrate it. I'm taking them all, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Next, I'll take you too.
The Jabberwock jumped down from the tree and landed hard in front of us. The force from his blow knocked my sword right out of my hand. Oh no, what should I do? This isn't the kind of reindeer I thought I'd be meeting as the Grinch. I ran after the sword, and Cindy followed me. Evil Steve just stood there laughing, and we knew we weren't strong enough to beat him. Not yet. I grabbed my sword, and we ran back to the base. Evil Steve didn't chase us, but we knew it wasn't the last we'd seen of him. Next time, we'd have to make sure we were ready, so we could defeat him and set everyone free. Maybe I can be the Grinch who saved Christmas instead. On days 9 to 10, Cindy could tell I was getting discouraged. I was feeling pretty scared after our encounter with Evil Steve, and pretty worried that I wouldn't be able to get Max back.
It'll be okay, Zozo. I think if we work hard, we can get strong enough to beat him, to rescue Max and my parents and everyone else.
How? He's so big, and we're so small.
I know you don't think you can be a hero like this, but you helped me with the zombies, and again with the wolves. Together, we can do anything. Tell me more about Max. You'd do anything to get him back, right?
Well, he's the most loyal dog in the world. No matter what, he sticks by my side and helps me with whatever I want to do. He was even willing to be a reindeer and pull my sleigh to steal Christmas, even though he's so small and the sleigh would be so big. I just wish I'd told him thank you more before he was missing.
I have an idea I think might help cheer you up. Let's build a statue of Max together to show him how much you appreciate him and to welcome him to the base.
We talked it out near a forest and decided to clear out an area to make room for the statue. After that was done, we started construction on the Max statue. We worked all day, and by the time we were finished, we had the bed Max would sit on, only much bigger. We're off to a great start.
We are, but it's starting to get dark. I think we should build some torches to keep any enemies from coming up to the base while we're sleeping. That was my idea from before. I almost forgot in all of the excitement.
Great idea. I don't know what I'd do without you, Cindy. I proceeded to quickly craft some torches and place them around the base. On the night of day 11, I had the strangest dream. I saw a very little reindeer grazing by a stream with a herd of other reindeer. As he ate the grass, an evil wizard approached the herd of reindeer.
Hello, little reindeer. Nice stream you've got here. It's a shame it's in the way of where I'm going to put my castle. You all need to leave, or perish.
But this is our home.
Too bad. Get out of here, or I'll make you go.
The reindeer were terrified and confused. They didn't want to leave.
Please, put your castle somewhere else. It's Christmas. Where are we supposed to go?
No, and I don't care. I need my castle here for my grand Christmas party, and none of you are invited. For your insolence, I will turn you all into frogs.
And the wizard cast an evil spell, transforming every reindeer in sight into frogs. But the littlest reindeer ran away before he could be cursed too. He ran and ran and ran to a nearby village.
Please, help me. An evil wizard turned my family into frogs.
But none of the villagers would listen to him. They closed their doors and locked him out. He cried and wandered into the forest, looking for a way to become strong enough to go back and defeat the evil wizard. He came across a deep dark cave and found a podium. A sign next to it said, "Drink this to become stronger than your enemies." There was a bottle of dark purple potion. The little reindeer drank the entire bottle. Then he transformed into a great, big Jabberwock. He ran back to the evil wizard, who had now built his castle in the reindeer's old home.
Remember me?
He defeated the evil wizard and made him run out of the castle, taking it for himself.
But I'm still not happy. I could never forgive the villagers for leaving me alone to face this evil force. I will never forgive them. Somehow, I will find a way to get my revenge.
And then I woke up. I couldn't explain why, but somehow I knew that what I had seen was real. I told Cindy all about it, and she agreed. On days 13 to 15, I went back to Cindy's village to get some more animals and herd them back to our base. The chickens Cindy got seemed pretty lonely, and we were both getting really hungry. So I herded some chickens and cows back to the base. Then I went back to the village again for some sheep and pigs. Here, piggies. Here, sheep. But the animals started running away, like they were scared of something. I looked up, and there were those zombies again. There were even more of them than before, and this time I didn't have Cindy and her bow and arrow to help me out. But I stood my ground instead of running away. I pulled out my sword to face them. Come and get it, zombies! As they approached, I took them down one by one. I don't have time for this. I have to help my friend, get back her parents, and rescue my dog. Get out of this village, now! As I defeated the zombies, I felt a surge of bravery and strength coursing through my veins, and I felt my heart grow in size. I gained 2 hearts too. As I looked down at my GRINCH fingers, I noticed that they had gotten long, pointer, and claw-like. This made my attacks even faster. I'll be able to defeat Evil Steve in no time. I can't wait to show Cindy. On days 16 to 19, I brought the sheep and pigs back to the base, and I showed Cindy my new fighting skill.
That's amazing!
Now I just need to find some materials to upgrade our weapons. Then we can really make some progress.
I'll get the animals settled, and you can start mining.
With our plan sorted out, I started digging into a cave system and mining for materials. I found some iron. Nice! Now I can make iron tools. As I was gathering the iron, I spotted a little bunny. Aw, hi bunny! But as I got closer, I realized that this was no ordinary bunny. It had red eyes and was coming at me fast. It was a killer bunny. Oh geez, not now! Well, I guess it's time to test out my new abilities. The killer bunny leapt at me and attacked, but I was ready for it. I was here to steal Christmas, but I guess I can take on Easter too. I fought back, blocking the bunny and sending it flying back a few steps. It came at me again, but I swung my new long fingers and knocked it away. With a bit of time to gather myself, I pulled out my sword and slashed it back and forth until the killer bunny got scared and ran out of the mine and off into the woods. Hop along now, little bunny. Go pick on someone a little less awesome. Now, let me grab this iron. I took the iron back to my base, smelted it, and made a full set of iron armor and tools for me and Cindy. On days 20 to 22, I woke up to the sound of Cindy calling for me.
Zozo, Mr. GRINCH, we need to get ready. Are you here?
I'm up. What's going on? I ran outside to see Cindy standing with an old man I hadn't seen before.
Mr. Zozo Grinch, Evil Steve is on his way here right now.
How do you know that?
Because I just managed to escape from his castle, and I wanted to get back and find my granddaughter. I'm afraid I must have led him right to you.
Wait, are you Cindy's grandfather?
I am, but we don't have time for proper introductions. You need to get ready. I will do my best to help you fight him off, but I'm not a very strong fighter.
If he's headed this way, then I'll meet him before he gets to the base. There's no time to waste. I grabbed my new iron sword and pulled on my brand new armor. I ran ahead, following the sound of Evil Steve's big, booming footsteps. There you are. I'm stronger than I was before. I'm not scared of you.
You should be. You think a little more training and a simple iron sword will be enough? You're a fool. You're a bad banana with a greasy peel.
Taking innocent dogs and villagers won't make up for what that wizard did to your family. Can't you find someone to turn them back into reindeer and just leave everyone else alone?
It's too late for that. There will be no stopping me. I'm going to take all of the villagers from every village around here, throw them in my dungeon, then go through their homes and take all of their food and holiday presents for myself. None of them deserve to celebrate.
So, you're trying to steal Christmas? That's my thing. Before I could say anything else, he was swiping at me with those big Jabberwock claws. But my armor protected me, and I fought back with my new sword. He dodged, but I got a few good hits in too.
This is a waste of time. You haven't seen the last of me.
And he disappeared back into the trees. Sure, I didn't defeat him, and I didn't have Max back yet, but I could tell he was a little bit scared this time. He may have been big and bad, but with some more time and training, I could be even better. On days 23 to 26, Cindy and I returned to our abandoned village to look for materials that might help us defeat Evil Steve. Anything he could have left behind, or any extra supplies that might help us upgrade our weapons, our armor, or our base. While we were searching an empty house, I found a crossbow. Wow, this will really come in handy if I need to do some ranged attacks. And look, here are some fireworks to use as ammunition. That's some real firepower.
What's this over here?
Cindy was standing by a bookshelf where one of the books had fallen onto the ground. I picked it up and read it. If you are liking the video so far, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment on what adventure you think we should go on next. Weird, must be some kind of secret code or something. Let's keep looking. On days 27 to 31, Cindy and I went back to the base, and I started doing more work on the statue of Max. After that fight with Evil Steve, and the exhausting search for more supplies, I needed something to get my spirits up. This looks pretty good so far, but I think it's missing something. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. We need some oak planks to make this really perfect. There's some down by the beach.
Great, you keep working here, and I'll go to the beach. I made the journey to the beach based on Cindy's directions. But when I got there and started looking for oak trees, a tarantula crawled out of its home and attacked me. Hey, whoa, I'm just here for some oak trees. I don't want any trouble. But the tarantula didn't listen to me and just kept attacking. It bit me. Ow, stop it, that hurts. Let me get the oak logs and I'll be out of your way. It bit me again and I started getting pretty mad. Okay, if that's how you want to do this. I grabbed my iron sword and slashed at the tarantula, knocking it away before it could bite me again. It skittered away, leaving me alone once and for all. Finally, now let's see about that oak tree. I gathered all the blocks I needed for the statue and headed back to the base to help Cindy keep building. On days 32 to 35, I was heading back to my base when suddenly I saw a moose charging right at me, its antlers lowered to strike. Hey, I'm just walking here. I dove out of the way, but the moose just turned around and started to charge me again. What did I ever do to you? This time, I climbed a tree and pulled out my new crossbow. I shot a firework toward the moose, and when it exploded, it scared the moose so badly it jumped up into the air. Then it ran away without another look.
Wow, that was impressive.
Who said that? I looked around, but couldn't see anyone.
Down here.
Below the tree, poking out of a hole, was a mouse.
Say, if you're a big mighty hero, would you help me with something?
What is it?
This awful Jabberwock stole a present I got from my mother. Could you help me get it back?
I'm trying to defeat him anyway. Where is it?
I heard he has a bunch of his stolen loot stashed on an island nearby in a treasure chest. He keeps it there until it's time to bring it all to his castle.
Don't worry, I'll get the present back. On days 36 to 39, I traveled to the island that the mouse had told me about. I used a raft to get across the water, and thankfully nothing attacked me on the way. When I finally made it to the island, I could see the treasure chest, but I could also see something else. There were soul vultures above the treasure chest, guarding it from anyone looking to take it. Oh no, what should I do about them? There's no way I can get the present back if they're up there waiting for me. What can I do? Should I try to use my crossbow to fight them off? Or should I try to sneak onto the island and use my long Grinch fingers to grab the treasure chest without them noticing? There are a lot of them. I think I'd rather do the second one if I can. But I'll bring my weapons, just in case. On days 40 to 43, I hopped off my raft and got up onto the island without the soul vultures seeing me. I tiptoed onto the sand as carefully and quietly as I could and crawled along the ground toward the treasure chest. I stretched my fingers and grabbed the items from the treasure chest. Success! The soul vultures were still above me and hadn't seen a thing.
Psst, excuse me.
I turned and saw a mouse in a little cage behind me.
The key to this cage was in that treasure chest. Could you help me out?
Yes, but we will have to move fast. I pulled the key out, then unlocked the cage and released the mouse.
No, thank you so much.
Quick, let's get out of here. I went back to the raft, and the mouse followed me as well. The soul vultures finally realized what had happened, but we were long gone and paddling back across the water. And for some reason, the crabs started dancing as if they were happy for the soul vultures' misfortune. I brought the contents of the treasure chest back to the first mouse I met.
Amazing, thank you. Now I can give my mother her hat. Oh, and you can keep all the pies I made in exchange for saving me.
Yum, thank you. I know the Grinch is supposed to be mean, but sometimes being nice can be pretty sweet. On days 44 to 49, I made it back to the base. I finally gave Cindy the oak logs, and she helped me add it to the next part of the statue. It's really starting to look like Max. I think this will be a great present. Next, we built some guard towers for the base. Now that Evil Steve knew where to find us, we had to be sure to be extra careful. With these new towers, if he tries to come back and mess with us, he won't know what hit him. On days 50 to 53, Evil Steve struck again when we were least expecting it.
We meet again, Zozo. Aren't you happy to see me? I see that you've been accepting guests lately. Got any room for me and my friends, the stone monsters?
Oh no, it looks like he really does have an army of stone monsters. My crossbow bolts will probably bounce right off of them. Cindy Lou, take your grandpa and hide in the base. It's too dangerous for you to be out here.
But Zozo.
Just go. It's okay. I can handle myself. Cindy and her grandpa ran back to the base. I had to buy them some time.
Either you let us in, or we'll bring you and your friends back to my castle. We have plenty of room for our new guests.
We're staying exactly where we are, Evil Steve. You really think you're better at stealing than the Grinch?
No, but I'm better at kidnapping. Get 'em, boys.
That's when the stone monsters came at me. I'm so glad I made those iron weapons and tools, or I would have never stood a chance. They came at me one by one, and I struck at them with my sword until they were either knocked down or ran away. But wait, where's Evil Steve?
Zozo, help me.
Cindy Lou, I'm on my way. I ran inside and found Cindy Lou crying. She seemed really upset.
Zozo, Evil Steve came in here. He took my grandpa. I don't know what to do.
It's okay, Cindy. We'll get him back, no matter what. I went outside of the base, and that's when the last few stone monsters attacked. They'd just been a distraction, while Evil Steve kidnapped Cindy Lou's grandpa. I defeated the last few stone monsters with my sword, and I got another upgrade. I worked my way up to 7 hearts and got a new skill, Grinch Sneak. Because the Grinch is so good at sneaking around, I'll be able to sneak into places without being found. You'll never see me coming, Evil Steve. On days 54 to 57, I decided our base needed better security. We don't want any repeats of last time. And it made sense. After all, the Grinch doesn't like visitors. For my security system, I decided to go classic, a massive fence. But it's not like Evil Steve would be afraid of a little fence. I needed to get serious. That's why I added more guard towers. Now that's a Grinchy security system. After that, I decided I needed a little more information about what Evil Steve was planning. If I was going to steal back Cindy Lou's grandpa, I couldn't go in unprepared. That's why I went back to the plains to talk to the mouse I helped out earlier. Hey, Mr. Mouse, Evil Steve kidnapped my friend's grandpa and my dog Max. I want to help get them back, along with all other kidnapped people. Do you have any idea what he's planning?
Well, I've always tried to avoid Evil Steve myself, with him being evil and all, but I know every year he hosts a big Christmas party, and he makes all his prisoners go, whether they want to or not. If you're planning on sneaking in, that'll probably be the best time.
Now there's an idea. Maybe stealing Evil Steve's Christmas wouldn't be such a bad thing. On days 58 to 62, I decided it was time to upgrade my armor. Iron was fine and all, but for going after the big boss, I needed something serious. That's right, it's time for the Grinch to get his long, grinchy hands on some diamond armor and weapons. But getting your hands on diamond armor isn't easy. I found a huge dark cave and decided to explore it, but eventually I got to a dead end. Well, I guess sometimes the only way to go is down. I started mining deep into the ground with my iron pickaxe. That's when I discovered an even deeper part of the cave, where lava was flowing. But hey look, there's a diamond deposit. You know what they say, diamonds are Grinch's best friend. At least, I think that's the expression. The last thing I expected was for this cave to be haunted. A ghost ancient warrior popped out of the wall and started attacking me. I'm sorry for disturbing your burial grounds. I just wanted some diamonds, I swear. But he didn't listen to reason. He kept attacking me, so I needed to pull out my sword and defend myself. I even fired my crossbow a few times. I've heard of ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, but this is something else. Thankfully, I'm a much stronger fighter than I used to be. I kept fighting back until the ancient warrior ghost disappeared. But he didn't just disappear, he dropped a potion too. Potion of swiftness. That'll come in handy later. Don't mind if I do. I mined my diamonds and headed back to my base. That's where I made what I'd set out to make. A full set of diamond armor and a sword to match. Merry Christmas to me! On days 63 to 66, I carried on working on the statue of Max. It reminded me of what was most important, getting Max and Cindy Lou's grandpa, and everyone else, back safely for Christmas. But my statue of Max was looking a little sad. It needed something. But what? Oh, I know. Max always loved chasing a ball around. I should add a ball to the statue. I started making a nice red ball right in front of the statue of Max. It looked as if he was looking at it cheerfully. That's the Max I remember. When I get him back, I'm gonna play ball with him for hours. And if you want hours of fun too, then you should subscribe to Zozo and check out all of our fun Minecraft adventures. I love reading all of your awesome comments too. On days 67 to 70, it was finally time to stage my first rescue mission. The mouse told me that Evil Steve keeps all of his prisoners in his massive castle. If Max and Cindy Lou's grandpa are gonna be going to any Christmas parties this year, it'll be mine. Whoa, look at that castle. It's so creepy. Why would anyone want to go to a Christmas party in there? Uh-oh, looks like he's got some more minions outside. Are those undead warriors? They make zombies look like sweet old grandmas in comparison. Evil Steve doesn't mess around when it comes to home defense. Maybe I should get some of those for my base. But I needed to worry about that later. How can I fight my way in? If I just go in, swords blazing, I might have attracted too much attention. I need to create a distraction. This is where my crossbow came in. I aimed it carefully from a hidden position and fired a bolt at a random corner of the castle walls. That got their attention. Then, I needed to move fast. Lucky for me, I had a potion of swiftness. While the undead warriors were on their way over, I took the potion and then used my Grinch sneak skill to slip right past them and made my way into the castle, right under their nose. Now I'm really living up to my Grinchy reputation. On days 71 to 74, I made my way deeper into Evil Steve's castle. It was somehow even creepier on the inside. After exploring for a bit, I opened a door at the end of the hall, and behind the door was a bunch of undead warriors waiting for me. Guess those undead warriors were way smarter than I gave them credit for. I'm totally surrounded. Do you think we can just talk this out? The undead warriors didn't feel like talking. Actually, I don't even know if they can talk, but they sure can fight. I pulled out my diamond sword and went toe-to-toe with Evil Steve's undead warrior security force. They jumped at me one by one, and every single one of them gave me a run for my money. By the time I'd finally defeated them all, I was exhausted, but I also noticed one of them drop something, an antler headdress. Wow, this suits my style perfectly. I'm gonna look so cool. Not only was the antler headdress a strong fashion statement, it also gave me increased knockbacks on my attacks, an additional half a heart, and healed me when I was in a pinch. But personally, I think the coolest part of it all was that I'd have antlers, just like Evil Steve. I was so obsessed with my cool new hat that I almost didn't notice the giant door at the end of the hall. That looks like the door to the dungeon. Don't worry, everybody. Zozo is coming to save you. On days 75 to 78, I finally broke into the dungeon in Evil Steve's castle. It was huge. I couldn't even count how many villagers he had packed into cells. I even recognized the farmer who'd chased me off from my first day.
Help me, Zozo. You gotta get us all out of here, please.
Don't worry, I'm gonna get you all out of here. But we need to be careful. Evil Steve could be anywhere around here. The farmer dropped a potion of healing, and suddenly I could hear Evil Steve. Oh no!
You're right, Zozo. I could be anywhere.
Of course, he's right behind me. That's the exact kind of luck that the Grinch would have.
You fell right into my trap, Zozo. I bet you're here for your precious little dog, aren't you?
I'm here for everybody, but yes, of course I want Max back.
Then you'll have to go through me, you grinchy little fool.
That's when Evil Steve swiped at me with his huge, curved Jabberwock claws. He was so much stronger and faster than any of his minions. I could see why he runs the show around here. He hit me so hard, I lost a few hearts. That put me in real trouble. But wait, I remember now. I have the healing potion. Bottoms up. Recharged, I pulled out my diamond sword and ran at him. Evil Steve was shocked at how strong I had gotten. That'd teach him to look down on me. I told you I was a mean one, Evil Steve, and I bet you believe me now. But I shouldn't have been so confident, because everything was about to get much harder. On days 79 to 84, Evil Steve stopped attacking and seemed like he wanted to talk.
It seems I underestimated you, Zozo, but don't worry. I won't make that mistake again. Bear witness to my true power.
I've beaten all your guys, Evil Steve, and I'll beat you too.
Huh, I wouldn't be so sure.
I could see everyone cowering in their cells, so I knew I was about to see something really, really scary, and Evil Steve didn't disappoint. He grew larger. He barely fit into the room. His claws were almost the size of me. One strike with those, even wearing my diamond armor, I'd be done for. I tried hitting him with my diamond sword, but he didn't even flinch. He started laughing hysterically, as if I had just tickled him.
You thought you could mess with me and get away with it? You thought you could steal my party guest, my Christmas? You made a mistake, Zozo, but don't worry, it's the last mistake you'll ever make.
He jumped forward and swung one of his claws. The might of his claws almost knocked me out. There was no way I could save anyone from him in this state. I'm so sorry, guys, but I've got to go. He's too powerful. I promise I'll come back for you soon. And as I ran away, all of the villagers were looking at me while Evil Steve laughed. I felt terrible. It was like I had let everyone down. On days 85 to 89, I went back to my base. A failure. I didn't know if I'd ever be strong enough to face Evil Steve. Forget stealing Christmas. There's not even going to be a Christmas. All thanks to Evil Steve. But that's when Cindy Lou approached me, and she was carrying a book.
It's a multi-shot enchantment book. With this, your crossbow will fire 3 shots at once, so it'll be 3 times as powerful.
But Cindy Lou, don't you get it? I'm not strong enough to beat Evil Steve. It's over. I failed, no matter how cool my crossbow is.
That's not true, Zozo. You're smart and kind, even for a Grinch. And I know you want to get Max and my grandpa and everyone else back. One way or another, you'll figure it out. I believe in you.
And that was exactly what I needed to hear. In that moment, I knew I could save everyone. Maybe I could even save Evil Steve. But there were a few final things I needed to do first. I finished the Max statue, finishing off the antler I tied to the top of his head. He looked exactly like I wanted him to, and I just knew when Max saw the finished statue, he'd be amazed. And then there was one last thing I could do that might give me an advantage against Evil Steve. To defeat him, I needed to talk to the guy who made him the way he was. The Evil Wizard. I found him out next to a frozen lake, living in a beat-up old shack rather than a big castle. I asked him if he knew anything that might help me stop Evil Steve.
Well, if you want to change his tune, your best bet will be returning him to his original reindeer form.
But how would I do that?
There's a potion of form reversion, but the only one I know about is hidden in the ancient tomb and guarded by the Vex.
Then I guess I'm going to the ancient tomb. On days 90 to 94, under the instructions of the Evil Wizard, I went to the ancient tomb in search of the potion of form reversion. It's so spooky in here, and I wonder what that Vex thing the Evil Wizard mentioned is. And that's when I found out. The Vex flew straight towards me, carrying a spectral sword. He was as fast as he was scary, but thanks to Cindy Lou, I had my special crossbow. A few well-placed shots, and he was down. I guess you weren't so tough after all, Vex. I found the potion of form reversion on a stand at the back of the ancient tomb. Looks like I finally had the secret ingredient to change everything. Hope you're ready for a Christmas you'll never forget, Evil Steve. On days 95 to 97, Cindy Lou helped me make a few final adjustments. We applied the sharpness enchantment to my diamond sword just so it'd pack that extra punch. We also prepared a few extra potions, including the potion of healing and the potion of strength.
I wouldn't want to take you on now, Zozo.
On day 98, it was almost time to finally go and take down Evil Steve for good. But first, I had one more important thing to do. Eat a balanced breakfast. After all, to fight a final battle, you need energy, and you get energy by eating right. Did you know you can also get an energy boost from typing ZOZO on YouTube and finding all of our videos? And be sure to leave a comment telling us what character or creature you'd like to see me play next. I love reading your suggestions. On day 99, it was time for the final battle. I returned to Evil Steve's castle, armed and loaded with every weapon, enchantment, and potion I'd gathered over my time here. Alright, Evil Steve, time for you to find out what I'm really made of. I used my Grinch sneak ability to get back into the castle without being found. Evil Steve never seems to run out of undeath warriors. Hope you guys don't mind if I just slip by without saying hi. I knew my way around since I got in last time, and I used my sneak ability and found my way to the dungeon room immediately. I knew that Evil Steve would be waiting for me, so I quickly drank a strength potion and ran straight into the main room of the dungeon.
You're back, Zozo. Ready to be defeated again?
Not this time, Evil Steve. I'm a whole new Grinch. The time was right. I went through my final upgrade into Super Grinch. My hearts really did grow 3 sizes that day, because now I had 30, as well as being bigger, faster, and stronger than ever before.
You're getting uninvited for my Christmas party for this, Zozo.
That's okay, Evil Steve. You're still invited to mine. And so the fight began. He was fast and strong for sure, but in my current form, we were finally evenly matched. I took my potions of healing and strength, and they kept me fighting fit. It's over, Evil Steve. You can't win this. With a few hits from my diamond sword, Evil Steve was cornered, and I had my trump card left over, the form a reversion potion. Time to take your medicine, Evil Steve. I gave him the potion, and in the instant, he transformed back into the reindeer he once was.
Wow, I finally feel like myself again. I don't feel like being so evil anymore.
Glad to hear it, Steve. How about you help me free all these prisoners then? I'd like my dog back, Cindy Lou wants her grandpa back, and everyone else just wants to go home.
Yes, Zozo, of course. Now where did I put that key?
With Evil Steve turned back into a reindeer again, and becoming regular nice Steve, he returned to his home and seemed happy to be back to normal. I finally did steal Christmas, and also stole back all of the villagers, and Max, and Cindy Lou's grandpa, and everyone else. We all celebrated Christmas together, and had an awesome time. I may not have been that great as the Grinch, but at least I had a wonderful Christmas.
On day 1, I spawned in as King Kong. Check me out, I'm the king of the world. But wait, why do I only have a few hearts? I'm a massive ape for crying out loud. That's when I realized I was on a playground. Looks like I'm not the king quite yet. From out of nowhere came a man wearing a black suit and tie. Oh, he must be super nice. We can always trust strangers in nice suits, right?
Don't run, alien. You're coming with me. You're in trouble.
Alien? Why is he calling me that? Just then, the man in black started to try and capture me. I'll never go with you. Kidnapping is wrong. I couldn't believe this guy. I had no choice but to run.
Stop making a fuss and get into my unmarked vehicle. I have candy.
The man in black was chasing after me and kept calling me an alien. What's this guy's deal? I ran into the forest and climbed up a big tree. Nice try, kidnapper. After resting for a bit in the tree, I jumped down to see if the man in black was gone. The coast was clear. Phew, I hope I never see that guy again. Just then, I heard some rustling. Was he back? Nope, it was a badger. Oh boy, I'm glad it's just you. There was a really weird dude chasing me earlier. The badger didn't want to chat. He was mad that I was on his turf and tried to attack me. Back off, Badgie. I punched him and knocked him away. Huh, I'm not so weak after all. Nice try, punk. That badger had definitely learned his lesson. Or so I thought, because it wasn't long before I was surrounded by an entire badger gang. I'm having a really rough day. They had me surrounded. Suddenly, I felt something in my chest, and I let out a giant roar. The badgers jumped and ran off. I have no idea where that came from, but it worked. I'll have to remember that for the future. It was getting dark, so I climbed back up into a tree for the night to sleep in the branches. Wow, from up here, it's almost like I could touch the moon. It's huge. As I fell asleep, I couldn't help but wonder if I'd ever find a family out there, so I wouldn't be so alone. On day 2, I decided it was time to make my way in this world. I started to wander around and it led me to a jungle. Oh, this certainly feels like the place to make a home. I started to cut down wood and gather stone. I made my crafting table and got to work creating tools and a couple of weapons. Easy squeezy, weapon pleasey. I knew I was going to need a base very soon, so I started collecting resources for that too. But this was the jungle, and it wasn't long before I was disturbed by a very grumpy venomous snake. I know how to handle this. I took a deep breath and roared, and nothing happened. Uh-oh, maybe snakes don't have very good hearing. Oh well, I'll just have to take care of him the old-fashioned way. It was a good thing I had just made a sword, which I used to quickly take him out. Now that the snake was gone, it made me want to build a really well-hidden base. I didn't want the man in black to find me, or anything else for that matter. As I went deeper into the jungle, I soon saw a giant boulder. That rock would be a good foundation for my base. I got right to work constructing the beginnings of my jungle home. It was coming along nicely, but I soon got tired and needed to rest for the night. It was cozy in my small but sturdy base. I fell asleep thinking of plans plans to eventually construct my home into a jungle temple. On day 3, I woke up bright and early to explore the jungle. Suddenly, I heard a squeak and saw a cute little green creature running away from a big crocodile. I followed him and saw the poor little green creature was cornered by the croc. Hey, stop right there, croc. How about you take a bite out of this? I started hitting him with my sword. He snapped at me, but I was able to dodge his blows. We brawled for a bit, but eventually I was able to knock him out. I looked around for the little green guy and saw he was running away. Hey, I'm not mean, I promise. He didn't stop running, so I followed him. Don't be scared. Look, I've got a banana. Want one? The little green creature turned and stopped running. You're probably hungry. Here you go. He really liked it, and I think it helped him trust me.
Like banana I do.
Oh, he can talk. I asked him his name and where his home was.
Luno, my name is. Lunarian, I am. On the moon, I live, but from the moon, I fell. Lost, I am. A lot of mean creatures here there are, but you, nice you are. Alone, I am.
I'm alone too. That's pretty cool you're from the moon though. I have no idea how to get you home, but I'm happy to try. The alien was relieved to hear I would try and help him. I invited him to stay at the base until we figured something out. He agreed and we went back together. On days 4 to 5, I made it back to the base. We added another room so that Luno had a space of his own. I'm going to need more materials to build some more of this temple. You stay here, Luno. I'll be back. I walked around the jungle and began mining and collecting all sorts of things from the temple. What was that? I thought I heard something. Guess not. I got back to collecting things. I heard some more rustling behind me and some malicious giggling. I turned and saw the group of badgers that had ganged up on me earlier. Oh, brother, not you guys again. When are you going to just leave me alone already? I took in a big breath and gave my best banshee roar. Some of the badgers ran off, but some of them just stayed there. That's strange. Well, now I wasn't defenseless like last time. I brandished my sword. I got this in the badger. I started swinging and hitting the badgers that had stuck around. I'll bet they wish they had run away. After I had gotten rid of all of the badgers, I noticed one of them had dropped something. It was an item that protected against sound attacks. Pretty clever badgers. Gotta hand it to them. I finished gathering materials and headed back to the base. I told Luna what had happened with the badger.
Strong fighter you are.
Ah, shucks, Luno. It was getting late and had been a long day, so we settled in for the night. Luno looked up at the moon before he fell asleep. He missed his home. It was close, yet so far. On days 6 to 8, I woke up ready to face the day. I wanted to find upgrades for the base, and Luno wanted to explore a little bit too. I told him to be careful and call out to me if anything happened. While I explored below some azalea trees, I noticed an entrance to a cave. I know what this means. Iron time. I hopped down into the cave. It was so lush down here. I got out my sword and quickly took care of the slimy pests. I found some really neat, dark-colored cobblestone, plus plenty of iron. This cave rocked. Pun intended. I couldn't wait to check out more, but it was then that I heard something from outside the cave. I better take a look. I carefully peeked out of the cave and saw the men in black running past. He was back. That was close. He could have seen me. What is he up to now? That was Luno's scream. I rushed out of the cave to find Luno. I no longer cared about my safety. I couldn't let the man in black kidnap him. This is terrible. I should have never let Luno go off alone. I wasn't going down without a fight. Feel my wrath, kidnapper. I went to knock his blocks off, but before I could get over there, he suddenly evaporated into particles. What kind of kidnapper magic was this? I was left alone with only my regrets to keep me company. What was I to do? On days 9 to 10, I was so discouraged. The man in black was too cunning. There was no chance I'd be able to save Luno. I didn't even know where he was taken. Maybe a walk will clear my head. I wandered around the jungle and through the forest. Eventually, I ended up in a familiar spot. It was the playground I started off at. I climbed back onto the small skyscraper. There was something comforting about being on top of it. I'm supposed to be King Kong, king of the jungle, but I couldn't even save my friend. Sitting on the skyscraper gave me an idea though. I know, I can build a statue to help take my mind off of things. So I went back towards my base. I stopped at an area that was nearby, but not so close that it would give my base away. I started clearing the area for my big project. Once I was done clearing the area, I started the foundation of the skyscraper. Not too shabby. It was a great start, but that would be enough for now. It was about to get dark and mobs would be spawning. I headed back to the base and crafted some gear with iron to pass the time. I hoped Luno was okay. After a while, I decided to call it a night and got some sleep. On days 11 to 12, I got up bright and early. I was looking forward to building my statue, but I was going to need a ton of materials to build my skyscraper. I headed out of the jungle and into a bamboo forest. As I was exploring, I noticed a large building hiding among the plants. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. There was an old spooky looking mansion. I was so intrigued by it. I went inside and had a look around. I wonder who used to own this place. Maybe it was an explorer. I was taking a closer look at things when I was startled by the sound of someone clearing their throat. I turned and there was an old man looking at me.
Hello there. May I help you, old chap?
Sorry, I didn't think anyone lived here anymore.
Indeed I do. This old house isn't what she used to be, but I'm too old these days to keep up with the yard.
Oh, well, I like the way it looks. It's very earthy. And you have some really cool artifacts here. What a collection.
Thank you, dear boy, but these relics are all fake. You see, I'm an explorer. Or I was when I was a bit more spry. Ho ho. When I would find something fascinating, whether it was an animal, artifact, or relic, I didn't want to take it. No, I wanted others to enjoy finding it too. So I would come home and recreate it. That way, the original would be right where it should be.
That's very honorable of you. I have mad respect for your respect.
Cheers. You know, you remind me of someone I met before. This might fascinate you, if you'd like to see it.
He led me into his backyard, and there in the middle was a model of a giant King Kong-looking gorilla.
I found this gigantic creature on an island where it was worshipped as a god. I was so amazed, I went home and built this replica here. It's my most treasured discovery, and I've always hoped I'd meet another, as I've heard this creature is no longer living.
I could tell he was thinking I was just like this great specimen. This is inspiring to see, but I'm much too small. I'll never reach that size.
This ape started out as a small bugger, just like you. Day by day, he grew stronger and bigger until he was a towering, fearsome giant. Maybe you too will steadily grow so big.
I wasn't so sure about that. I mean, I hope so, but I failed to save my friend. It was hard to believe I was destined for greatness. I said cheerio to the old explorer. I was glad I had met him. Then I continued collecting materials while also heading back towards home. While I was mining, I couldn't help but daydream about one day being a real king of the jungle. On days 13 to 15, I was making my way back to my base when I got the feeling I was being followed. I picked up my pace, hoping that would help, but I still couldn't shake that feeling. When I looked behind me, I finally caught a glimpse of something. Nope, I wasn't going to wait around to find out what it was. I booked it. I ran as fast as I could, but I was right. Something was following me, and that something was just as fast as I was. It was a tiger, but it looks like I have no choice. I flipped around and faced him. No more running. I would just have to give it my all. Chew on this, tiger. I used my strength, my roar, and my sword. I gave it my all. He hit me a few times. There was no denying that this kitty was tough. This battle is intense. Even though it was a hard battle, I actually was holding my own. Whoa! All of a sudden, we both went tumbling off a cliff. But did that stop us? No! We landed in the water and kept at it. There was a fire that got ignited in me. Something instinctual. Something primal. I let out a huge roar. We kept brawling, but in the end, I got the last blow and he was done. I came out victorious. Yes! I was so proud of myself. I could really step up to the plate when the odds are stacked against me and come out on top. I felt strength welling up inside of me, and I instantly evolved into a bigger version of King Kong. Okay, I wasn't quite the size of a jungle king, but I'd say I was at least a prince. Just call me Prince Kong, Prince Pong, Pong. Yeah, maybe I'll just stick to being called Zozo for now. On day 16 to 19, I was feeling so confident that I had some pep in my step. Maybe things weren't so hopeless with helping Luno. I had figured out how to defeat the tiger. Maybe, just maybe, I could figure out how to rescue Luno. I decided to return to the place of the kidnapping to see if I could find any clues. Bingo! And Sloppy was his name-o. There it was, a map on the ground. Looked like he dropped it in the chase. His mistake was my advantage. I looked it over and saw that it had a building on it, labeled Men in Black's Secret Lab. These dudes really need to do some training on how to not compromise classified information. What a bunch of rookies. The map changed everything. This meant I had a shot at finding Luno, and this time, I was going to save him. But first, I better get ready for battle. I wanted to upgrade my gear, so I went back to the lush cave and mined a bunch more iron. Some spiders crawled up and tried to bother me, but I showed them who was boss real quick. Mind your business, spiders. Get it? The spiders weren't amused. Oh well, you go squish now. I was on a mission. I would not be deterred. Once I gathered enough, I went back to my base and got to work crafting a full set of heavy-duty iron armor and iron weapons. Now, I was ready, I hoped. On day 20 to 22, I set off, following the map to the secret lab that was no longer a secret. Seriously, can you believe they just dropped that really important map? I approached the area where the place was supposed to be, but I didn't see anything anywhere at first. But then I spotted it. It was a very well-hidden bunker lab. Without the map, I'd have never noticed it. I guess I can give them a little credit for camouflaging. Just then, some guards came out of the bunker. I quickly ducked out of sight.
Yeah, that little green alien is really adorable.
It's too bad he won't be around after today.
I was just getting used to having the little guy around. I think I'm gonna cry.
Pull yourself together, Fred.
Hey, I have feelings too.
I'm sorry, Fred. I know what this is really about. It's about the last bagel that Jerry took.
He already had one, Megan. Who does that? A monster, that's who.
Let it out, buddy. Have a good cry.
Talk about drama. I had to get in the door. Just then, 2 more guards came out to talk to the other ones. The door was ajar. This was my chance to sneak past the guards while they sorted out their feelings or whatever that was about. Okay, I'm in. That wasn't so hard. Just gotta find out where they're holding Luno, kick booty, and get out. No biggie. I turned a corner and found myself in a cafeteria full of guards. Uh-oh, wrong turn. Everyone turned and looked at me. So how about them burgers, huh? Talk about beefy. Well, I'll see myself out.
Intruder, get that gorilla!
That was my cue to run. I ran deeper into the base. They were so shocked to see a big gorilla, they weren't ready to fight. I took them out with just a few big punches. Ooh, one of them dropped a key. I know what to do with that. I put the key in the lock of the door they were guarding. Open sesame. Luno was inside the room.
Zozo.
He was so excited to see me. He was surprised how much I had grown. I told him I was sorry for taking so long to rescue him. He was just just happy to see me and told me I was very brave. What a guy. No time to lose, Luno. We gotta break you out of here. The battle is only half won. We tried to hurry and make our way out without running into anyone else, but of course that was too good to be true. The man in black cut us off and blocked us from getting any further.
I'm not the bad guy here. This is what needs to happen. Surrender, or I will have to use this.
He flashed a fancy-looking gun. The gun didn't shoot bullets. Instead, it produced a terrible, debilitating sound. I quickly equipped my noise-canceling ear protection that I picked up from the badgers. But poor Luno was spinning with confusion. No one was going to hurt my friend on my watch. I charged the man in black. I gave him a super punch and knocked him to the ground. He didn't get back up. He was out cold. Total knockout. You didn't stand a chance against these guns. Luno was still a bit disoriented, but he was okay. We rushed out of the lab and into the wilderness. The man in black never knew what hit him. On day 23 to 26, we returned to the jungle temple. I kept apologizing that I hadn't been able to stop the men in black from taking him, but he told me he didn't care, that it wasn't my fault.
Blame yourself for other actions. Do not.
I guess he had a good point. I tried my best, and sometimes bad things just happen. So, are you okay after being captured?
Heavy is my heart. Homesick.
I wish I could help. If only I could reach the moon. Wait a minute, I'm building a skyscraper sculpture. What if I build it so tall that it can reach the moon?
Great idea that is. Great friend Zozo is.
We ran over to the sculpture and continued building together. Phew, this was a huge undertaking. We definitely were going to need way more materials than we had in our stash. We would go find more supplies tomorrow. That night, as we both sat and looked up at the stars, we saw an interesting constellation. Does that make you think of anything? On days 27 to 31, I spotted a wandering trader walking by with his llama. I ran out and flagged him down. Good morning, can I see what you're selling? I'm in need of a lot of andesite.
Is that so? I don't have a lot on me right now, but I'm on my way to a quarry that has tons of stuff. I often go there to ply my wares.
A huge source of materials that I can use for the skyscraper? What good luck. Thanks for that info. I'll certainly be taking a visit there.
I got other stuff though, if you want to make a trade.
I don't have any money.
That's okay. You can buy on credit and I will come collect later. It's the newest craze. Buy now, figure it out later.
That sounded good to me. I looked at his wares and saw an enchanted iron chestplate and a better helmet. I selected these items and then bid goodbye to the trader. I'd have to remember to come up with some money later. I went over to where Luna was and let him know I needed to make a journey to the quarry. I told him to wait at the base and make himself at home. I'd be back as soon as I could. Eat all the frogs and bananas you want while I'm gone. I headed out and eventually found myself wandering through the savannah. At one point, I started hearing some weird laughing around me. Back up, buddies. Trust me, you don't want a piece of me. But they clearly did want a piece of me. They didn't waste time in jumping all over me. There were so many of them, and they were fighting like there was no tomorrow. I was able to take quite a few of them out, but with so many around me, they definitely got a few good hits in. My sword proved to be strong too, but I had to give these guys some credit. They may have been smaller than me, but they really fought with a lot of heart. Unfortunately for them, it was me who ended up taking all of their hearts. Eventually, they were nothing but dust. Look who's laughing now. Actually, I feel a little bad for taking them all out, but fish gotta swim and Zozo's gotta survive. On days 32 to 35, I spotted the quarry in the distance on a mountain. As it got closer, I noticed it was pretty quiet. I didn't see any activity. Where is everybody? I poked around the quarry, searching for someone. Anyone. Finally, I came across an office. I walked in and saw a foreman sitting alone.
Well, how do you like that? It's one of them big gorillas. I'll be mine. Never seen one of your types around these parts.
I came here to get some skyscraper materials. Where is everybody?
Shoot, you're out of luck, big feller. This here quarry had done shut down. Yes, sirree. Why, this quarry used to be a real resource hoedown, but we had to shut things down because of that gosh darn monster.
Monster?
As sure as I'm standing right in front of you. There's a terrible lizard creature snatching up my workers. No one dares work here anymore. It was an HR nightmare, and if I ain't got laborers, then I can't get no resources to sell.
Well, if I take care of that monster for you, would they work for you again?
I reckon that'd do it.
Looks like I had my next mission. Slay the lizard, get the quarry back into working order, get boatload of materials. I started searching around for the monster lizard creature. I jumped down the mountain and eventually noticed a cave opening. That seemed like a good place for a monster to hide. I crawled around the cave, following its twists and turns. Eventually, the cave opened up and there laid a giant Komodo dragon. It was snoozing. I cleared my throat. Hey, I'm Zozo. I was just popping in to ask that you don't kill any more of the workers at the quarry, because it's really bumming everyone out, and the dragon jumped at me and snapped. Whoa, I'm sure we can talk this through. Nobody has to get hurt. The dragon was not interested in negotiations. I had no choice. I had to fight back. This dragon had a mighty bite. I was striking the lizard whenever I could and dealing some major blows. But this lizard wasn't going down easy. There was a reason it had become king of the quarry. Komodo dragons had a terribly venomous bite. Thankfully, I had upgraded my armor. Otherwise, I might have fallen prey to this clever lizard's venom. The dragon chased me all around, but I could tell it was losing hearts. Fast. It doesn't have to be like this. You can go find another place to live. Don't make me do this. These workers just want to make a living. You don't need to keep eating them. The lizard would not listen to reason. Can't say I didn't try. With my sword drawn, I dealt the final blow. I vanquished the dragon. Ooh, and it dropped a pendant. Most importantly, I can get this quarry up and running again and get Luno back to the moon. I looked around the Komodo dragon's nest for a second to see if there was anything of interest. I didn't see anything, but then I heard a little voice.
Mama?
Oh, she was a girl dragon with a baby. My bad. This poor baby was without a mother, and it was my fault. I felt terrible. Hey, Hey there, baby dragon. I'm not gonna hurt you. I hope you can forgive me about your mom.
She wasn't my real mom. She was a really mean stepmom. Honestly, you did me a favor.
Phew, that was a relief to hear. Imagine if they had gotten along. This would have been super awkward. I told the baby that she was welcome to be my friend and to let me know if there's anything I could do for her. Then I headed out of the cave and back to the office. The baby followed at a distance. On day 36 to 39, I told the foreman that the monster had been taken care of and that the workers could come back now.
Yeah, well, ain't that just a kick in the pants? That's mighty grand. There's just one teensy-weensy problem.
Another problem?
You see, my workers ain't around no more. With no work here, they're fixing to make a new quarry of their own over yonder. But word is, that dog won't hunt. They's trapped in the middle of a newly formed lake after a big flood in that there area.
All right, point me in the direction and I'll see what I can do.
Go that way.
I stepped outside the office and saw the little dragon poke his head out from a nearby mine. I felt so bad. She didn't have anyone to care for her now, so I told her she could come with me. I hope this wasn't a fool's errand. Eventually, we came upon the lake, and sure enough, just as the foreman said, out in the middle was an island with some small houses. I crafted a boat. We sat out up across the water and soon reached the other side. Once we got on the shore, the quarry workers came out to greet us.
Are you the rescue team? We have been waiting so long. Monster! Killer monster!
Oh no, I should have realized the baby would trigger these workers. No, I took care of the monster for you. This is just a cute, harmless baby. There's no need to be alarmed. I am here to rescue you and take you back to the quarry. As I said, there's no dangerous monster anymore. You now have a safe work environment. So what do you say? Want to get out of here? The workers cheered. They were tired of being on the tiny island. I offered them my boat, but they said it wouldn't be possible because they needed to take all their equipment with them. That was quite the conundrum, but that's what I was here for, to fix all the problems. I sailed back across the lake and started chopping down a bunch of trees. Eventually, I had enough to construct a simple bridge. Before going back to the island, I found a cave and collected some cobblestone. After grabbing some of that, I decided it was a good idea for me and the baby to take a nap. We had had a really long day and would need the energy. On days 40 to 43, I started to construct the bridge out of wood and stone to get across the lake. Halfway through making the bridge, though, I hit a problem. More like a problem tried to hit me. There was a shark in the water. I should be able to give this guy a nice big conk on the head. I reached down to hit the shark, but it bit me. I kept struggling to climb out of the water. I saw the shark coming for me. I'm done for. But just as it reached me, the baby Komodo swiped its tail, smacking it hard in the face. The shark turned its attention onto the baby, and she snapped her venomous mouth at the shark. It didn't stand a chance after that. Thank you for saving my life, little one. And I'm still sorry about your stepmom. She really didn't seem upset by it. By the way, do you have a name?
It's Bubblegum.
Nice. That's a cute name. I finished the bridge and made it back over to the workers.
Thanks, Mr. Zozo. We'll start heading back to the quarry with all our stuff.
That was good to hear. I hadn't expected so many bumps in the road, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. Bubblegum and I got back to the quarry before the workers did, so I went to the office and let the foreman know the good news. He was so giddy that he was hooting and hollering.
We'll be up and running lickety-split. You'll be the first one to get what you need, and we'll give it to you on the house for all your troubles.
Sounded fair to me. I thanked him, and he let me know it'd be ready soon enough. On days 44 to 49, I returned back to my base with Bubblegum by my side. I told Luna about the drama and introduced Bubblegum. Then I noticed that the wandering trader was still hanging around. Hey, it took a bit of trouble, but I got things at the quarry back in order. They'll be starting production immediately. He was so happy to hear that. His line of work was no longer compromised.
You know, I have a network of other traders who could help bring the other materials over. That way you can get your stuff quicker. What do you say?
Sure, that would be great. Just let me know the cost.
Just put it on the credit.
Okay, I sure hoped I wouldn't live to regret that. Oh well. I noticed that Luna and Bubblegum were getting along really well. Hey Luna, I was thinking that Bubblegum could stay at our base. Are you okay with that? Luna loved the idea, so I started cutting out a spot to make room for Bubblegum to enjoy. Then it was time for some much needed sleep. On days 50 to 53, the first load finally arrived from the quarry. You people sure work quick. Talk about a speedy delivery.
We upgraded you to Wandering Trader Prime.
What's that going to cost me?
Don't worry about it. We'll just put it on your credit.
Okie dokie. I realized I was going to need somewhere to store all these materials. That was no problem. I built more of the skyscraper, but unfortunately, I realized the next hurdle. Glass. I needed a lot of glass. This project was surely exhausting. I know what will help me figure out my problem. Sleep. In the morning, I spoke with the traveling trader and asked if he had any connections to some serious glass stash.
You know, I do actually know of a glass factory, although it's some distance away.
Well, sounds like I'm due for another adventure. I'll set out now. I felt better leaving Luna alone now that Bubblegum was there to keep him company. I traveled through a few different biomes and eventually wound up at the glass factory. It felt like deja vu. I had a sneaking suspicion that this place was not in working order, just like the quarry. I entered the factory and saw that it was staffed by piglins.
You there. We have lost enough. Just leave us in peace.
I'm not here to cause you any trouble. I'm here to purchase some glass. Is there a problem with the factory?
Oh, there's a problem, all right. We've been overtaken by raiders. They told us they won't let us do any more mining for coal unless we pay them for access. But we're just piglins. How in the world are we to pay them?
That stinks.
I'm sorry, but I had Brussels sprouts for lunch. It makes me gassy.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Well, anyway, let me know how to help you. I'm pretty good these days at roughing up bad guys. Let me go have a chat with them. The piglins were excited to hear it and pointed me in the direction direction of the raiders. I was happy to get going because there was a really stinky smell around that piglin. I went in the direction they pointed me to and saw the mine was full of raiders. I'm ready to raid the raiders who raided the mine. No more Mr. Nice Kong. These dudes were slowing down my skyscraper production, not to mention being jerks to the piglins. I charged into the mine, muscles ablazing. I was tired of all this drama. I had a moon to get to. I didn't have patience for these punks. It's chopping time. They didn't know what hit them. I swung my sword and took out a bunch of them with ease. That's what I'm talking about. I got lower into the mines and saw diamonds all over the place. Sweet sparkles. Don't mind if I do. Is that pun getting old? I don't care. I'm just going to keep saying it. I quickly mined a bunch of diamonds and then went back to kicking some mob bum. There were a lot of them, so they got a few hits in, but these guys were like pesky fleas. Annoying, but no match for what I'd been through. Sadly, my armor was getting pretty damaged. Once at the bottom, a vindicator with hoarding the stash. So, you've been keeping the piglins out of the mine so you can have all the diamonds to yourselves. Diamonds may last forever, but your reign of terror is over. But then it came at me hard. Now I was starting to get nervous. My hearts were starting to go down. Then I got a weird idea. The vindicator was instantly drawn to it, as if he forgot all about the fight.
If it fits, I seats.
The vindicator captain was trapped. Oh, I can't believe that worked. I jumped down and landed endless blows to the vindicator. If you sits, I chop you to bits. Finally, the vindicator was no more, and I was left the champion in the room of diamonds. I looked around the room some more and also found some chests full of gold. I can pay back the traders with this. I really had come a long way since my time on that playground. On days 58 to 62, I woke up and took a bunch of coal and diamonds and went back to the glass factory. I walked in and they all squealed with delight that I wasn't dead.
Praise Cole, you weren't overtaken. Does this mean you won, or did you flee?
I'll let all this coal do the talking. I showed them some coal.
You got coal, but Cole can't talk, you know. You are very strong, but you seem to have knocked a few marbles loose up in that noggin of yours.
I know, it's just a saying. Oh, never mind. Anyways, yeah, I got rid of all the raiders. Now you can go and get everything you need.
Huzzah! Now we can mine our business for free.
About that, you said you didn't have a way to pay the raiders, but why didn't you use the diamonds to pay them? Piglins seemed confused. They had no clue what I was talking about.
Oh, you mean these shiny rocks? Bless your heart. Those silly rocks are utterly useless. Yes, too hard to even craft or melt down into anything. Again, I think you might need to see a doctor soon about that head of yours.
Oh, brother. I'll just let them think what they want. They weren't the brightest bunch, but they knew how to make some good quality glass. That's all I needed them to know about. So, should I be able to get regular deliveries of glass soon? Piglins let me know that they would make sure I was their priority for sending glass to. And as a gift for helping them out, they gave me a furnace sword. It showed how much they valued coal over diamond. This sword was so cool. I thanked them for the great treasures I now possessed. I couldn't wait to show my friends what I had found. On days 63 to 66, I returned back home to my base. I had glass from the factory, and now would get regular deliveries coming from the depot very soon. I was very excited about how things were looking up. I told my friends all about my adventures fighting the den of dangerous raiders at the mine. They were both so impressed and excited to hear about it. And then I said, if you sits, you be chopped to bits.
Huh, nice one, Zozo.
Yes, got it you still have.
I decided to craft diamond armor for each of us. Once I had the armor finished, I walked out and found the wandering trader. I was excited to fix my credit score with him. Hey, I'm ready to settle my debt. He couldn't believe I had enough to pay him. I gave him a giant amount of gold, and he was super happy about it.
Finally, my wife won't be so mad at me anymore for not getting paid for my labors all the time.
With the stash of new materials I had acquired, I began to add more to the skyscraper. You know, some windows, some walls, that kind of thing. This bad boy was getting some good height to it. Luno came and admired the work I had done. He said he was lucky to have a friend that cared so much about getting him home. I knew he would do the same for me. I also know he would like and comment on my YouTube videos, and you should too. On days 67 to 70, I was on top of my skyscraper when Luno pointed to something in the sky a good distance away.
What could that be?
Oh, I think it's a bird. Wait, no, it's a plane. No. It's the man in black! Oh no, he had found us! It'd be pretty hard not to see, I guess. I'm sure you could see it from miles away. The man in black was traveling via jetpack through the sky.
I'm sorry, but that alien must come with me. Give him up or I'll have to take him by force.
His name is Luno, and he is staying. Don't make me beat you up again.
I would like to see you try.
I jumped at him, but he flew off the skyscraper. Ugh, get over here and fight me like a man! He zoomed around me. Every time he got close, I would swat at him, but he was always just out of reach. I was running all around the skyscraper top. Then the man in black dive-bombed me. Dude, I almost fell off. He dive-bombed me again, and I slapped him away. The next time, the man in black didn't come at me. He made a beeline for Luno instead. Luno was about to be taken. Luno! Luno held his little green hand up towards the man in black, and the man in black stopped moving in midair. The little alien had mind powers. Luno, you never told me you had special powers.
On the moon, they are not so special.
Here on this planet, we consider that a superpower. Now hold him right there, Luno. I'll finish him off. I punched the man in black's jetpack enough times that it malfunctioned, and he went plummeting to the ground. Look, he's falling. With style. We sure make a good team, Luno.
Thank you, friend. A great warrior you are. A good heart you have.
A secret, I must tell you. Fell from the moon? I did not. Come here to seek help? I did. Being killed by a moon monster, my people are. In need, we are, for a champion. Told you I should have. Worried I was, that you would not accept the challenge. But now, I know you are the most brave hero. Sorry I am, for not being upfront.
Don't be sorry. I would be happy to help once we reach the moon. Thank you for being honest. Our conversation was interrupted by screaming from down below.
What happened to the MIB we should see?
On days 71 to 74, Luna and I got to the bottom of the skyscraper, only to discover that the man in black was still alive. I felt kind of bad for him. Well, I felt bad until I saw he had bubblegum on a leash. The man in black managed to get his jetpack working and took off with bubblegum, leaving us shocked at the turn of events. This guy is the worst. I can't believe he survived that fall. And now he has sweet baby bubblegum. Luna and I were so sad. Why would he take her? It just didn't make sense. Did he think she was an alien? What did he want with her? I spotted something on the ground. Maybe it was part of the jetpack. It was a strange material. I didn't recognize it.
You okay there, Zozo? Sounded like there was a big fight happening.
A piglin delivery guy stopped over to check on us. Yeah, there's this jerk who's been trying to capture us, and he took off with our friend. He dropped this.
I've seen that material before. It was over in Stony Peak Mountain. Yup, definitely seen that stuff. But I don't know what it is.
It wasn't much to go on, but it was all I had, and decided to follow the clue. On days 75 to 78, I hurried and made it to the Stony Peak Mountains. It was beautiful up here. Lots of stony peaks. Imagine that. Atop the peaks, I noticed something that actually wasn't a peak. It was an observatory. Right on, that's gotta be what I'm looking for. I knew it wouldn't be a walk in the park getting up the mountain, and I was right. Mobs, mobs, mobs. Say hello to my little friend. I used my new furnace sword. I was on fire. I kept swinging and swinging, hitting them as hard as I could. Eventually, I made it out on top to the top of the mountain. The fun had just begun. I was at the observatory door, facing 2 robot guards. I don't suppose you'd just let me pass.
Turn back. You are not permitted to enter.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I came this far, so either you're gonna let me through, or I'm gonna rip your arms out of your metal sockets.
Hostile enemy detected. Annihilate.
Looks like it'll be the hard way. I dodged their weapons and got a hold of them and let it rip. Didn't take too much to disassemble these dudes. I kicked open the doors and went ape crazy. I really tore it up in the place. There were plenty more robots as I searched the many hallways, and sure, they dealt me some damage, but I managed to obliterate them. You won't be back. I fought my way to the basement, but there was no sign of bubblegum. I couldn't help but wonder if I had come here for nothing. What if my friend wasn't here? No, I had to stop that kind of talk. I still had to search to the top. On days 79 to 84, I headed for the top of the observatory. And what do you suppose? That smug man in black was waiting for me at the top. Bubblegum was in a cage next to him. Well, if it isn't the man in splat. Get it? Because we tossed you off a skyscraper? I noticed there was a giant telescope pointed at the moon. Didn't anyone tell you it was rude to spy on people?
You don't know anything about me or this operation. I demand that you bring me the little green alien. I will trade you for your non-alien friend here.
Let me think about that. No. But you will give me back my Komodo dragon and leave us alone forever. And if not, well, then this conversation has got me really fired up. Let's rumble. We went head to head. This guy had all sorts of techie weapons. He knew he had to up his game against me. Clearly, he had expected this fight. We aimed, we hit, we blocked, we jumped. Why do you even want the alien? Just so you can torture him in your stupid little lab with your emotionally distraught guards? Yeah, that's right. I know all about your bagel incident. I won't let you hurt my friend.
Ugh, Fred, I'm so firing him when I get back. Listen, we aren't going to torture the aliens. I'm trying to protect it from violent animals, like you. And yes, we will study it a little, but nothing harmful. I saw that alien come down from the moon in my telescope. I've been searching for him ever since, and then you butted in.
We continued to fight, but I slowed down a bit. Hold on. We both want to help Luno. That's the alien's name, by the way. You'd know that if you were friendly for once, instead of using force to get the alien. He needs help. There's a moon monster destroying their lives, and I'm going to help stop it. We stopped fighting.
That explains a lot of what I'm seeing in my telescope. I think I had the wrong idea about you, and I think you had the wrong idea about me. I'm sorry. I see now that you were looking out for the aliens, Luno's best interest. Maybe we better stop fighting each other and team up instead. What do you say?
Well, as much as I was looking forward to kicking your butt King Kong style, I guess we can let it be. Now, can you let my baby friend go, please?
Yeah, sorry. We thought she was an alien too.
You really need to get out more.
So, what was your plan to save the Lunarians?
Building that skyscraper to touch the moon. Then, I'll go to the moon and face the monster. We got bubblegum out, and the man in black told me to return to the base, and that he would be there soon. First, he needed some time to work on a tech weapon, and started the trek home with bubblegum. A jetpack would have been handy, but oh well, walking was fine. On days 85 to 89, I arrived back to the temple with the baby in tow. Luno greeted us excitedly. He couldn't believe I had found bubblegum.
Nothing there is that you can't do. A hero you are.
I was excited to tell Luno all about the encounter with the man in black. I explained that he wasn't going to be a threat any longer, but in fact, he was going to help. Luno and bubblegum went inside to catch up. I was lucky to have found those two. I didn't have a family, and if I really was a King Kong, it sounded like I was the only one. Family comes in many forms. There's the family you're born into, and the family you make along the way. A wandering trader interrupted my monologuing.
I've been watching you. I'm moved by how much you care for your friends. It reminds me of our good friend Johnny. Rip. He was always sticking his neck out for me and saving me from things. In his honor, I'd like to give you an upgrade, free of charge. This will make you even stronger, if you can imagine that.
I thanked him profusely. What a nice guy. I climbed up into the temple and realized I hadn't had much time for renovating the temple. I wanted it to look impressive for the man in black. I added upgrades and a lab area for the man in black, in case he needed it. It took a lot of hard work, but after a while, I was able to get everything completed. That's when I heard some shouting. Oh, what now? It was a piglin and a delivery person. They weren't in any trouble. Quite the opposite. They were excitedly letting me know that the deliveries were complete. Oh, thank you for your hard work. On day 90 to 94, I crafted the enchantment materials the trader had given me. I was able to fully enchant all my armor and gear. I was super excited about that. This armor is perfect. I was ready to finish the work on the skyscraper. I buzzed around, building it taller and taller and taller and taller. This skyscraper was truly a ridiculous height now, and it was practically out of the Earth's atmosphere. I steadily climbed to the very top of the skyscraper to see how much closer I needed to be to the moon. I realized I was having a hard time breathing. There wasn't much oxygen up here. I guess I hadn't thought about that. This could be my undoing. Just then, as if he had planned it this way, the man in black appeared beside me.
Nice work on the skyscraper, Zozo. It's looking pretty stellar. That's a word kids still use nowadays, right? At any rate, I made you the spacesuit to help you breathe out here.
Wow, I was really glad he and I were on the same team. I thanked him, and then he also gave me an item that would make me super strong.
Wait to use it until you're on the moon. With the change in gravity, it'll work really well. Just don't use it here on Earth. It hasn't been studied yet, and I don't think it'll have the same effects.
I guess that man in black wasn't so bad after all. On days 95 to 97, it was an exciting day. The skyscraper was finally complete. Now I really am king of the world. I knew that little tiny gorilla on the playground skyscraper would have been really proud of me, now that I had come a long way. Pun intended. Luno joined me at the top. He was used to the atmosphere and didn't need anything special to breathe. So, what do you think?
Incredible it is. Strange to be back in space it is. I am scared to face the monster, but with you by my side, win, we will.
I told Luno to go back down to Earth and that he didn't need to come to the moon with me this time. Instead, I would let him know when it was safe again. Luno listened to me and went back down. I built a small bridge to connect the tip of the skyscraper to the moon. The bridge reminded me of how it's important to stay connected by subscribing to the channel, so we can always connect you to our exciting new adventures. On day 98, I took one small step for me, one great leap for the Lunarians. Houston, the King Kong has landed on the moon. It was so cool being on the moon. This gravity was crazy. I started to bounce around to take in my surroundings. I didn't see a single soul, but I did see a half-destroyed moon base. Something had definitely been here causing trouble. It was then that I remembered what the man in black gave me. I pulled out the strength potion and chugged it down. I could feel the power coursing through my veins. Whoa, this feels amazing. I started growing like crazy, becoming a mighty King Kong, just like the one the explorer had told me about. He was right. I did have it in me to become a great Kong. Zong Kong. Zong Zong? Either way, I was mighty. And check out my hearts. Now that's what I'm talking about. All this commotion must have gotten the attention of the moon monster though, because he came out of his hiding space next to the ruined base. Prepare to meet your match. The monster opened up its mouth and breathed lasers at me. Whoa, I didn't expect that. I then crashed into him, knocking him off balance. He continued to shoot lasers at me. Ew, those lasers are wicked hot. We rolled and brawled all over the moon. He had some really powerful attacks. They hurt and did some major damage to my health. I wouldn't have stood a chance if it wasn't for this mega strength potion I took, so I sucker punched him real hard. I opened my mouth to test out my supersized roar, but the sound waves didn't work right on the moon. Shoot, I was really hoping to use that ability. I would just have to make do with what I had. Heart counts for a lot, and I was doing this for the creatures I cared for. On day 99, the fight raged on, and I found myself losing. This beast was just too powerful, and I was sure he had advantages of being on his own turf. I was pushed towards my skyscraper. I had to make a decision. If I didn't retreat now, I could lose the battle altogether. I got onto the bridge and started destroying it as I ran across to the skyscraper. At least I'd have the last minute to regroup and heal myself before... Oh no, the beast took a running leap and jumped onto the skyscraper. I just let this heinous creature off the moon. Oh, this was bad. This was very bad. I couldn't allow him to climb down and start destroying Earth, and it was all my fault. I fought with all my might, and I was super weak now. Things are not looking good. I think this is the end. The monster got ready to deliver his final blow when suddenly he stopped. He was frozen. I looked around. To my great relief and surprise, I saw not just Luno, but a bunch of other little aliens that looked just like him. They were using their mind powers together, bravely and triumphantly. You saved me.
Saved us, you did. Showed us bravery, you did. Help Zozo we must. Now, finish him.
They positioned the monster on the edge of the tower, and I used all my King Kong strength to knock him into next week. He fell from the skyscraper, down, down, down to his death. We had done it, together! On day 100, we were back at the Jungle Temple.
I figure you guys might like this big telescope for my base. That way you can check in on your family super easily.
I really misjudged you, Man in Black.
You can call me Kim.
Kim, I'm really glad we're friends now. Please feel free to visit anytime you like. It was time to say goodbye to my space friend. I didn't want to tell him, but I was super sad about him leaving. He felt like family to me, but he had his real family to get home to, and I would not get in the way of of that. I guess this is goodbye. I'll never forget you. We all looked up at the moon together.
I'll never forget you either, because returning home, I am not doing. I wish to stay here.
I couldn't believe my ears. I was so happy to hear he wanted to stay. It was the perfect situation, and Bubblegum was really happy to hear that Luna was staying too, and waved at the Lunarians, waving back at us. On day 1, I spawned in as Iron Man. And look, I'm not a baby. I'm all powered up. I flew around firing lasers. This was really cool. These zombies have met their match. Time to say goodbye. I blasted the zombies out of the way. They were no match for the might of Iron Man. Once they were all destroyed, I was floating over the forest, scanning the area. Suddenly, something hit me out of nowhere. What was that? I didn't see who it was, but I heard a voice.
Say goodbye to your power.
I had hit the ground, but managed to survive. But look, now I only have 5 hearts. I had to hurry and leave the area though. Whoever that was could come back. Later, as I was escaping through the forest, a group of zombies came running up to me. I know how to handle these guys, but that was when I had my suit and powers. I didn't stand a chance now. I had no choice but to run away. I can't believe someone caught me off guard. They better watch out, because I'll stop at nothing to get my power back. But that was another day, so I settled in for the night. On day 2, I woke up all alone, still feeling weak without my powers. I had to figure out who was out to get me. I've got quite the mission ahead of me. I'm going to be building and making all kinds of really cool things. But before I can do that, I need to start with the basics. I went outside and got right to work punching trees. With the wood I had collected, I then made a crafting table. Using the crafting table and my leftover wood, I made myself some wooden tools, including a sword. Time to find some lunch. I went outside and soon came across a rabbit. That's going to have to do for now. I chased it down and got its meat. I might be trapped in the wilderness with no powers, but that doesn't mean I have to eat raw meat. As I took a look around, I soon came across a village. In the middle of the village was a campfire. Let's get cooking. I laid down my rabbit meat and let it sizzle. Soon, I had some cooked meat. I took a bite and was feeling much better. Suddenly, I realized what kind of village it was. It was a pillager village. Uh-oh, time to run. Pillagers chased me, but I managed to get away without losing my life. Later that evening, I took the simple supplies I had collected to start making myself a house to stay in. If those pillagers found me, at least I would have some walls to protect me. Soon, the hut was complete, and I settled in for the night. On day 3, I awoke to a knock on the door. Who could that be? I opened the door and saw it was Captain America. Or well, I guess it was just Steve Rogers. He wasn't looking so good. Steve, what's wrong? You're not looking like your normal fit self.
I was worried something had happened to you. I see now I was right. Your friend Ironmonger is to blame for this. I was minding my own business when he suddenly came out of nowhere. I don't know how he did it, but he managed to take away all of my powers. We might not be strong enough to help him right now, but we need to hurry and warn the others he's coming for him.
That's a good point. Let's stick together while we figure this out. Steve agreed, and so we figured it would be good to start building a proper base. We did some scouting around and soon found a nice cliffside that would work perfect. I didn't have my powers, but I could still get shipments of stuff sent to me. After a bit, an express delivery with all the supplies we'd need showed up, and we got to work. Building a house on a cliff like this reminded me of my mansion in Malibu. It wasn't going to be quite like that, but I was hoping to eventually make something just as impressive. Soon, the beginning of our base was complete. Thanks for your help, Pete. We'll let you know if anything else comes up. On days 4 to 5, Steve came over to talk. He wanted to know if I knew where any other superheroes were. Sorry, buddy, I don't. I really wish I did, though.
Well, you're a pretty smart guy, right? Is there something you could invent?
I thought it was a good question, but nothing came to mind. I stared at my empty crafting table when suddenly I had an idea. Oh wait, maybe that could work. I headed out to the caves to gather the materials I would need. If I could just get everything I would need, this special item would be the perfect solution to our problem. By the time I had made it into the deepest part of the cave, I had already managed to make myself some iron gear. It was about to come in handy as I was suddenly attacked by a bunch of magma cubes. Alright, boxheads, you're just what I was looking for. I swung my sword and managed to take a few of them out. As they disappeared, they dropped some charged coal. Once the threat was taken care of, I also found some nearby palladium, which I happily mined up. Alright, that's everything I'm going to need. Let's make this special item. I soon arrived back at the house and got right to it, smelting down the palladium into ingots.
I also needed a compass, which Steve gave to me.
At long last, the final pieces were starting to come together. I went to the crafting table and used the palladium, charged coal, and compass to make my special item, a superhero radar. Sure hope this works. Steve and I headed into another room, and I set the radar down in the center. I placed a lever on the wall and flipped it. The radar started to make a sound, and a purple line came out of it. That line is pointing us to a nearby superhero. Now we can help them. On day 6 to 8, I checked the radar again to get a clear direction of where to go. I told Steve to hang back at the base and keep an eye on the radar, just in case anyone else popped up on it. Let's go see who it's gonna be. I left the base and ran off in the direction the radar had indicated. Hopefully I could get to them in time. After a bit of traveling, I soon reached a village, but it looked like the place was abandoned. Hello, is there anyone here?
Thought it was you stomping around.
Black Widow had come out of nowhere. Natasha, I can't believe I found you. There's no time to explain, but I need you to come with me.
Listen, I don't trust anyone that much, even you. You're gonna have to give me some kind of explanation.
Okay, Steve is back at my base, and you see neither of us have our powers anymore. So we've got to hurry to get out of here, or the same will happen to you.
Don't have your powers?
Who or what did that to you?
Ironmonger! It was an answer to her question, but also an exclamation. He had popped up out of nowhere. Black Widow had sprung into action, trying to fight him off. I was still too weak though, and had to run away. Hang in there, Natasha. They continued to fight, but it was no use. Ironmonger was too quick, and managed to hit her with his special gun. He had taken away all of her special abilities.
Huh. I don't know what you two are up to, but knock it off. Go live normal lives like the ordinary people you are.
Before he could do us any more harm, we ran away. I couldn't believe he was able to do it again. On days 9 to 10, Black Widow and I arrived back at the base. We met up with Steve.
Natasha, it's good to see you. Wait, did something happen?
It was Ironmonger. I had gotten there in time, but he showed up and was able to steal her power.
Oh no, did you see where he went?
No, we had to get out of there. I hate this feeling. I've never felt so useless.
It's okay. Keep your head on straight.
I need some time to clear my head. I decided to get to work, building Natasha her own place to stay at the base. It was good to have a project to keep my mind busy. I couldn't believe I was beaten by my own friend. Soon, Natasha's room was complete. On days 11 to 12, I went to check the machine and saw there was a new signal, but this time it was different.
What is it? What does it mean?
Not 100% sure. It's a new invention that even I don't understand completely.
Well, if it's pointing to a friendly, it's worth a shot trying to save him.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, Cap. What good are we as rescuers if we can't really rescue someone? Ironmonger is just going to show up again.
You don't know that. And come on, you know there's more to this than just being the strongest.
Huh. That's certainly something coming from you. I'll see what I can find. I left the base and headed in the direction the radar was pointing. As I looked around, I felt like I wasn't seeing anything. That's when I realized I was back at the place I had crashed on day 1. Suddenly, I noticed something nearby on the ground. I picked it up. Jarvis, is that you? What are you doing out here, buddy?
Hello, sir. I'm delighted to see you have found me.
So am I. How are you?
I am here, but I am damaged. I am sorry for the loss you have suffered.
So am I, buddy. But hey, do you think you can help? You've got all that information from my suit stored in your memory, don't you?
I do. Or rather, I believe I do. My memory banks have been damaged, but it seems plausible they can be recovered. We will need to find the correct materials in order to recover it.
Sure, we can do that. I built a suit once. I can surely do it again. What's on that materials list of yours? Jarvis gave me the list of what I needed, and I headed off right away. On days 13 to 15, I arrived at some caves and headed on in to gather up the materials Jarvis had mentioned. First, I gathered up a bunch of iron, which was one of the main things I would need. Then I found some titanium, which was also going to come in handy. Alright, that should be everything I need from here. I then left the cave and found myself in a herd of cows. I took some of the cows out in order to get some leather. That was all the ingredients I was going to need. Time to get back to the base. On days 16 to 19, I made it back to the base and went into my garage. It was crafting time. I put the iron in the furnace and started smelting iron ingots. Then it was titanium's turn, which started smelting into titanium ingots. While the ores were smelting, I then opened a nearby chest and grabbed some glass I had. Then at the crafting table, I added the glass to some iron and palladium to make myself a new arc reactor. At last, power! With my new palladium arc reactor, I could start to put together a new suit. I grabbed the ingots I needed out of the furnace, then used iron, titanium, leather, and the arc reactor to make myself a chest plate. Oh yeah, here we go. With the chest plate finished, I then used the rest of my materials and made the leggings, boots, and of course, the helmet. This isn't the best suit I've ever made. In fact, it's just as good as the first one I built in a cave in the desert, but it'll be better than having nothing.
Hey, what have we got here?
Steve and Natasha had walked into the garage.
You built a new suit. It's gonna be so good for you. How did you pull it off?
It was with the help of Jarvis. I found him at the crash site. His memory is damaged, but he remembered enough to help me build the suit.
Think that's a good idea?
Do you think it's not?
No, it's great. It's just that you said Jarvis was damaged. I'd hate to see something go wrong.
I assured him that Jarvis was working well enough to help me make the suits again without putting any of us in danger. That seemed like an excuse though. Steve was probably just jealous I was getting my powers back and he wasn't. Before I could say anything else though, Natasha mentioned that she and Steve had gotten more food and stored it in the kitchen. All that crafting had made me hungry. I went over there to cook up some steak. This is going to be much better than wild rabbit, that's for sure. When the steak was ready, I scarfed it down. Delicious! I then went and started to make some more upgrades to the base. I was a man of luxury, so I decided the house needed a swimming pool. I picked a good spot and got the thing installed. All this building has given me an idea for one more big project. I headed out and got to work building a statue. These were dark times, and there was always one thing that could be a light in the darkness. Let me know what you think I'm building. Soon, the first part was complete. On days 20 to 22, I heard a notification go off on the radar, telling me another superhero had been found. I went and told Steve and Natasha the good news. They both wanted to come with to find who it was, but I told them it might be good for just me to go, given that I was the only one who had regained any of my power. As I put my suit on, I saw my health increase to 8 hearts. I was also stronger and had a flamethrower attack. It was time to help our fellow superhero. As I got closer to the place the radar was pointing me to, I saw a large tower in the middle of the forest. I knew just who I would find inside. As I reached the top, I could see Dr. Strange was there. Steven, be on your guard. Ironmonger is running around stealing everyone's power.
What?
He immediately got ready to fight. It was just in time too, as Ironmonger came flying over, firing down on us.
The good doctor. I think you've got just what I'm looking for.
Dr. Strange was ready though, and he started to put up a good fight. Ironmonger was going to have a much harder fight this time. I may have spoke too soon though, as Ironmonger managed to land a hard hit, knocking out Dr. Strange. Ironmonger lifted his weapon weapon and started draining Dr. Strange's power. I had to do something. Oh, no you don't. Even though I wasn't super strong, I charged in and managed to stop Ironmonger from taking all the power. Problem was, he was now focused on me. Dr. Strange was back in the fight though, and together we put up a good fight. In the end, we managed to hurt Ironmonger enough that he backed down.
This isn't the last you've seen of me.
He flew off. Steven, are you okay?
I still have some of my powers, but I'm definitely weaker than before. I need to go rest.
Dr. Strange opened a portal and walked through it. Well, that was a quick exit, but at least we could stop him from losing everything. I better get back to the base and see who else we can help.
On days 23 to 26, I was on my way back to the base when Jarvis piped up with some helpful information.
Sir, my sensors are indicating a lot of silver nearby. I think that could help.
Jarvis then told me what direction to go, and I headed there right away. As I arrived at the location he was sending me to, I didn't see anything. Are you sure this is the right place? There doesn't seem to be anything here.
The silver may be beneath something, but I am 99% sure it is here.
Well, guess I better start breaking blocks. I started breaking things as I looked around, and soon saw an entrance to a dungeon. What is this all about? As I went deeper into the dungeon, I ran into a bunch of piglins. You piggies better watch out. That's when I noticed that they had all kinds of materials stored down here. I hope you guys don't mind if I use some of this stuff. As I fought my way through the gang of piglins, I noticed that they dropped silver ingots.
There, sir. The silver I was detecting.
I happily picked the silver up and continued to fight the piglins. There were hoglins around as well, and they were a tough challenge. But I was up for the fight and soon made it to the dungeon's boss. A piglin brute with armor. You look strong, but I'm stronger. It turned out I was right. The piglin brute was really strong after all. He knocked me back, but I stayed in the fight. He wasn't going to get the better of me. After a long fight, I finally took him out. He didn't drop anything. But look, a chest. I went over to the chest, which was filled with silver. This should be more than enough. I hurried back out of the cave. On days 27 to 31, I arrived back at my base. I met back up with the team to tell them the good news. Guys, I was able to find Dr. Strange, and together we were able to fight off Ironmonger. Dr. Strange was weakened, but he was able to keep his powers. Everyone was really excited to hear the good news and couldn't believe Ironmonger had shown up again. Everyone, that is, except Steve.
He kept his powers, huh? Well, good for him, I guess.
I didn't know why Steve wasn't excited like everyone else. He really must be jealous someone else got to keep their powers. I left the room and went to work on a new set of armor. With all the new silver I'd collected, I was going to be able to build an even better suit. I took my time making each set, and soon I had a full set of Iron Man Mark II armor. Oh yeah, now this is what I'm talking about. With my new suit on, I noticed I had more health than before. I still couldn't fly yet, but I could jump a little higher and felt stronger too. I showed it off to the gang, and everyone was really impressed. If I kept finding more materials, I would be back to full strength in no time. I had to find more materials. On days 32 to 35, I decided to see what else Jarvis could find for me. I'm thinking of adding some more weapons to the suit. What do you think it can handle?
Scans show it is not strong enough to handle your repulsor cannon, but there is something else that might work. We'll have to travel far away, but I believe it will be worth it.
Show me the way. Jarvis explained the way to go, and eventually we made it to an entirely new biome. All right, Jarvis, what direction?
Down, sir.
It looked like it was time to dig. I think I knew what he had in mind. I kept digging and soon made it into a magma chamber. Let me guess, we need some lava.
No, sir. We're searching for a very specific mob. It should be here.
I started to explore. Could you tell me what I'm looking for? Just then, I almost ran into a monster. It was a mutant blaze. Yikes! Thanks for the warning.
Sorry, sir, but my sensors aren't quite as sharp down here.
The mutant blaze's fire attacks were strong, but my new armor was doing its job. I was taking much less damage than I normally would have. I'm gonna put you out, Firehead. I kept on swinging, and at long last, defeated the blaze. As he disappeared, I saw he had dropped a blaze core.
The blaze core. That is just what we need, sir.
On days 36 to 39, I made it out of the hole and headed back towards the base. As I arrived back at the base, I went to the crafting area and got right to work on the new suit attachment. Using the blaze core, I was able to make myself a flamethrower. Oh yeah, I'm starting to heat up now. I called the others over and showed them my new toy.
Whoa, that new flamethrower is so hot right now.
Natasha was really excited about it, but Steve less so. No surprise there, he was just jealous. On days 40 to 43, I heard the power detector going off again. It must have found another superhero. Maybe with my new gear, I can even defeat Ironmonger this time. I let the others know that I would head out by myself again. Until they could get their powers, it just didn't make sense to put them in harm's way. I would handle everything. I set off in search of the superhero, and soon found myself in a thick forest. Hello, is there anyone around here? I kept shouting and looking around, but couldn't find anyone. All I saw were a bunch of bats flying around. Suddenly, they attacked me. What the? Get away from me! Using my new attacks, I managed to fight off the bats, but then I was attacked by some wolves. This forest is crazy. What's going on around here? The wolves snapped their teeth and swung their claws, but I was able to keep them away and knock them out. I still don't see anyone, but it's starting to get late. I better build a shelter for the night. I soon found a nice clearing and got right to work building a shelter. After a bit, my camp was set up. Time to get some sleep. I'll keep looking in the morning. On days 44 to 49, I woke up in the middle of the night to a rumbling sound. What was that? I ran outside and saw there was a huge castle that had appeared out of nowhere. Well, nothing else to do but take a look. I ran into the castle and was suddenly attacked by a whole bunch of spooky mobs. There were bats and all kinds of skeleton creatures. I had to fight for my life. Back off, you undead creatures. You'll never take me alive. I kept fighting my way through the castle until finally I saw something different than the mobs. It was Blade. Blade, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here? I've tracked a vampire to this castle and I'm so close to finally beating him.
I've come to warn you. Ironmonger is going around stealing power from superheroes. You've got to get out of here.
Thanks for the warning, but I've come too far to quit. I don't see Ironmonger anywhere, so I think I have time to finish my mission.
Well, let me help. Together we can get it done even faster. We soon noticed a coffin and walked up to it to take a look. We opened it, but it was a trap.
Oh no, what is this? I can't move.
Me either. Jarvis, clear this gas out of my suit. Jarvis got right to work, but he wasn't quick enough. Ironmonger had shown up.
Huh, stay still. This won't hurt at all.
Ironmonger used a special item and was able to take away Blade's powers. Jarvis had just cleared the gas from my suit though, and I was ready to fight.
I thought I told you to keep out of this.
Ironmonger didn't stick around to fight me, but instead released the vampire before flying away. Without his powers, Blade was in for a real fight. Come on, Blade, I'll help you. Blade and I got to work swinging at the vampire. Even without his powers, Blade was a good fighter, getting lots of hits in. He wasn't good enough though, and the vampire was able to really hurt him. You'll pay for that! I started attacking him even more than before and could tell I was starting to win. When he was at his weakest, Blade jumped forward and knocked him out with a stake for good.
Thanks for your help. I couldn't have done this without you. Here, take this stake. You never know when it could come in handy.
Thanks. I'll be sure to keep it close. I'm sorry about your powers. How about you come back to my base with me and we can figure this out?
That sounds like just what I need right now.
On days 50 to 53, Blade and I returned to the base. Then we met up with Natasha and told her what had happened.
I'm sorry to hear it didn't work out this time. It sounds like he's getting smarter.
I'm sorry too. But hey, where's Steve?
Oh, he said he had some errands to run and left. He didn't tell me what those errands were.
That's odd. Just then, Steve came back to the base.
Sorry about that. I was just collecting some more materials to upgrade the base. I thought you could use some new materials for our new guest.
That was a fair point. He was right, too. Blade needed a place to stay. Using some of the materials Steve had gathered, I was able to put together a room for Blade. Steve had also mentioned wanting a training room, so I got to work on that. Just because they had lost their powers didn't mean they couldn't stay in shape. Soon, everything was complete. On days 54 to 57, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I decided I needed to talk to Natasha in private. Hey, I wanted to ask, has Steve been acting strange to you?
Now that you mention it, he has. I haven't seen him do anything strange specifically, but he doesn't seem like he's been his normal self. I usually try and let people just do their own thing.
You see, the thing is, Ironmonger always seems to show up right around the same time I do. I'm not saying Steve is somehow tipping him off, but I want to be sure he's not involved.
Say no more. The next time you guys go, I'll keep an eye on him. That would be strange, but we'll feel better if we can rule it out.
Thanks, Nat. I appreciate it. I then reached out to Jarvis to help with the next stage of rigging up the superpower detector. If Steve was really tricking us, I needed to get the super detector to trick him. Jarvis said he knew what I needed to get, but there were some special items I needed to collect first. Let's get exploring. On days 58 to 62, Jarvis led me to a cave that was filled with spiders. I was pretty strong at this point, and these spiders were no match for me. I easily knocked them out of the way. Aha! There's the gold ore you wanted me to get. I quickly mined up all the gold I needed, then hurried back to the base. There, I crafted some special wiring out of gold and took it to the superpower detector. After I attached the new wiring, the detector started to go off. Everyone came running into the room. The detector found another super. Hang tight, guys. I'll go get them and help them out. Everyone agreed, and as I went to leave, I gave Natasha a nod to let her know the plan was on. She nodded back. I soon reached a mountaintop where the detector was pointing me to. Of course, no one was here, but I needed to put on a good show. Oh, hey, Thor. I can't believe you're here. Just then, Ironmonger popped out.
Aha! Huh?
I was ready for him and gave him a good hit.
What the? There's no Thor here. I can't believe I've been betrayed and tricked like this.
What do you mean betrayed? How did you know I would be here?
I've said too much.
Ironmonger flew away. Something was definitely going on. I hurried back to the base. As I arrived, I could see Natasha was waiting for me.
You're not gonna believe this.
What happened?
After you left, I followed Steve just like you asked. Once he had gotten far enough away from the base, I saw him pull out a communication device. I got close enough to hear who he was talking to. It was Ironmonger.
You're right. I can't believe this. We've got to confront him right away. On days 63 to 66, I headed into the base to find Steve. I soon found him.
Hey, you weren't gone for very long. Did you find anyone?
There was no one there, but You probably already knew that,
What do you mean? How could I have known that?
because you've been in contact with your friend, Ironmonger. Give it up, Steve. We know.
You don't know anything.
Just then, Steve started to transform. Suddenly, Steve was gone, and Mandarin was standing there. Mandarin, so it's been you all along. I should have known it was someone evil trying to trick us.
Well, you just aren't very smart, are you? You've been leading us as superheroes this entire time.
What do you want with us?
I've been absorbing all of the powers. Soon, you'll be unable to stop me. I was hoping I could wait for you to build another supersuit so I could steal its powers too, but no matter. You'd never stop me.
I leapt forward to attack him, but he was right. He was really strong. He knocked me out of the way and was able to escape. He wasn't fully powered up yet, but if he was this strong already, we were going to be in real trouble. On day 67 to 70, I went to talk to Natasha and Blade. I couldn't believe I had been tricked. I apologized to them for leading Mandarin right to them.
Don't worry about it. You were trying your best. Now that we know who we're really up against, we have a better chance of stopping him.
Thanks, Nat. I appreciate the support. And speaking of support, I appreciate all of you watching too. After this video, search for more Zozo. Z-O-Z-O.
Sir, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've managed to repair my memory banks and unlocked a new design for another part of the suit.
Oh, that's great news. What do we need to build it?
It looks like we'll be needing some diamonds, but I'm not detecting any on my scanner.
You need diamonds? I haven't seen any underground, but while I was tracking the vampire, I stayed in a village full of them. I'll tell you where to go.
Blade explained where the village was, and I set off to find it. I soon arrived and saw that Blade wasn't lying. There were diamonds everywhere here. The villagers had all kinds of diamond tools and armor. Hey there, nice armor. Do you guys have any extra diamonds you could spare?
I might have some, but I can't just give you them for free.
That's understandable. How much do they cost?
You know, we've had quite a bit of a problem here, and if you can solve that problem, I'll give you everything we can spare.
Sounds like it must be a pretty big problem then.
Yeah, there's a monster that has started living in our diamond mine, and we haven't been able to go in there for weeks. Take care of that monster for us, and we'll give you our spare diamonds.
Okay, I'll do it. Tell me where to go. On day 71 to 74, I arrived at the diamond mine, but the place looked abandoned. I guess the monster really cleared this place out. Better see what I can find. I went into the cave but didn't see any diamonds. I didn't see anything for that matter. The place was super dark. As I went deeper into the mine, I placed torches to help me see. The mine kept going deeper and deeper. I was starting to wonder if it would ever end. At long last, I reached what seemed to be the final room. There's nothing here. Maybe the monster left or something. Just then, I noticed that the torches I had placed along the wall were starting to go out. One by one, they broke, getting closer and closer to me. Suddenly, the vampire from before appeared. What? I thought we defeated you. The vampire smirked and then attacked. He was even stronger than before, and this time he had some tricks up his sleeve too. He burst into a ball of smoke, summoning a group of bats. What in the world? This is crazy! The vampire had disappeared. I had to defeat these bats. I ran around trying to cut down as many as I could. Suddenly, I felt a hit. The vampire had reappeared. Get out of here, Dracula! I still couldn't believe this guy was still around, but I guess it's true. Vampires can never really be defeated. That's when I remembered. The stake! The vampire was getting weak now, and it was time to finish him off. I grabbed my stake and hit him, finishing him off. He would be back eventually, but at least I could get my diamonds in the meantime. I hurried back into the village and met up with the villager. It's done! The monster is gone! Now let's see about those diamonds.
Amazing! You saved us! Here, you can have everything we have to spare.
The villager tossed out a single diamond. I gave him a look. I thought you said you were going to give me all the diamonds you have to spare.
I did. We only have one diamond to spare.
Jarvis piped up.
That should be all we need, sir.
Thanks. Well, here, you guys might need this. I tossed him the stake and headed off, back to the base. On day 75 to 78, I arrived back at the base. It was time to make what Jarvis had remembered. As I went to the crafting table, Jarvis told me what I needed to do to craft a new repulsor. It wasn't my full suit, but at least it was a stronger weapon than before. Just then, Natasha came into the room.
You've got your repulsor up and running? That's great.
Yeah, problem is, I don't know where to go to find Ironmonger or Mandarin.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. When I heard Steve, or I guess Mandarin, talking to Ironmonger, I thought I could hear some machines in the background.
Blade came into the room.
Machines? There's a factory not too far from here. Maybe he's hiding out in there.
It's worth a shot. I'm not sure where else to look. They all agreed, and I decided that before I would leave, I would go ahead and finish the statue. It took a lot of hard work to get it done, but I soon had it all finished in no time. So what do you guys think? Did you guess what it was correctly? On days 79 to 84, I soon arrived at the factory Blade had told me about. I'm not sure if this is right, but we'll find out. As I got closer, I was suddenly attacked by a group of zombies. If there were zombies around here, there was a good chance Ironmonger or Mandarin were around too. I managed to fight through the the wave, but avoided using my repulsor. In case Ironmonger was watching, I didn't want him to know I had it. Soon, all of the zombies were defeated. On days 85 to 89, I entered into the base. That's when I saw Ironmonger standing amongst a bunch of zombies trapped in cases of liquid. What are you doing?
I knew you would show up here eventually. I'm doing what needs to be done. You superheroes think you can just do whatever you want. Zombies can be controlled, so I'm taking your powers and giving them to them. Then I will control all the powers on Earth.
Oh, I see. You don't want to stop superpowers. You just want to be in charge of them yourself. I won't let you get away with this.
Huh. You've been trying to stop me this entire time and have never beat me. Today, I will finish you for good.
We'll see about that. Ironmonger flew up in the air as a door opened, letting zombies into the room. There were a ton of them. Uh-oh, I better take care of these first. I ran around the room trying to take out as many zombies as I could. This was a tough fight with so many things going on at once. I had to defeat Ironmonger though. My friends were going to need all of their powers back. Where is Mandarin hiding?
You'll never find him, because you'll never leave here.
Ironmonger and I were now fighting each other directly, and it was getting intense. He hadn't expected all of my upgrades though, and I was really hurting him.
How did you get so strong? I thought I took everything away from you.
A suit isn't a brain, and that's what's going to defeat you. I fired my repulsor at him and took him out for good. As he disappeared, I saw he had dropped some unique parts, which I picked up.
Sir, we can use these materials to remake your strongest suit.
Yes, now we just need to find Mandarin and get everyone's powers back. Let's do this. On days 90 to 94, I made it back to the base. I ran right over to Natasha and Blade to tell them the good news. I was able to defeat Ironmonger. The bad news is that he was trying to inject zombies with your powers.
That's horrible. It's a good thing you beat him, though.
Speaking of, any way to get our powers back?
Before I left, I saw he had some kind of machine that must be storing your powers. If you guys go there, you may be able to get them back.
Right on. Thanks for all of your help.
You've got it. Now I've got to get to work returning to my final form. I rushed over to the garage as the others set off for the factory. Using the materials Ironmonger had dropped, I got to work building my final Mark III version of my armor. After a lot of hard work, my armor was restored. Yes, it's going to feel so good to fly again. I ran up the stairs of the house and over to a balcony. Here we go. I jumped off and nothing happened. I landed in the water below. Jarvis, what's going on?
Sorry, sir, but while your suit has been restored, the flying capabilities still need some repairs.
Don't you think you could have told me that before I jumped off the cliff?
My apologies, sir.
It's okay, no harm done. Now where do we need to go? On days 95 to 97, Jarvis instructed me that we would be heading to the Nether, so I got to work building a Nether portal. I hadn't been able to get a diamond pickaxe, so I had to get creative. By using lava and some water, I managed to fashion a Nether portal together. It took a bit to get it all done, but soon I had my own Nether portal ready to go. Alright, Jarvis, show me the way. I stepped into the portal and soon found myself in the Nether. This place always gives me the creeps. Let's make this quick. There was some quartz nearby, so I quickly ran over to it and mined it up. Luckily, that was all I needed, so with my pockets full, I jumped back into the portal. Back in the garage, I got right to work, crafting the flight module. It didn't take too long, and soon, it was all complete. I walked back towards the cliff, jumped off, and it worked. Yahoo! I'm a flying man once again. I took some time flying around, feeling good that I was finally powered up. Just then, Jarvis delivered some interesting news.
Sir, the superhero detector at the base is going off. The signals are off the charts.
I hurried back to the base and went into the detector room. The machine was going crazy. The signal is way too strong for it to be Natasha and Blade getting their powers back. Mandarin must be up to something. It was time to take him down. On day 98, I headed off in the direction the detector was pointing. Not too much later, I saw a giant base rising out of the ground. This has to be Mandarin's base. Just then, I was attacked by a bunch of zombies. Oh no, he must be trying to do the same thing Ironmonger was. I've got to get to him, and quick. I was so strong that I knocked the zombies out of the way, no problem. But there was still a lot of them. I also couldn't help but notice some of them were stronger than others. I had to hurry and get to the top. Out of the way, zombros. I kept firing my repulsor cannon until at long last, all of the zombies were defeated. I ran over to the stairs and started heading up to the top. As I got close, I passed a sign in the distance. Oh, subscribe. You should do that right now. And once this adventure is over, go look up some more of my other ones. Just search Zozo, Z-O-Z-O, to find them. On day 99, I reached the top of the tower and saw Mandarin floating in the sky. Wait, how are you floating?
Impressive, isn't it? You're too late. I've absorbed your friend's powers, and now you'll never be able to defeat me.
No, I don't believe it. I'm going to knock their powers out of you.
Bring it on, rich boy.
Mandarin started firing energy blasts at me, causing some big explosions. I returned fire, launching attacks with my repulsor cannon. I had to be careful though. Getting caught in those explosions really hurt.
The time of the superheroes is over, and the time of the supervillain has begun.
I managed to get a hit in with my repulsor, which stopped his monologue. But suddenly, a bunch of yellow smoke appeared, and Mandarin was gone. Where did he go?
Whoa! Looking for me?
Mandarin reappeared, launching more energy blasts. He could teleport now. This wasn't looking good. I had started to fly around, but this was tough. I was hanging in there, but I didn't know how long I could last.
What's wrong? Am I too strong? Let me make this easier for you and finish this.
There was another plume of yellow smoke, and Mandarin copied himself. I was getting attacked from all sides. Oh no, he's too strong. I was taking out some of his clones, but there was no way I could keep this up. I finally took out the clones, but took a heavy hit. One more hit and it was all done for me. I removed my mask.
I'm going to enjoy this. You have been a thorn in my side for too long.
Suddenly, a portal opened and all of my friends came running through, including Dr. Strange and Captain America.
Thought I ought to pay you back. This guy stole my face. That's America's face, not his.
We were able to get our powers back.
All thanks to you. Now let's return the favor.
Well, aren't we all just one big happy family? Well, you're too late. I'm not just as strong as all of you. I'm stronger.
Mandarin cloned himself again, and we all started to fight. It was on now. He was still strong, but there was no way he could take us all down, because even though we might be equal in power, we had something he didn't. Friendship.
No, it can't be. How can I be losing?
We had defeated all of his clones and surrounded him in the center of the platform. Well, thanks for playing. Tell Ironmonger we say hello.
No!
I blasted him with my repulsor, destroying him for good. My friends and I all gathered together. Steve, I was wondering what had happened to you. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, the doctor here came and found me. By the time we met up with the other two, they had just gotten their powers. We came here right away.
Just in time, too. Suddenly, another portal opened and Hulk came through. Wait a second, this isn't where I was trying to go. Where's Abomination? Uh-oh, that Hulk sounds like me. Looks like me from another video somehow wound up here. Can you help him get back? After this video is over, go watch my Hulk video. On day 100, we had all arrived back at the base. The world was safe once again, and everyone had their powers. But we would stay vigilant and keep an eye out. You never know when trouble could strike again. On day 1, I spawned as a baby Hoglin. Oh, I'm pretty adorable. But I only had 3 hearts. I was small, but I had a super strong sense of smell. I could smell everything I was seeing. Whoa, great rivers of fire. I'm in the nether. Cool. Oh look, there's a group of Hoglins. That must be my family. I went over to them. They were nice and shared their crimson fungi with me. Life couldn't have been better. That is until a hungry illager came looking for some bacon.
Run for cover, little Zozo. We'll take care of this. You're too small for battle.
But I want to stay and fight.
Leave it to the real warriors, you shroom sniffer.
Bebop, knock it off. He just likes to pick on other Hoglins. He's a bit of a bully. You will join us one day, but not today. You must grow bigger first. Now hurry, before they turn you into lunch.
Sir, yes, sir. I ran as fast as my little hooves could go when suddenly I was covered in purple smoke. I had no clue what was happening. Suddenly, I was dropped near a river in a green field with blue skies. This didn't look anything like my home. Where am I? I looked around and saw a squirrel with sunglasses on.
Bro, you just dropped out of the sky. For real, for real.
I don't know where I am. This isn't the nether.
No, little dude, this is the overworld. You must have gone through a portal or something. All I know, bro, is it got all purpley and then poof, there you were, dude.
I was so confused. I didn't know what the squirrel was saying, and I didn't know how I got into the overworld.
Whoa, bro, something's up.
I started to see red, blinking red. I felt weird. Something was happening to me. I was changing.
You're going zombie, my dude.
Zombie? The blinking red stopped, and I could tell my whole body looked different. You could see my bones, and my mane had gone flat. Oh no, I'm a ZOGLIN now. What will my family think? How will they want me back now? I guess it's kind of cool to be a zombie.
100%, my dude. It's the gnarly bones for me.
Well, any ideas what I should do now?
My guess is to find a portal to take yourself home. I bet you could find one in the forest. Just be careful out there, little guy. Here, take this.
He handed me a potion of strength.
Only use it when you're really in a jam. Good luck, bro. I gotta go gather my nuts I dropped when you popped out of the sky.
Thank you, Mr.
Call me Squeaks.
Thanks, Squeaks. It was nice to meet a cool squirrel like you. He hopped away and I started towards the forest, passing by a river. My thoughts were suddenly interrupted by a shark that popped out of the river behind me. Luckily, I jumped out of the way just in time. Someone was feeling bitey today. I then continued making my way into the forest. On day 2, I wandered through the forest to find a portal. I wasn't sure where to go next, but that's when I remembered my nose never failed me. Even though I was a zombie, my nose was just as powerful. I took a whiff around. That's an interesting smell. I followed my nose to a llama eating some berries. I decided to ask her if she had seen the portal, but she just ignored me. Hey, I'm talking to you. The llama turned and spit right in my snout. Okay, you're asking for some drama, llama. I wasn't going to let her get away with spitting in my face. I ran at her full speed and attacked. Unfortunately, I was too weak to do any damage. I didn't even have a weapon.
Oh, how sad.
that. Why don't you cry? Wee, all the way home, little Zoglin. You're much too small to be on your own.
Really cool picking on someone smaller than you. Listen, I'd love to go home, but my home is in the Nether, and I can't get home without a portal.
Oh, the Nether. I heard they have great crimson fungi there.
Yeah, they do. I pulled out a crimson fungi and flashed it at her.
Okay, kid, fine. I'll tell you where a portal is if you let me have that.
How do I know you aren't lying?
You'll just have to trust me.
You spit in my face, and you want me to trust you? Tell you what, I'll give you one now and one later if you take me to the portal. She thought it over and finally agreed to the deal.
The last portal I saw was up ahead at a waterfall.
I threw her a mushroom and she chomped down on it.
A little spicy with some smoky flavor. I like it. All right, come on, follow me.
On day 3, we came to a clearing, and up ahead was a glistening waterfall against a big cliff.
There it is. The portal is up ahead. This is where we part. Time to hand over the other half of that mushroom.
I handed her the rest of my mushroom, and she gulped it down.
You know, kid, you're not so bad.
You're not so bad yourself, Llama. Thank you for showing me the way.
Well, let's not get all mushy. Good luck, and try not to get in any more trouble.
The llama trotted off into the forest, and I headed towards the waterfall. It was so beautiful that I forgot to pay attention to my surroundings. Out popped a snake from the long grass. Mind if I slither on by? I guess the snake did mind. The snake was trying to strike me, but I was determined to get to the portal. I didn't have a weapon, but I had my tusks, and I was bigger than the snake. I hit him good and hard, knocking him out. Your history, snake. As he disappeared, I saw he left behind eggs. Oh, nice. I better hold on to these. The portal was just up ahead. I could see it now. Unfortunately, I could also see a pack of wolves. Please, I don't want any trouble. I just need to get back home through that portal. I can pay you in eggs?
The Horned Enderman has commanded all Zoglins to be taken to him. You're coming with us.
Just then, a bunch of skulls came shooting at the pack of wolves. The wolves backed up, but stayed close, guarding the portal.
Come with me if you wish to live.
This dude was a little creepy looking. I'm sorry, who and what are you?
I'm a wither. My name is Smithers. Now come on, those wolves are going to try and take you to the Horned Enderman. We have to get you out of here.
I have no clue what you're talking about, but I don't want to be eaten by wolves. So yeah, let's go. On days 4 to 5, I followed Smithers into the shadows of the jungle.
You need to make some weapons, little Zoglin. Now's a good time. After that, I have a quest for you. I need you to find the Mushroom Field Islands. Only a special hoglin can find them.
But I'm trying to get home. I need to get to the portal.
If you find these islands, I will help get you home. For now, all the portals are being guarded. I think you are the Zoglin the Horned Enderman is searching for.
Me? You got the wrong Zog. I'm just your average ham.
Yeah, you might not be special, but we shall see.
How will I know the way to the Mushroom Island?
Follow your nose. If you really are the chosen one, you will have extra strong smelling powers.
With that, Smithers flew away. He left me with a million questions. And what was that about smelling powers? I always had a good nose, but no, I couldn't be the one they were looking for. One thing was for sure, I needed to be able to defend myself. I started mining wood, stone, and coal. Then I made myself a crafting table. After that, I made a bow, an axe, a sword, and a pickaxe. Take a look at me now. All will tremble before me. Just as I was really getting into being dramatic, I caught the scent of something nearby. I wasn't alone. I looked up and noticed eyes staring back at me. An ocelot jumped down from the tree. He crouched, getting ready to pounce. Easy, little kitty. You wouldn't want to eat me. I'm rotten and don't taste good. But the truth was, I was scared. Those claws were no joke. How would I ever be able to win this fight? Oh wait, the potion! I quickly pulled out my potion of strength that Squeak gave me and drank it. I grew a little bigger and got extra hearts. It's a good thing I met that weird squirrel. The ocelot pounced as I tried to get out of the way. We kept swinging at each other until I was able to push him out of the way. Luckily, I noticed that there were some arrows nearby. I guess an explorer left them here. I hurried and got on my bow and then started firing. It didn't take too many hits and I was able to take him out. So much for cats having 9 lives. Just then, my nose picked up a different scent on the tree. Cocoa pods. Oh, these will be great for making a color or a snack for later. It was then that I could hear a crunching sound coming from somewhere in the jungle. I decided to follow the sound. I rounded some trees and saw a thicket of bamboo. It wouldn't be a bad idea to collect some of that. The crunching continued and I soon saw a panda relaxing on the ground, enjoying some bamboo. I hope he wouldn't mind if I took some for myself. Hey there, I'm Zozo. Could I take some of that bamboo? The panda looked up at me and shrugged, then went back to munching. Sweet, that was easy. It was definitely a relief to come across an adorable animal that didn't want to attack me. I mined a good portion of the bamboo, but made sure to leave some for the panda. I was very excited about my new supplies. Goodbye, Mr. Panda. Thanks for the bamboo. On days 6 to 8, I decided I liked the jungle so much that I'd take a couple days to go jungle glamping. After all, who knew if that wither was even trustworthy? The mushroom fields could wait. I sniffed around for a good spot and went to sleep in a cavern. Later, I woke up and decided to explore some more. Hey, check it out, a wild patch of pumpkins. I'm pumped. This would be a cool spot to build my glamping base with my bamboo. I'm thinking a yurt would be cool. I even found some melon seeds while cutting down plants. I trotted happily to the patch and began began to make my jungle yurt. This would be a great little place to sleep and hide from mobs. Once I had the outside done, I put some finishing touches inside, including some jungle plants. Then I put a little fence around the pumpkin farm, melon farm, and my yurt. I also built a small melon and pumpkin farm outside. Yurt, sweet yurt. Ouch! Something had just hit me. A monkey was in a tree. He was throwing stuff at me. Hey, knock it off!
As you wish. I'll knock all the blocks off your little house thingy.
It's a yurt, you uncultured baboon. Now stop! The monkey didn't stop. He just wanted to be naughty and aggravate me. Alright, enough monkey business. I grabbed my bow and fired a warning shot. The monkey screeched and swung off the tree. Hopefully he had learned his lesson. With the monkey gone, I could focus on some much-needed dinner. Pumpkin chocolate bean cookies sounded good. I'd better hurry. It was getting late and mobs would be showing up. I crafted the cookies and went outside to enjoy the mood. Hey, this is pretty peaceful. It's just me, the trees, these pumpkins, and that horned enderman over there. A horned enderman! A very tall horned enderman was staring at me from outside the fence.
Well, hello, little Zoglin, without a care. I am the horned enderman. No need to fear.
You're that evil enderman trying to capture all the Zoglins, and you probably are the one who teleported me here.
I searched for the perfect Zoglin, but as for this teleportation, that is the wrong accusation.
You're very poetic for an evil jerk.
And you are very cheeky for a Zog who is not very beefy. You are coming with me. Do not try and flee.
Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. There's nothing that won't make me win. Oh, look at that. He even got me rhyming. I whipped out my bow and shot at him, but he teleported and suddenly was right next to me. I pulled out my sword and tried to attack him with that, but it was no use. The enderman punched me so hard that I was stunned. There was no way I could do anything to fight this guy. Just as I lost all hope, the enderman was hit with a big rock in the head. Something kept hitting the enderman with all sorts of objects. Eventually he got fed up and teleported away. There was that crazy monkey sitting on the roof of my yurt. Whoa, you saved me. You chased the enderman away by being annoying. Most impressive. I think we started off on the wrong foot. Would you like some pumpkin cookies? The monkey liked that idea and threw a banana at my head playfully.
Aren't you glad I didn't throw a rock?
What a silly monkey. I'm glad he decided to come back after all. Soon the monkey left, and I went to sleep. On days 9 to 10, I thought I'd sniff around to see if the mushroom field was anywhere nearby. I set off around the jungle. I didn't smell mushroom fields, but I did smell a village nearby. I figured I could sniff it out. Maybe there would be some shops. I exited the jungle and kept sniffing and walking until I finally found a village. I walked into the village, and all the villagers were looking at me. They didn't seem too excited about me being there. I walked into a shop, and the shopkeeper didn't want to sell me anything. He said Zoglins were dangerous to have around because it might bring the horned enderman's cronies around. Man, this enderman is ruining everything for me. I was about to leave the village when a chicken went flapping past me. The villagers were upset. They chased the chicken around, but it got away and ran out of the village.
She is gone. The heavenly hen has left us. We will be cursed.
Hey, maybe I can help.
You? What are you going to do besides bring the orange enderman around these parts?
I've got a very sharp-smelling nose. I can follow her scent and track her down.
Very well. Find the heavenly hen.
Okay, but if I do, I get to pick some things out of your shops for free, okay?
Fine. Whatever you want. Please hurry. And whatever you do, don't look her in the eyes and don't threaten her, or you will regret it.
Okay, that's strange, but fine, I won't. I had seen some really cool armor in the shop, but I probably couldn't afford it, so this was a good deal for me. I headed back towards the jungle to find the chicken. On days 11 to 13, I trotted toward the jungle mountains. I climbed up a hill covered in foliage. It was kind of hard to see, so I started chopping down some of the jungle leaves. Whoa! Oof! The leaves were so thick, I didn't see the quarry below my feet. Oh no, I disturbed a nest of scorpions. Yuck, these guys were nasty. I'm in a real pinch. I tried to tell them that I meant no harm, but they were not going to leave me alone. I did not want to get stung. I swung my sword to get them to back off. Yikes, that was a close one. I jumped above them and pulled my bow out, hitting a few of them. I wanted to just get out of there, but the problem was, I smelled the chicken down there. Maybe she got eaten, but it was just then that I saw a mine shaft below. Maybe the chicken had hidden inside there. I'd have to take these guys out. One by one, I finished them off. Except for one. It was gold, and turned out to not be a scorpion at all. It was a scorpion-sized gold statue. I decided to enter the mine shaft and check the statue out. On day 14 to 16, I was inside the mine shaft and had a smell around. It didn't just smell like chicken. There was something else, too. Oh, jackpot! So many resources! But most importantly, iron. Something was a little creepy about this place. Okay, Zozo, ignore the creepy feeling and just keep mining, just keep mining. After that amazing song, I created a crafting table and furnaces to smelt the iron I just collected. I had enough iron that I could craft myself some iron armor and tools really quick. Something told me I was going to need it. I continued deeper into the cave to find the chicken. Hold up, what's that? I pulled my axe out. It was a spider. But wait, it was another gold statue. What is going on here? I just need to find this chicken and get the creep out of here. Soon enough, from the shadows, crawled a mob of spiders. I knew my spidey senses were tingling. They weren't deterred. They just kept coming. One of the spiders hit me good. It was a big hit. I swung around like crazy and finished off all of the spiders. They left behind a bunch of webs, a crafting table, an iron sword, and some arrows and a slime ball. I guess some explorers must have left in a hurry. I collected them all and made a lead out of some of them. them. I kept walking down into the cave and eventually saw some lava. Across from the lava was that crazy chicken. You are lucky you aren't fried chicken by now. The chicken stared at me with angry eyes. My body felt weird. I suddenly remembered what the villager said about not staring at the chicken in its eyes. I tried not to look directly at it and started making a bridge across the lava over to the chicken. Listen, Miss Hen, I'm just trying to help you. I've got some cookies for you. I'll give you some if you follow me out of here. She didn't say anything because she was a chicken, but I assumed she was okay with this. She ate them and then followed me across my bridge. Well, that worked out. Come on, let's get you home. Everyone is worried about you. On days 17 to 19, we had made it out of the cave and were on our way back through the jungle when the ground under my feet felt funny. It was so soft and squishy. Then I realized I was sinking. It was blue quicksand. Help! The chicken just stared at me blankly. She was no help.
Quack, what's wrong?
It was a group of parrots. I'm sinking.
Quack, what are you thinking about?
Oh, I see what you did there. Okay, might have been about to die, but that was pretty punny. Nice one.
Thanks, we have been working on the stand-up routine.
Neat. Well, I'm thinking about how I need help getting out of here.
We have the sinking feeling you are in some real trouble, but what can be done?
Do you think you could pull me out of this quicksand with my lead? The quicksand had almost swallowed me up by this point.
Sure thing, hand us the lead.
They were able to pull me out just in time. Phew, that was a close one. Thank you for saving my life.
Quack, no problem.
I was just escorting this chicken home.
Quack, quack, what chicken?
I looked around and the hen was gone again. Oh no! I told the parrots thank you, but had to run off to find her. I followed my nose. She was close, but so was an ocelot. Look out, chicken! The chicken stared at the ocelot with angry eyes. I took out my sword, but before I could do anything, the ocelot turned to solid gold. Did you do that, Miss Hen? I can see why you're so special now. She pecked at the ground. Come on, let's get you back home. On days 20 to 22, a fox was watching us run back to the village and tried to cut us off. Sorry, Fox. Trust me, you don't want this chicken for dinner. I ran at him and punted him into the sky. I knew I was doing him a favor, better than dealing with Goldwinger over here. We made it back to the village and the villagers were super stoked. I was super stoked about picking out some items from the shop.
Our sacred hen has returned. What is your name, Sir Zoglin?
Zozo.
3 cheers for Sir Zozo.
Shucks, I just followed my nose. At the shop, I picked out diamond armor and some TNT. Mission accomplished. With my swanky new treasures in hand, I was ready to go back to my yurt. On the outside of the village, I was stopped by an iron golem who offered me a puppy. He told me his name was Geo. He was a super nice guy. I told him I had to get back to my yurt before it got much later. As I came up to my yurt, it had already gotten dark. Oh, just fantastic. My yurt is swarming with creepers and red-eyed spiders. It's a jungle out here. Time to test out this armor and explosives. The mob saw me and started coming for me, so I ran into the trees. I set the TNT on the ground and then punched it, running for my life. As the mobs came by, the TNT exploded. It didn't kill them all, but it took out a lot. I handled the rest of them with my weapons. With the mobs gone, I trotted back to my yurt. I checked on my melons. They were growing well. I'd harvest them tomorrow and then set out to find that mushroom island, or field, whatever you want to call it. On day 23 to 26, I woke up and went outside. To my surprise, Geo was standing around my garden. Hey there, Geo. How did you find me?
Geo here, Big Boom. Geo come to save Zozo.
That's super nice of you. I tested out some TNT on some mobs. Sorry to worry you. I explained to Geo that I had to go on a mission to find a mushroom island. Geo insisted on accompanying me. He said he could help protect me from the horned enderman. I agreed, then harvested my melons and pumpkins. I took a bite of the melons, and it helped me to grow some more. Ooh, check out these tusks. Then I went inside to get some more materials. After that, we were ready to set off. My nose led us out of the jungle and across some icy plains and glaciers. There were a lot of polar bears. I was relieved Geo decided to join me because there's no way I'd be able to fend them off by myself. When some of them wanted to give us trouble, we gave them trouble right back. Geo was able to fling them up like pancakes. Hey Geo, wanna build a snowman? I decided I might as well mine some snow while I was there. It might come in handy. I threw together some snow and a pumpkin head to make a snow golem. Geo clapped excitedly.
Snow friend, snow friend.
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday to you, Ice Golem. My name is Zozo. This is Geo. What's your name?
Burr.
Burr, huh? That checks out.
Play with Burr.
Sure, we can take some time to play. Hey, I know. What if we build a snow fort out of snow?
Play.
Burr, play.
I made a little snow fort and we had a snowball fight. It was very fun, but Geo was a little too strong and hit Burr too hard, and he poofed into a giant pile of snowballs. Don't worry, Geo. Snowmen don't last forever anyways. We collected his snowballs and added them to our supply. At least he could always be with us now, in a weird sort of way. On days 27 to 31, we wandered to the seaside. The smell of Mushroom Island was super strong. I was led to the seashore. We looked out and saw an island with funny red trees. I think that's it, Geo. Now to get over there. I crafted a boat, but it wasn't big enough for Geo to come with me, so Geo agreed to hang out on shore until I came back. As I sailed closer, I realized the red trees were actually giant mushrooms. I started to drool. Someone was on the island already. It was Smithers.
You found me. You truly are the chosen one. Only a Zoglin with the strongest sniffer can find the secret place.
Why does the Enderman want me?
I will explain everything, but let's show you around first.
I ran around the island exploring its resources. This ground was so spongy and bouncy. Oh, look, cows. Wait, those are mushrooms. That gave me an idea. A huge statue would be pretty cool in this field. I gathered up some supplies and started working on the first part of the statue. The cocoa beans would also be perfect for some brown dye. I'd want some red though too. I'd need to get some red flowers on the mainland. Smithers showed me the base he had made. It was a nice little cube. You know, Smithers, this is awesome, but are you okay with me doing some renovations? Just so it's big enough for all of us, including some of my friends I've met along the way.
I mean, this is already a pretty elaborate cube, but okay, I'm cool with it.
Great, I'll start tomorrow. On day 32 to 35, I decided to make the base look like a giant red mushroom with spots. I wonder what gave me that idea. First, I'd need to make the stem. It would be a staircase, and then I could make the top a big mushroom-shaped room with a loft above that for bedrooms. We'd have a nice view of the island while we hung out in the base, and we could keep an eye out for danger too. I wandered around the main area inside. There's so mushroom in here. Get it? Mushroom? Mushroom?
You should stick to sniffing and leave jokes to someone else.
You can't please everyone. Outside, I created an awning for Geo to stand under and keep watch. Our base was ready for action. On day 36 to 39, I went back to shore to get Geo. Once on land, he and I mined some flowers and some other things for the base and statue. I smelled something familiar. Hey, I smell another Zoglin. I wanted to follow the scent, so we went looking. I had to see if they were okay. I followed my nose to a pillager base. A fire was roasting, and there sat a Zoglin chained up to a log. A pillager was humming and wandering around the yard. We walked up to the hut. Excuse me, but what are you planning to do with that Zoglin? The pillager nearly jumped out of his skin. He hadn't seen us sneaking up on him.
Geo, kill pillager.
Have at it, Geo.
Geo, smash.
That pillager didn't stand a chance against Geo. Wow, nice going, Geo. And look, there's an emerald on the ground now. I picked it up and put it in my supplies, then walked over to the Zoglin. Hey, my name is Zozo. I could smell you from miles away. I'm here to rescue you.
Thank you. My name is Hogatha. The Horned Enderman sold me his dinner because I wasn't the Zoglin he was looking for.
That's rough. I told Hogatha how to find my base and invited her to meet us up there. She liked that idea. There were voices in the distance. A mob of pillagers came into view. We better get out of here. We don't need that kind of trouble.
Yep, time to run. I'll find you later. Good luck.
On days 40 to 43, I was back at the base, and Geo and Hogatha had joined us. Hogatha added some grass around the base. It was looking pretty gnarly. I went over to the statue and kept adding to it. Things were coming together for this epic statue, but it wasn't done yet. Do you know what it's going to be? I'll have to keep working on it later. Smithers called me into the base meeting room to finally tell me all about what's been going on with this Horned Enderman dude.
It all began with greed.
I could tell a flashback was coming because the music got all dramatic.
Flashback.
Called it.
The Horned Enderman had been taking over the overworld, enslaving and destroying. He seeks to control this world, and the Nether too. Everyone is afraid of him. He summoned the Witches of Fate. He asked them to reveal the location of a weapon called the Black Trident. It was powerful enough to raise up an army of the undead. They didn't tell him the location. We only know it's somewhere in the ocean. They did give him a prophecy of a Zoglin with a powerful enough nose to sniff out the location of this weapon. But they also said that this Zoglin could be his undoing. I believe that Zoglin is you. I know this because I was there. I was part of the Horned Enderman's close advisors. But I couldn't stand by any longer and see him destroying so many lives. I deserted him and went in search for you myself. We can't let him find that Dark Trident.
I would never lead him to it. If you can get me home, you won't be able to use me.
Fate has brought you here, my boy. You must give in to your destiny. And your destiny is to rise up against the Horned Enderman.
I've run into him before. I couldn't defeat him. I have no idea how to do that. I just want to find a cure for my zombie form and go home.
You will find a way.
This was a lot to take in. I wasn't sure how I felt about it all. Of course I wanted to help, but how? Thanks for telling me all about it. I need to do some thinking outside. I went on a walk around the mushroom field at night to think about everything. The mushrooms were grazing in the field with their babies. Hogatha came and joined me.
You okay?
Not really.
Want to talk about it?
I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to fight Endermen at all, let alone an ultimate Enderman bad guy.
I know that Endermen don't like water. Maybe that can help.
That is something. I was hoping I could just cure myself and get home. Do you have a family, Hogatha?
No, the Horned Enderman took them all. It's just me now.
I'm sorry to hear that. I guess he really does need to be stopped. We sat and looked at the ocean. It was so peaceful to watch the waves and smell the mushroom aroma. Hey, do you see that light out there? I could make out a small roof on the mainland. There was purple smoke coming from the chimney, just like I had seen when I teleported here. Maybe it was where the witches lived. Maybe they could help me. I decided to go investigate in the morning.
On day 44 to 49, I got into my boat and set sail across to the hut. It didn't take too long to find it in the daylight. The purple smoke smelled just like when I teleported. This had to be the witch's cottage. I made my way up the stairs. I knocked and there was some scuffling around inside, and then the door opened and a wand was shoved into my face.
Who are you and what do you want?
I'm looking for the Witches of Fate. Is this their cottage?
Of course it's not. This is my cottage.
Who are you?
I am Flimflam, the mediocre wizard. So don't try any funny business or I'll turn you into a mediocre newt.
Did Did you by chance cast a spell recently that could teleport someone from the Nether to the overworld?
How did you know that? Bless my soul, my spell did work. You're the ZOGLIN I summoned, and then promptly lost.
I think you better explain some things to me. The mediocre wizard let me into his hut. He had all sorts of magical-looking items. He then suddenly shot his wand at the wall. I turned around and saw a call to action. An action to subscribe, that is. Which you should do. And also search for more of my videos. Zozo. Z-O-Z-O. Anyway, Mr. Mediocre, you were explaining something?
So you see, I knew I needed to get to you before the Horned Enderman did. I admit that although I've been practicing magic for a long time, well, I mess up a lot. So I found this spell to get you over here, but then I wasn't sure if it worked because you never showed up.
It worked, but you dropped me into a random place in the overworld. I wish you wouldn't have done that. I used to be a handsome hoglin. Now look at me.
Oh my, yes, I can see what you mean. But you know, there's a cure for that.
There is?
Of course. I know it takes a golden carrot and something else. I can't remember off the top of my head.
And if you got me here, you can get me back home, right?
Of course, but I brought you here for a reason. We need to find the Dark Trident before the Horned Enderman does.
If I help defeat him, can you cure me and send me home?
You got yourself a deal.
I was so glad I was finally getting answers. All this excitement really tuckered me out. I asked the wizard if I could sleep off some of my exhaustion. He was cool with it. On days 50 to 53, I looked around the wizard's hut and saw so many magic potions and wands.
I see you are admiring my collection of magical objects.
I like your wizard hat, too.
Oh yes, this hat is awesome. I can use potions and they last forever. Maybe one day you can get a wizard hat of your own once you've learned some things.
So do you have a plan for how to defeat the Horned Enderman?
Of course, you. And that was as far as I got.
I bet some of your wands and potions will come in handy. Can I try one of your wands? The wizard agreed and selected an ice wand. I was pretty excited, and I ran to the water to test it out. Abracafree stuff. I froze the water into ice cubes. I definitely like this idea of learning magic. I think you should come with me and meet our other friends. We have a mushroom base across the way. We can all make a plan. Can I take this wand with me? The wizard agreed, got in his own boat, and we sailed off. As we sailed across, we noticed something splashing on the surface. We got closer and saw it was a mermaid surrounded by a shark.
Looks like it's a good time to use that wand, Zozo.
I jumped out of my boat and jumped on the rock the mermaid was on, and excitedly took out the wand and started pointing it at the water around the shark. The water was turned into ice, and the sharks were frozen in ice cubes. You sharks need to cool it. Are you okay, mermaid? The mermaid came closer to me.
Thank you for helping me out. That was a close one. Who are you guys?
My name is Zozo, and this is Flimflam the wizard. We are just some friends who are trying to stop the Horned Enderman. You probably don't know who that is, huh?
Actually, yeah, I do. Those sharks work for him. They were trying to get me to tell them where the Dark Trident is.
What? Are you serious? That's why they want me too. We were just meeting up on the Mushroom Island to make a plan on how to stop him.
How about I follow you over there? I can team up with you.
That's a great idea. Follow us. We were assembling a pretty epic team. On days 54 to 57, we sailed up to the Mushroom Island. I told the mermaid to wait at the shore and walked up to the base. I introduced Flimflam to the group. Smithers and Flimflam were both suspicious of each other at first, but after some explaining, they both realized they were on the same side. I took some time to break away from the group and work some more on my statue. I added some good red coloring to it. I was halfway there. I made my way back to the base, and then I heard splashing in the water. I almost forgot about the mermaid. I went and spoke with her at the beach. Her name was Dolphine, but she went by Dolly. Dolly told me about why the sharks were after her. She knew of a portal called the Whirlpool of Want. They wanted the location.
This whirlpool takes you to the Witches of Fate.
I didn't think you could get to them.
That's what they want you to think.
What if you take us to this whirlpool? Maybe we can ask the witches if there's a weapon that can destroy the Dark Trident. Dolly agreed to this plan, and I went and let the team know where I was going. Before we left, I did what I could to make sure my health and weapons were shipshape. I was ready to follow the mermaid to the Whirlpool of Want. On days 58 to 62, we were out in the middle of the ocean when the mermaid pointed ahead.
There it is. Just sail straight into it.
You sure this will work? I didn't want to get stuck at the bottom of this whirlpool. Besides, I hardly knew this mermaid. This could be a trick.
Pretty sure. Here, let me go in ahead of you. Let me see what happens.
She swam right into the whirlpool and it swallowed her up. I waited for a few minutes. The whirlpool started to gurgle and out popped the mermaid. There she blows. Well, it looked like it worked. Onward. I jumped off the ship and into the whirlpool. The whirlpool had a portal at the bottom and it spat me out onto dry land. I was in the end?
And what do we have here? A wayward Zoglin.
A voice cackled from the sky. It seemed to come from all around me.
You seek how to destroy the Dark Trident. We know everything about all of you, but we don't do things out of the kindness of our hearts. We are witches. We make trades. What did you bring to trade?
I panicked. I didn't know I needed to trade something. 3 witches appeared in front of me.
Well, what will it be? If you want the Wand of Weather, you will have to give us something that interests us.
The Wand of Weather? This wand will destroy the Dark Trident?
You bet your little Zoglin britches.
I offered them my wand, my swords, my potions, anything I could think of that seemed really neat, but they didn't want any of it. They already had piles of that stuff. I wonder if they would take something that only has sentimental value. I offered them the poppy that Geo had given me.
A poppy? You have got yourself a deal.
Poof, they disappeared, and in their place was a wand.
We forgot to mention one little thing. Only a true heroic act can activate this wand.
Their voices trailed off. A heroic act? I do those things all the time. That doesn't seem too difficult. I wanted to stick around to sniff around, but suddenly there was a whole mob of zombies headed my way. I ran for the portal and jumped through. On days 63 to 66, I was ejected out of the whirlpool. I told Dolly about everything and then sailed back to our base. There was smoke on the horizon. We got close to the island and saw our base had been attacked. The horned Enderman must have discovered our base. I jumped out of my boat and made my way to my base entrance where I saw Smithers. I found out that they had kidnapped Hagatha. They thought she was me. No, Hagatha, I will rescue you.
I will fly fast and try to find her. You need to continue on your quest. If you can defeat the Horned Enderman, Hagatha will be spared.
I wanted to go with Smithers, but I knew he was right. Smithers would take good care of the situation. He quickly flew away. I was going crazy with worry, so I had to distract myself. Those henchmen had really done a lot of damage. We had so many repairs to make. There was only one way to handle this situation: a rebuilding montage. We upgraded a lot of things and then got started building a moat around the base. Flimflam suggested that we had a water path for Dolly to be able to swim in and out, so we added that too. Afterwards, I stepped back and admired our work. It's amazing what you can do when you're motivated. Just then, I wondered if my statue had been destroyed. I ran over to the field, and luckily it was just how I left it. I finished off the face. Can you tell what it is? I guess it's pretty obvious now, but I still needed to add the pièce de résistance. Later, on days 67 to 70, I tried out the Wand of Weather, but couldn't get it to do anything. Maybe it only worked around the trident. We had better locate the trident to try and destroy it. I hoped it would work for me. Flimflam appeared behind me and said,
Zozo, you're the one with the magical nose. Where do you think we should go to find the trident?
I closed my eyes and I sniffed the air, focusing on where it could be. All I smell is Hagatha. I'm worried about her.
I'm right here, silly.
Hagatha and Smithers were back. Smithers had found her wandering back to the island. They had let her go after realizing she was the wrong Zoglin, but Hagatha was certain they were tracking her.
We can use that to our advantage. We can have Hagatha stay here as a decoy while you sneak off to get the trident.
I didn't like the idea of potentially putting Hagatha in harm's way, but she insisted on the plan. Everyone else would stay at the base to protect Hagatha. Meanwhile, Dolly and I would go on our quest. I got on my boat and followed the faint scent of the dark trident. We eventually came into a desert with cactus and pyramids on the shore. Dolly pointed out that there were ancient ruins in the water. Perfect spot to find a trident, and I can tell we are close. Just then, my ship started to shake. What was that? I looked over the edge. Dolly, there's a lot of angry noodles wiggling around the water.
I don't think that's a noodle, Zozo. I think it's a giant octopus.
Yikes, we would have to think fast. I shot arrows at it, but that just made it more mad. It hit my boat and busted it. Oh no, he even managed to hit me a few times. He really packed a punch. I would have to swim my way out of this.
I'll use my siren song to lure it away. You head for a cove to hide.
What about you?
I'll be fine. I can outswim these guys.
Dolly started singing and the octopus was put in a trance-like state and started following Dolly. Meanwhile, I booked it for the shoreline. I saw a cove that had a very strong smell coming from it. I knew I was hot on the Trident Trail. Dolly was nowhere to be seen though. I hoped she was okay. The cove wasn't empty though. A pirate ship was there as well. Where there is pirates, there is treasure. I looked around and sure enough, I found not one, but 2 treasure chests. What does this one have? Whoa, it's a Respiration 3 helmet. Now that's convenient. I opened the other one up and it had a heart potion. I moved topside and took it and got 10 more hearts, and I grew into a large-sized Zoglin. Now we're talking. I was ready for some underwater exploration, but Dolly hadn't showed up yet. Well, I hope she can find me. On days 71 to 74, I started to swim through the shallow waters of the cove that led to a watery underground cave. It was very dark. I noticed some obsidian floating around in the cave and picked it up for later. The dark trident had to be around me somewhere. The scent was so strong. I could also smell trouble. I dove under the water to have a look around, but it was so dark. Suddenly, someone grabbed my hooves. Ah! Oh my goodness. It was just Dolly. She had found me. You scared the ham right out of me. I'm glad you're okay though. She held out her hand.
Sorry, Zozo. Look at this. This is a glowstone. It will help light our path.
Awesome. It was so nice having Dolly to help me. She set the glowstone on the floor of the cave, and we could see a little opening. We swam through it. It led into a big space with large wall ruins. There were lots of tall vines growing all over the ruin.
Hey, look.
The dark trident was just sitting on top of a mound of sand. Just then, out popped hordes of drowns. I didn't come this far to be beaten by a bunch of water zombie punks. You're going down. We fought with all our might and wits. We had to win. There were many, but we were mighty. Sure enough, we were able to take care of all of them. Hi Finn, Dolly. We gathered around the trident. I got out my weather wand and nothing happened. We had just defeated all these drowns. That was super heroic. Shouldn't that heroic act have activated the trident?
Were those witches lying?
I don't know.
Well, grab it and let's go. We can try to destroy it some more back at the base.
I was hesitant, but I agreed.
Now that you have obsidian, you can build a portal back home.
Really? That will be awesome. Although, I'm still a Zoglin. We need a cure so I can fit back in at home.
I like you as a Zoglin. I think you look cool.
Thanks, Dolly. I just don't know what my family will think. Suddenly, everything started to shake. I reached and grabbed the trident. We had to get out of here. We swam back through the hole in the cavern wall and back up to the surface, and then back to the mouth of the cove. Everything was crumbling. We barely made it out in time. On days 75 to 78, I sailed back to our base. I thanked Dolly for all of her help, and she told me she needed to return to her kingdom before her family started to worry. I'll never forget you, Dolphine. At the mushroom base, I peeked through the window and saw my friends had finished my statue for me while I was gone. It looked great. It was a mushroom with a pumpkin on top to remember Burr by. You guys are the best. After that, we all gathered around the trident. I needed to destroy this thing quickly. I tried the wand again. Nothing. I've done so many heroic things. Why wasn't it working? I pointed it at the sky and thought about my awesome friends and how brave they always were. This time it jiggled a little, a few clouds came out, and made it rain a tiny bit. Well, that was something.
You'll get the hang of this in time, Zozo. I believe in you.
I was so distracted by the wand that it took me a while to notice the strong odor of evil floating into the base. The horned Enderman had to be near. I picked up the trident, started sniffing around, and went into my base. On day 79 to 84, I looked outside our window. A bunch of Endermen surrounded our base gate, and there was the horned Enderman standing there. You have got to be kidding me.
Little Zog, let me in, or I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your base in.
That dude is terrifying, even when he speaks in rhymes. I'm going to start building that portal, and maybe we can take the trident to the nether.
You escape with the trident. I'll fight them off.
Smithers ran out of the room. I built and lit the nether portal.
You can't do this alone.
Agatha joined him to fend off the base. I thought to myself and decided not to run. I had to be a hero if I wanted this wand to work. I told Flimflam to guard the trident. I pulled my sword out and ran out as well. After fighting for a bit, I swapped my sword out for the bow and started shooting. With each arrow I fired, the Enderman teleported away. But suddenly, they charged me, and I took a big hit. Ouch! I started swinging my sword, and I did my best to take them all out. At long last, all of the Endermen were defeated. Where was the horned Enderman, though? I noticed he wasn't around. I looked up into the mushroom base windows, and there he was. He was in the room with Flimflam and the trident. Oh no! Smithers, the trident! Smithers flew up where they were. By the time I got there, Flimflam had been injured, and Smithers was facing off with the horned Enderman. With ease, the horned Enderman grabbed the trident and teleported out of the base. Smithers followed him outside, and I did too.
The dark trident can only work with a heart of pure evil. Watch as I turn this thing lethal.
With that, the horned Enderman hit Smithers with the dark trident. No, how could he? I pulled out the wand of weather and pointed it at the trident. Storm clouds gathered and it started to rain pretty hard, but it didn't seem to do anything to the trident. The rain did, however, scare off the horned Enderman since he teleported away. With the enemy gone, I ran to Smithers' side.
This is the end for me. Promise me you'll stop him.
Then Smithers disintegrated, leaving behind a nether star. I was so sad and picked up the nether star. I placed it down at the entrance of the house. It would forever shine bright on us, as Smithers did. On days 85 to 89, Agatha and I went through the portal to the nether. We knew time was short. The horned Enderman would be marching through with his undead army at any moment. We landed in the Crimson Forest. Welcome to my homeland.
Wow, everything is so hot and spicy looking here.
Home, sweet and spicy home. I miss the smell of lava. We started to walk around a bit when suddenly a mob of piglins was coming toward us. Well, looks like it's never a dull moment. Let's kick some hams. We used our arrows, swords, and strength to take down the mob. We continued exploring the nether for a bit until we got to the edge of a cliff. The lava was hot below us. I carefully laid down dirt to get across. I noticed more piglins coming at us, so I broke off a brick of the block bridge so they couldn't follow us.
Well, that was a very lava hot welcome. Where's your family?
They aren't far. I can smell them. On days 90 to 94, I heard some low oinking. It was my family. They were munching on fungi, as usual. Hey, you guys, I'm back. Who the oink are you? Oh, great. It was Bebop, the bully. It's me, Zozo. I look a little different now. I'm bigger and
freakish looking. You're not one of us anymore.
I just returned from the overworld, so I got zombified. But I'm still Zozo, and these are my friends. We have come to warn you.
Warn us about what? Are you threatening us? You think you could just disappear one day and then come back and act all tough? That's it. No one threatens us.
No, I'm not threatening. Bebop came charging at me. I put my head down and got ready to return his blow. I hit Bebop a lot, and he simply backed off. I'm bigger and stronger than you now, Bebop. Time to stop picking on others, or I'm gonna have to teach you another lesson. I told the rest of the Hoglin family what I'd been up to and where I went. These are my friends. They've been been helping me. You see, we got a weapon that can stop this evil dude from coming here and destroying everything. He's known as the Horned Enderman. Bebop must not have learned his lesson because he butted in.
We will never believe you. You're just a bunch of freaks.
I'd much rather be a freak than a boring old piece of bacon. I pity you. You can't see past your own snotty snout. I used to worry about what you all would think of me as a Zoglin, but now I don't care. I'm proud of who I am on the inside and out. My friends taught me that. You can either show respect for me and my friends, or you and I can settle this again. For good. Hog to Zog. I pulled out my wand of weather. It was suddenly glowing and surging with energy. I had been heroic by standing up for myself and my friends, even against my own kind. I was done being ashamed of what I looked like. I loved my zombie self. I held the wand into the air and created rain in the nether.
Okay, I'm sorry. I won't pick on you or anyone else. Please make it stop.
I put the wand away and the crazy weather stopped. It was all the proof the Hoglins needed. On days 95 to 98, we decided we would make a big hill with a fortress on top so we could have the high ground. Flimflam also came over from the overworld and insisted on making me wear his wizard's hat. It would keep my health up even after being attacked. Our hill fortress was looking pretty cool, and we were able to recruit some other nether mobs. We got mobs of piglins and wither skeletons. We set up inside the fort. It was then that the sky opened a portal and outpoured all sorts of undeads. Drowned necromancers, skeletons, zombies, zombified piglins, and husks. Fight hard and stay safe. We just need to stay alive long enough until I can attack the trident. The Zoglins attacked with their tusks to punt them away into the lava. The mutant piglins used their quality swords to cut them down. The mutant husks smashed with their fists. We were all fighting hard. But still, some of our allies didn't survive. I needed to find the Horned Enderman. The longer this went on, the more deaths there would be. The hordes of undead just kept coming too. But we fought with all of our might. After defeating some of the undead creatures, the piglin commander gave me a health potion. I drank it and my hearts leveled up. I got 20 hearts, and then I became even bigger. I couldn't lie, I looked pretty intimidating. After that, we returned to the fort. On day 99, I heard something happen at the portal again and ran out. The Horned Enderman finally emerged from the portal. Horned Enderman, you are going down.
What are you going to do? Sprinkle me with water? Oh no, how will I ever survive such hullabaloo? Ha! See my mighty undead army. This world is doomed. There is no way to disarm me.
Go ahead and laugh, but this is for Smithers. He threw the trident at me, breaking my armor. He was terribly powerful.
Thank you for bringing me this trident. I think it is a death well spent.
I heard my friends shout, and they came to my side.
For Smithers!
Their chant brought me strength. I shot the wand into the air. For Smithers! It started to rain. Thunder boomed loudly, and there was a mighty zap. A powerful bolt of lightning struck the trident. The Horned Enderman exploded, and the trident shattered. We did it! Just like that! The wand had worked! We all cheered and celebrated. On day 100, after we had finished celebrating and honoring those who had fallen, I had to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my Zoglin years. I said goodbye to my family and promised to come home every Sunday for Crimson dinner. I would be the Zoglin Wizard of the newly named Smither Island. But in the meantime, I would study more magic and defend the weak, always keeping a balance to good and evil. And most of all, I'd spread heroic courage, a love for others and oneself, freakish looks and all. I knew Smithers would be proud.
On day 1, I spawned in as a Lego man. Looks like I'm a baby Lego man. Figures. Wait, it looks like the whole Minecraft world is made out of Lego. That's amazing. I looked around the desert I'd spawned into and saw other Lego people walking around. All villagers, by the looks of it. I've never seen anything like this. What's going on here?
Allow me to explain, Lego Zozo.
I turned and saw a more sinister Lego man with a scary-looking helmet and a business suit. He didn't look friendly.
I'm Lord Business, soon to be the new manager of this Lego world. I'm gonna keep things clean, orderly, and most importantly, profitable.
That doesn't sound so bad.
Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, to make profits, you need to cut costs, and I'm gonna cut costs by destroying all those who oppose me, starting here.
He swung his hammer, and suddenly the desert was filled with explosions, tearing into the ground and blowing up all the Lego villagers around me. Just like that, I was all alone. I'm not gonna let you get away with this, Lord Business. I will defeat you. Lord Business just laughed and stomped over towards me.
I've got a tight business plan, Zozo. I'll have control of this entire world in 100 days. And unless you become a master builder, you'd have no hope of stopping me. And it's not like that's gonna happen.
I wanted to fight back and defend myself, but I was just a baby and I didn't have any weapons. That's when a swarm of soul vultures appeared and started chasing me. All I could do was run.
There's only one way out of this. I need to figure out what exactly a master builder is and become one in 100 days so I can defeat Lord Business and stop him from taking over the world. On day 2, after running for hours and hours, I ended up leaving the desert and entering the savannah. I may not have any weapons yet, but at least I'm tough. 5 Lego hearts? Even my health and hunger bar look like Lego pieces. And I'd need those Lego hearts because I still hadn't lost Lord Business's gang of nasty soul vultures. They were tough and fast, and I still didn't have any gear to fight them off with. Don't you guys have something better to do than hassle a baby Lego man? As the soul vultures got closer, I could feel my energy depleting. It was almost nightfall, and now I was really in trouble. Then, flaming arrows went flying through the sky. Someone was shooting at the soul vultures. The flames scared them, and the flock retreated. Someone had saved my life. That's when I saw a Lego villager hiding behind some cover. Thanks for saving my life, man.
No problem. Name's Bruce. I'm part of the resistance against Lord Business and his evil plans.
Wait, there's a resistance? Please let me in on it. I want to help defeat Lord Business too.
Then you better follow me. It's dangerous to be around here at nightfall.
Before we go, do you perhaps have any food? My Lego belly is starting to rumble.
No problem, little man. Here are some cooked mutton Lego bricks.
On day 3, Bruce and I went to a village in the middle of the savannah.
The village provides cover for the resistance. All the key members are hiding out here. None of us want Lord Business to turn this world into his personal piggy bank.
Bruce took me to a secret building in the middle of town where he wanted me to meet the resistance leader, an Egyptian illager named Osiris, sitting in a chair in his private library. Everyone was gathered around the table, so I sat behind it as well. It's nice to meet you, Mr. Osiris. I'm Zozo. Bruce told me you're the leader of the resistance against Lord Business.
This is true. Bruce told me you wish to join us.
That's also true. Lord Business attacked me when I first spawned, and he told me he's gonna take over the world in the next 100 days. I could only stop him if I became something called a master builder. Osiris seemed shocked. He stood up and came walking towards me.
A master builder? He said those exact words? Master builder?
Yeah, but I have no idea what it means. Do you know anything about master builders, Osiris?
Legends tell of the master builders. They're Lego men who have mastered the sacred art of construction. Through training and special techniques, they can build anything. Some say they're so good at building, they don't even need to use weapons to fight. They can use building itself as a weapon.
I jumped with excitement. Oh my gosh, that sounds incredible! How can I become one?
It won't be easy, but it's possible. It will take training in the art of building, of course, but most importantly of all, you must be taught the secret techniques by the 4 master builders hidden across the world. And if we are to have any hope of stopping Lord Business, you'll need to do all of this in less than 100 days.
I waved goodbye and exited the secret building. On days 4 to 5, I began my first pieces of work and training. After all, I couldn't even think about seeking the other master builders until I'd completed some basic training. Tools! First, I gotta make myself some tools. So I went over to the nearby trees and started gathering up some wood. It wasn't easy to punch through the trees, but soon enough, I had enough wood to make a crafting bench, and then my first set of wooden tools. These look pretty cool, but a master builder needs better than wooden tools. Using my wooden shovel and pickaxe, I started digging into the ground until I hit stone and collected enough blocks to build myself a full set of stone gear, including tools and a sword. Because I was now an official part of the resistance, Osiris said I was allowed to build my base on the edge of the village, so I started using my spare wood and stone blocks to build the foundations of my base. The first step was building rooms for myself and Bruce, the Lego villager who had saved my life in the desert. It's always nice to have a friend living with you. Bruce hurried towards me, looking frantic.
Zozo, the building is gonna have to wait. I can see a bunch of zombies creeping towards us out of the savannah. We need to stop them.
Luckily, I had my new stone sword, so I pulled it out and ran in, ready to kick some moldy zombie booty. You're messing with a future master builder here. You're gonna regret this. And they did, because it didn't take me long to defeat the zombies and return to my base, glowing with victory. That's when I started to change. I upgraded, getting bigger and gaining 2 hearts. 7 hearts? This is awesome!
On days 6 through 8, I was wandering through the savannah until I reached a forest. I was collecting more wood for my base when I saw a wooden villager being attacked by this big and ugly-looking bug called a sectoid. But the wooden villager was fighting back, building walls between him and the attacking sectoid. I've never seen anyone fight like this before. Maybe That's when the wooden villager noticed me.
Are you gonna stand there all day, son? Or are you gonna give me a hand with this thing?
Oh, right, sorry. I ran in with my stone sword and joined the fight. The sectoid was tough, but with me and the wooden villager working together, we had a chance. Every time the sectoid tried to attack me, the wooden villager quickly built a little wall between us. Soon enough, the sectoid was exhausted and confused, and I was able to defeat it with my stone sword. He dropped some string. I guess it makes sense. He did look a bit like a spider. All that was left was me and the wooden villager. I wanted to know more about his special fighting skills.
Thanks for the assist, kid. Who are you?
I'm Zozo, and who are you?
I'm Master Ren.
Wait, Master? As in Master Builder? Can you help me learn to be like you?
Sure thing, kid. Your training starts now. You're gonna help me chase a soul eater out of a cave near here.
Sounds like a plan, Master. Let's go. On days 9 to 10, Master Ren and I made our way through the forest until we found the cave he told me about. Before we go in, Master Ren, what's the first lesson? How can I fight like a master builder?
The first technique is the one you saw me using in the woods, kid. When your opponent tries to attack you, you build a wall between you and them.
Okay, I think I'm ready. Let's do this. I followed Master Ren into the cave where the Soul Eater was waiting. It was even bigger and scarier than I thought it'd be, and the second it saw us, it flew towards us.
Now is the time, Zozo. Try out the technique I taught you.
But with the Soul Eater charging towards me, I panicked. I couldn't help it. I tried to build the wall between us as quickly as I could, but the Soul Eater just flew over the tiny barricade and started attacking me. In one strike, I lost a bunch of hearts. Uh-oh, I need to get out of here. I ran out of the cave and Master Ren followed me. Felt so embarrassed to lose in front of him like that, but he didn't seem to mind.
Perhaps I will need to train you more cautiously, young Zozo.
How about you come stay at my base? You can train me more there.
That sounds like a good idea to me.
On days 11 to 12, I returned back to my base with Master Ren and started adding another floor to the base. This way, he can have his own room. I hope this is to your liking, Master Ren.
Well, it's clear you have much to learn in the way of building. But thank you, Zozo. It'll do.
While Master Ren was resting up, I decided to put my building skills to good use. I created a custom crafting room where I could perfect my crafting skills and store my creations. By the time I was done, I saw that Osiris had arrived at my base, and he had something to tell me.
How's the training going, Zozo?
It's, going. What's up?
I figured it was finally time for me to tell you about what's really going on and why Lord Business is doing everything he's doing. You see, creativity is a wonderful thing, and it's a skill that all master builders are required to develop. But the purest kind of creativity is the kind used to make people happy. The darkest kind is the one that Lord Business has fallen prey to. Creativity to satisfy greed. All he cares about is money, and everything that people create he seeks to own, and he's willing to destroy anyone who gets in the way of his bottom line.
After hearing this story, I went out into the forest and gathered more sticks and wooden blocks. I made a little fenced-up area in the backyard of my base and herded some cows into it, as well as making a small wheat farm alongside it. If I'm gonna become a master builder, I need to be able to build everything. On days 13 to 15, I approached Ren, who was practicing in an archery range I had built for him on the other side of the base. Hey Ren, I was wondering, do you know other ways I can improve my building abilities?
Well, I suppose there is this handy tool I usually use. It's called a builder's wand, and it lets you build much faster by extending connected block faces.
What? You didn't think to mention this before in the cave?
Well, I have been known to be a bit forgetful here and there. Here, have one.
Ren tossed out the wand for me. Thanks. Well, hopefully you can remember anything about master builders since, you are one of them. Osiris said something about there being 4 master builders out there, and I've only found you.
Perhaps your best bet is searching the snowy tundra. I've heard tales of mysterious buildings popping up there. It could be the work of a master builder.
Then I guess the snowy tundra is exactly where I'm heading.
Word of advice, Zozo. Build yourself a bow first. You never know when it'll come in handy for you.
Before setting off for the snowy tundra, I tested out the builder's wand, and sure enough, it makes building walls much easier. This tool is really useful. I also followed Ren's advice and made myself a bow, just in case. All I needed were some feathers, and luckily there were a few chickens around, so I could craft the arrows as well. Better to have a bow and not need it, right? I made my way across the map to the snowy tundra. Part of me hoped I'd find the next master builder waiting for me, but it turned out that the snowy tundra was huge. It'd take me forever to find someone here. But it didn't take long for a mutant snow golem to find me and start attacking. You must work for Lord Business. Geez, is there anyone outside the village who doesn't work for that guy? I tried my best to use Master Ren's technique, building walls in front of the attacking snow golem, but he was still too fast for me, even with the builder's wand. In the end, I kept my distance and finished him off with the bow. I don't know if I'm ever going to be good enough to be a master builder at this rate. But the mutant snow golem did drop something. A builder's potion, which helps the speed of my mining and building. Just what the doctor ordered. I returned to my base and took the potion, practicing by digging a huge hole near my base and collecting a bunch of stone blocks. It was a good exercise because soon enough, I leveled up and gained 2 more hearts. 9 hearts? This is rad! On days 16 to 19, I continued exploring, hoping I might find another master builder hiding inside some ancient ruins. This place is so old and spooky, it seems just like the kind of place an old master would hang out. But I was half right. I didn't find a master builder here, but I did find an ancient sign that might lead me to one. It read, "He who seeks to reach the peak of skill must climb to the peak itself. A master dwells where the air is thin." Thin air. Peaks? That sounds like a mountain. I know where I need to go now. But I couldn't celebrate too quickly. A group of Barakoa ancient people sent by Lord Business had cornered me. I needed to think fast. What would a master builder do? That's when I had an idea. Using all the stone I'd mined in the days before, I quickly ran around the group of Barakoa, building a wall around them that boxed them all in. It was quite tricky because they were surprisingly fast for their short stature. Eventually, I did succeed in boxing them in though. Before any of them had a chance to escape, I fled the ancient ruins, safe to fight another day. Master Ren is gonna be so proud of me. On days 20 through 22, I was making my way through the forest, gathering up materials to prepare for my journey into the mountains. These mountains are treacherous. I should really upgrade my gear before I go. While I was in the forest, some spiders attacked me. I was low on stone at the time, so I decided to defeat them with my stone sword instead of doing it the Master Builder way. Variety is the spice of life. Once the spiders were dealt with, I mined until I stumbled into a small cave system. I found some iron deposits. It took a while to mine all of it, but in no time I had enough to smelt and craft into a set of iron armor and tools. It made me feel so cool and powerful. Maybe it's time for me to pay my old enemy a visit. With my new tools and my new power, I went back to the cave where I'd almost been defeated by the Soul Eater. But this time, it was going to happen the other way around. Come get me, Soul Eater. I'll give you something to chew on. I decided to go for a mix of standard and master builder tactics. As the Soul Eater flew towards me, I used my skill to quickly build a wall around the Soul Eater, trapping him in place. But there was no time to waste. I pulled out my new iron sword and one-shotted the Soul Eater right in the head. How do you like me now, you cave-dwelling meanie?
Having fun, Zozo?
I turned and saw Lord Business standing at the cave entrance and staring at me. Lord Business, what are you doing here?
Watching your pathetic attempt to become a master builder. You really think you can make a difference? You're not special, Zozo. And believe me, when my factories are complete, we'll never need people like you to make anything ever again.
And with that, he disappeared. Factories? That doesn't sound good. On days 23 to 26, I returned to my base, eager to tell Master Ren that I'd used my new skills to take down the Soul Eater.
This is an amazing development, Zozo. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Master Ren. I couldn't have done it without your help.
I have a reward for you. A special schematic for a new tool I've built. I think you'll find it quite useful.
Master Ren gave me a book full of instructions, and I went into the crafting room to begin building. By the time I was done, I had a multi-tool. One tool that can be a pickaxe, a shovel, an axe, a sword, and a hoe, all in one. This is a perfect tool for a master builder. I then used my new iron multi-tool to clear the mess we did outside the base. I also used it to gather some more food. I then took some time to build a wall around my base. Now nobody with bad intentions could get in. On days 27 to 31, I decided to finally follow the instructions I saw in the ancient ruins. As I arrived at the ruins, I saw the Barracoa were gone, so I made my way up into the mountains. It was dark, cold, and difficult to climb, but it was worth it if it'd make me be a better builder. I couldn't see any mobs, thankfully, but I was so high up that if I fell, I probably would have been done for anyway. Then, without warning, an Iceman landed on the ground next to me.
Who goes there?
What? Where did you come from?
That doesn't matter. Why are you invading my domain, stranger?
I'm Zozo, and I swear I didn't mean to intrude. I just came here to look for a master builder.
Then you found him. I'm Master Frost, the master builder of the mountains.
That's when I saw how Master Frost had gotten the jump on me. He'd immediately built a staircase behind me and used it to attack me from above. He really was a master builder. Want to come back to my base, Master Frost? I'd love to learn from you. I can even make you your own room.
Sure, why not? It's been a while since I've taught a young whippersnapper in the tricks.
While we made our way back to my base, we came across a rainbow tree. Frost built some stairs so I could reach the top, and I mined some unique material with my multi-tool, super colorful rainbow grass blocks. I returned to my base afterwards and built a new room for Master Frost, even giving him a window made from rainbow glass blocks. It was almost done when Bruce approached me in a panic.
Zozo! Lord Business has sent some minions to attack the village. We need your help immediately.
On days 32 to 35, I rushed into the village with Bruce, ready to defend it from whatever attack Lord Business had unleashed on us. But I wasn't expecting to see a gang of ender creepers crawling all over the village. The whole village was completely overrun by creepers. They were chasing innocent villagers all around the village. Oh no! Looks like Lord Business really took his evil up a notch. Knowing it was dangerous to take on the ender creepers up close, Bruce and I pulled out our bows and started shooting the ender creepers, trying to take them out before they exploded. We had to be extra careful, but with the help of Bruce, we managed to get a lot of them. A few unfortunately slipped through the net, with awful consequences. Bruce suddenly looked towards Osiris's secret base.
Zozo, look! They're cornering Osiris!
Bruce was right. Osiris was being cornered by an ender creeper, slowly creeping towards him. We heard him beg for mercy.
No, please don't do this.
Before we could get close enough to save the Resistance beloved leader, we heard it, a Lego boom! The ender creeper exploded, setting off a chain reaction that blew up a bunch of the other houses. The whole village was in ruins. We rushed to check out Osiris's secret base, but all we saw was smoke rolling out. He was gone. Osiris, no! There was so much left unsaid between us.
Come on, Zozo. We can mourn later. We need to stop these heavy creepers before they can do any more damage.
It didn't take us long to defeat the rest of the ender creepers, but with Osiris gone, our morale had taken a serious hit. On days 36 to 39, I decided I needed to search further if I wanted to find the third and fourth master builder. That's why I traveled all the way to the Ice Spikes, a scary and desolate land even further away than the snowy tundra. Master builder! Is there a master builder anywhere? I soon came across a Viking villager named Olaf. He was camping in one of the ice spikes, eating a Lego apple. He looked exhausted. You okay there, buddy?
Oh yes, just taking a breather.
You wouldn't happen to be a master builder, would you?
No, afraid not. I'm just a Viking. But I can tell you where to find a master builder if you help me deal with a little problem I'm having.
That sounds awesome. What do you need?
There's a bad snowman around here I've been trying to destroy, but I'm having an off day. If you can take care of him for me, I'll give you the information you need.
Deal! I wandered around the ice spikes until I found the bad snowman that Olaf had warned me about. Thankfully, I still had plenty of energy, so I pulled out my multi-tool sword and took him by surprise. Don't mess with this, Lego man. That's no joke. He even left a few carrots and snowballs in his chest. Maybe the Viking will want to play a snowball fight with me. I returned to the Viking and told him the good news. The bad snowman had been defeated.
Finally! I thought I'd never get to leave this stinking place.
Yeah, the snowman even left a few snowballs behind. Wanna play a snowball fight?
No thanks. I'm too old and tired for such games.
Oh, okay. So how about the Master Builder? Where can I find the next one?
I heard there's one of them hiding out in the swamp, but he likes his privacy. No offense, but you should probably get better before you go see him. If you're not experienced enough, he'll think you're just wasting his time.
On days 40 through 43, I returned to the base. Walking through the rubble the creepers left behind reminded me of the loss of our great Osiris leader. This is no time for sadness. I'm ready to practice and improve my building skills, so one day I can have my vengeance. I added some new furniture to the base, along with some bookcases that helped me study the craft of master building. Master Ren approached me midway through my renovations with a new request.
Zozo, my student, Lord Business's latest creeper attack on the village has destroyed many homes and left many Lego villagers homeless. You should do them a kindness and make room in your base for them to live in the meantime.
Master Ren made a good point. I invited in the homeless Lego villagers and started building another level to my base, complete with beds for them all to sleep in. Just as I finished, Master Frost came to me with an urgent message.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Zozo, but I've received some vital information. Some of my allies have followed up on the lead for one of Lord Business's factories. I need you to investigate and find out what's going on. It's also the perfect time for you to test out my attack from above technique.
Of course, Master Frost, I won't let you down. On days 44 to 49, I followed Master Frost's instructions until I reached the factory. It was a spooky-looking building, so harsh and out of place in this fun Lego world. I need to stop this madness as soon as possible before it ruins the whole world. I crept inside, trying to stay hidden. But while I may have gotten really good at building, I was kind of terrible at creeping because Lord Business noticed me immediately.
This is private property, Zozo. Did none of your masters ever teach you not to trespass? It's rude.
It's also rude to be an evil overlord. What's your endgame, Lord Business? What's the big plan here?
Well, since you'll never leave this place alive, I guess I can tell you. You see this factory? I'm going to cover the whole world in thousands like it and fill it with builders like you. You'll all either work for me or be destroyed, endlessly building products that I can sell for a massive profit. All for me!
You'll never get away with this! I won't let you!
You don't have a choice. Remember the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. Speaking of which, meet a friend of mine, the Gold Warrior.
A gold warrior stepped out from the darkness, ready to fight.
Get rid of him. I'm a little too busy to stick around and watch.
Lord Business disappeared again, and the gold warrior charged at me. On days 50 through 53, I tried to use my skills to fend off the Gold Warrior. He was the strongest enemy I'd ever faced, and he wasn't giving up easy. No matter how fast I tried to run away from him, he caught up to me. Can't we just talk this out, Mr. Gold Warrior? He didn't seem to think so. Instead, he kept trying to jab me with his lethal spiky club. I kept building walls between us, but every time, he'd effortlessly get around them. I was in real trouble. I tried taking him down with a bow, but he used his shield to stop the arrows. I got one shot in, but that was about it. This is not effective. I need to change tactics. I pulled out my multi-tool and activated the sword. I couldn't stop him with my master builder techniques or my bow, so I was going to have to fight him directly instead. It was a tough battle, and I lost quite a few hearts along the way. I even got down to half a heart. Luckily, I was able to build my way to safety and eat to regain my health. Phew, this is getting intense. But alright, here goes round 2. After a lot of fighting, I was finally able to defeat him. When he went down, he dropped his gold shield and a golden key. Oh, I wonder what this unlocks. I better keep it in my inventory. You never know when you need a key. On days 54 to 57, I left Lord Business's spooky factory and made my way outside onto the plains. But something was already out there waiting for me. A powerful earth elemental, ready to battle. The earth elemental started walking towards me, but out here in the open, I could use my master building skills. I quickly started using the Master Frost technique, building stairs so I could run up them and attack from above. It's over. I have the high ground. I leaped down onto the earth elemental and destroyed him in one direct strike to the head. He dropped a powerful Protection 3 enchantment book too. This will make me a lot more resistant to damage when I apply it to my armor. But I should probably wait until I get better armor and apply it then. With my mission complete, I returned to my base to tell Master Frost. I found him sitting on a bench by the lake as he made ice around him freeze up. I told him about Lord Business's evil plan and about my mastery of his technique.
Excellent work, Zozo! Despite the frightening news, Go see Bruce in a few days. He'll have something valuable for you to do then.
Will do. Just make sure that all the fish don't freeze. On days 58 to 62, I decided that my base needed a little tender love and care, so I decided to expand the farm to also include chickens. Anyone else want a fried egg? But my base was only one half of my defenses. I needed to get myself better armor and tools too. That's why I used my multi-tool to dig into a mine behind my base, going deeper and deeper until I finally found some diamonds. Even though they look like Lego pieces, diamonds are still a master builder's best friend. I took the diamonds back into my crafting room and built myself a full set of diamond gear, weapons, tools, and armor. Then I crafted myself an anvil and applied the Protection 3 book to my diamond chestplate. Now I finally have some proper protection. Wait, what is this? I don't have a full armor bar. I guess Lego diamonds aren't quite as tough as real diamonds. After all that hard work, I built and added a new floor with a lounge and a small terrace to my base, so I could finally put my feet up and relax. I just knew it wouldn't last for long. On days 63 to 66, I approached Bruce the Lego villager and asked him what he had for me.
I've been closely observing your progress, Zozo, and I believe you finally have what it takes to meet the next master builder. I've marked out the swamp where he lives on your map. Seek him out and learn his teachings.
Thank you, Bruce. Wish me luck. Over the next couple days, I made the long journey to the swamp. It was a dark and humid place with a strong, musty smell. I really didn't want to spend too long here. Even less so when I saw a huge polypham running towards me, ready to fight.
Get out of my swamp, intruder!
The polypham was twice the size of me. I'd never stand a chance against him in a fight. I tried to run away, but he was way ahead of me. The polypham mined into the ground and rapidly tunneled below me before popping back up out of the ground right in front of me. Please, I don't want any trouble. I'm just looking for the master builder. The polypham immediately stopped.
Oh, why didn't you say so? Nice to meet you. I'm Master Tony, the master builder of the swamp.
Master Tony, I'm so pleased to see you. I was told you didn't like visitors.
Normally I don't, but today I need a hand. I've got a monstrous swamp leech infestation. If you help me with that, I'll teach you a thing or two.
On days 67 to 70, I followed Master Tony deeper into the swamp to help him take on his monstrous swamp leech problem.
Being a master builder, I'm pretty strong, but leeches have always squicked me out, so I appreciate your help on this.
It didn't take us long to find the leech infestation. I didn't want to get too close either. They looked pretty freaky, so I pulled out my bow and picked them all off at a distance, one arrow at a time. Leeches, be gone! Whoa, I should have been a pest controller.
Great job, Zozo. I'm glad I don't need to look at those nasty things anymore.
Happy to help. Now, how about that technique? Master Tony was a man of his word. He showed me how he'd mastered the combat tunneling technique, how you could use your pickaxe to dig into the ground to escape, or create pits for enemies to fall into. This is awesome! I only need to learn from one more master, and I'll be a master builder myself. On days 71 through 74, while searching the plains, I found an entrance leading to some kind of bunker. What could have been inside? And if you like crazy mysteries and wild adventures, you should search for more Zozo videos by typing ZOZO into your search bar. I prepared my diamond sword and climbed down through the door. It looked like some kind of secret bunker underneath, filled with bookshelves and books all marked factory plans. Wait, this place must be owned by Lord Business!
Clever observation, Zozo!
Lord Business suddenly came out of the secret bookshelf entrance and swung at me with his netherite sword. I barely dodged in time.
I made a mistake, sending my minions to destroy you before. I should just get it over with and destroy you myself.
I tried to fight back, swinging my sword at him, but every time he blocked my strike and fought back, knocking off a few of my hearts.
You're no master builder, Zozo. You're weak and pathetic.
As Lord Business tried to finish me off, all I could do was escape. In a frantic panic, I built a wall between him and myself and made my way out of the bunker while he broke through it. I wasn't strong enough to beat him. All I could do was run, but at least I escaped. This time anyway. On days 75 through 78, I continued making improvements on my base. It was one of the tallest and most impressive bases I've ever made, so I decided to build downwards too. That's why I made a cozy basement to hold extra supplies. I even installed a few beds, just in case. Just as I was finishing up, Master Frost approached me with a gift.
Zozo, I just wanted to tell you, I'm so proud of all the work you're doing. Nobody is fighting back against Lord Business as hard as you. I wanted to give you a gift, as a token of my thanks. It's a potion of strength I brewed for you.
Wow, thanks, Master Frost. I can't wait to try it. I drank the potion and felt myself getting bigger and stronger by the second. By the time the transformation was done, I was a full-grown Lego man with 12 hearts. Let's see Lord Business try to take me on now. On days 79 through 84, I decided to travel for a bit to flex my new strength and Master Builder abilities by taking on some bad guys in the forest. Lucky for me, a gang of bad guys weren't hard to find, as when things got dark, the woods soon became filled with angry skeletons. You guys have got to go down, no bones about it. They didn't appreciate my bad pun. Instead, they attacked me. I decided to put all my Master Builder skills to use in stopping them. First, I used Master Frost's technique. I quickly made a stairway and climbed to the top to get away from them. Can't get me up here. Then, I used Master Tony's special technique. I leaped down onto the ground from above and started digging until I formed a big, square hole in the ground. It didn't take long for the skeletons to follow me and fall in as I climbed back out. Then I capped it off with Master Ren's technique and built a roof over the pit where all the skeletons were trapped, sealing them away forever. Wow, I'm almost a Master Builder. It's true, and I like your style, Zozo. I turned and saw that an Egyptian jackal had been standing there and watching me the whole time. He seemed impressed. I'm Master Joey, the final Master Builder. I hear you've been looking for me. You heard correctly, Master Joey. Can you teach me your special technique so I can finally become a true Master Builder? I won't give you a technique, Zozo, but I will give you a tool. The hammer. When you need it to destroy blocks in a hurry, you just can't beat it. Congratulations. You're a Master Builder now! On days 85 through 89, I came back to my base with new tools and new knowledge, only to find that we were under attack from a horde of spider creepers. They were crawling all across the village and exploding, destroying chunks of the buildings. I was terrified they would go for my base and the people inside. I can't let you do this! One of the spiders came crawling towards me. Fortunately, Bruce came out of one of the buildings with his bow, helping me fight back.
Don't worry, Zozo. You won't need to fight alone. I've got your back.
So we fought together, taking on and taking out most of the spider creepers until the rest ran out into the savannah. I've got to go get them. I can't let them get away this time. But as I tried to chase the fleeing group, I saw a baby Lego villager being chased by a spider creeper. I needed to save him. Don't worry, baby. I'll save you. I pulled out my diamond sword, charged in, and defeated the spider creeper.
Thank you, Zozo. You saved my life.
On days 90 to 94, after saving the Lego villager baby, I ran into the forest to chase the fleeing gang of spider creepers. You creeps are gonna pay for what you did to the village. I chased them until I saw that they were trying to hide in a nearby cave, but it was too late. I already saw them. I ran in, ready to fight with my diamond sword, until I noticed that I'd been lured into a trap. There was an ender creeper waiting for me, and he was wearing a name tag. It read, Vice President to Lord Business. Uh-oh, I guess you're not gonna be easy to fight then, are you? The ender creeper, VP, didn't even reply. He just came running at me, and I began to panic. Better use my Master Builder skills. I couldn't make a staircase in the cave, but I could still use Master Ren's technique and make a wall. I quickly built one up between us, but VP teleported right through it and hit me, knocking off a few hearts. Looks like this is gonna be my hardest battle yet. On days 95 through 97, the battle raged on. VP truly was the toughest enemy I'd ever fought, and often when I tried to hit him, he teleported out of the way. Why won't you stay still and fight fair, VP? You're the VP of being a lousy cheater. Being an ender creeper, he also had the ability to teleport lit TNT right on top of my head. Oh man, I've got to be careful and dodge his falling TNT. That's when I figured out the perfect method of stopping him. I used Master Tony's technique and created a hole, tricking the ender creeper into falling into it. After that, all it took was one strike from above to destroy the ender creeper.
He even dropped a banana waba brick, one of the strongest unbreakable pickaxes in the world. So of course, I grabbed it. In that moment, I had a vision, revealing the truth about Lord Business. Once, he also wanted to be a master builder, and he sought out the secrets to learn the knowledge and the techniques. But in the end, it was never meant to be. He was too greedy and impatient to truly learn. So instead, he decided he'd make others do the work for him and just take all the money. If Lord Business never even fully gained his master builder skills, maybe I really will be able to finally defeat him. On day 98, I prepared for the final battle, mining to gather extra blocks that I could use in the fight. Before I could leave, each of my friends came to offer words of encouragement. First, Bruce, the Lego villager.
You're one of the strongest fighters the Resistance has ever had, Zozo. I just want you to know, no matter how this ends, it's been an honor serving with you.
Then came Master Ren.
You have learned the ways of the Master Builder, Zozo. Remember them and use them wisely. And even Lord Business won't be able to defeat you.
And finally, Master Frost.
Be creative, Zozo. That's the most important thing, and it's something you're brilliant at. Lord Business will never be able to take that away from you.
Hearing all of this made me finally feel ready to take on the evil mastermind behind it all. On day 99, I made my way to Lord Business's business base, where I was sure to find him. On the way there, I saw a Lego kid playing in the savannah.
I believe in you, Zozo! You're my hero!
Thanks, kid. I'm gonna try my best. But when I arrived outside the business base, I noticed that it was heavily guarded by a gang of soul vultures. Oh no, how can I fight all of these, then take on Lord Business? I'll be outmatched. That's when Master Tony the Polypham suddenly appeared.
Don't you worry, buddy. I'll take care of the soul vultures. You get in there and take that businessman down.
Thank you, Master Tony. I couldn't do this without you. Master Tony ran in and started fighting the soul vultures. And while he was distracted, I ran right past him and used the key, dropped by the gold warrior, to enter the business base. I knew that key would come in handy. On day 100, with my tools gathered and my master builder status secured, I entered the inner sanctum of Lord Business's business base. The place was huge, with tall walls and a massive fountain in the middle. I proceeded forward through a treasure room filled with gold piles. He was waiting for me on the other side of the room, sitting in his giant golden throne, laughing evilly.
So you're finally here, Zozo, but I'm afraid you're already too late.
It's never too late.
Ha! That's what you think. My forces are ready to roll out, and they follow only my command. This whole world will be turned into one giant corporation, and I will be the CEO. Only a master builder could stop me now.
That's the thing, Lord Business. I am a master builder. I pulled out my hammer and prepared to battle the evil businessman for the sake of the world. He jumped off his chair, wielding a netherite sword, and tried to attack me. I quickly built a wall between us, and anytime he knocked a wall down, I built another.
Aren't you even going to fight back, Zozo? This is pathetic.
I am fighting. I'm fighting like a master builder. I blocked myself into the treasure room while Lord Business was breaking down my wall. I quickly started building a staircase. As he broke through, I leapt down onto him and hit him.
Ow! No fair!
You'd know these techniques if you ever bothered to learn them, Lord Business.
And you'd know this technique if you had money! Ender creepers, attack!
Lord Business pulled a dirty trick. Doors around the room opened and heavy creepers started piling in. He was going to blow me sky high.
Face it, Zozo, you're outnumbered and outgunned. I've won!
Not yet, you haven't. It was time to put all my training to good use for one last move. While the heavy creepers chased me, I mined a huge hole into the ground with my hammer. I pushed Lord Business into the hole. I looked at the creepers and they followed me as I jumped into the hole.
Zozo, what are you doing?
Finishing this! As Lord Business and the heavy creepers scrambled around, trying to grab me, I placed down the ladders and climbed out of the hole.
Zozo, you fool! Let me out of this pit! The heavy creepers will explode! It'll destroy us both!
Not quite, Lord Business. Boom! They all exploded, destroying Lord Business with them as I ran from the room. It was finally over. I'd become a master builder and saved the whole world. On day 1, I spawned in as an awesome Warden Ninja, right in the middle of my Warden Ninja hideout. But there were no other Warden Ninjas around. In fact, the whole place was full of dread ghouls. While several of them were standing at attention, one of them was standing back and giving orders.
Destroy everything, my dark warriors! We are under orders to eliminate every last warden ninja we can find!
I didn't understand why this was happening, but I wasn't going to take it lying down. Who's giving you these orders, you cowardly dread ghoul? That's when I heard booming footsteps behind me. I turned and saw a huge dark figure approaching me. I was only a tiny warden ninja, and I didn't have any weapons yet, so he terrified me.
I gave the orders. I am Shogun Skull, the ruler of this land, and all who defy me will be destroyed, including you.
Shogun Skull pulled out a huge katana. He looked like he meant business. I needed to activate my special power, Ultimate Stealth. I practically turned invisible, immediately causing Shogun Skull and his dread ghouls to lose my trace.
Where did he go? He's using his ninja abilities to run away like a coward. No matter, we'll find and destroy him another day.
As much as I was ashamed to admit it, all I could do was run. I got out of there and ran out into the alien fields, looking for some food to satisfy my hunger. I managed to find some baked potatoes, but they were being guarded by a band of 3 brigands. Excuse me, brigands, would you be able to give me one of your baked potatoes? I'm really hungry.
Would love to, man, love to. But here's the thing, they're all mine, and I want them all. So that's gonna be a no.
The brigands attacked me, even though I was unarmed, and I needed to fight back. Luckily, my unarmed attacks actually did a lot of damage, and soon I defeated all 3 of them. That must be my ninja martial arts training kicking in. There's hope for me yet. On day 2, after eating some of those baked potatoes and storing the rest, I left the alien fields for the Ebony Woods, looking for the right place to build a base. The Ebony Woods are dark and mysterious, perfect for a secretive warden ninja. I used my martial arts powers to start punching down a tree and gathered up the resources to make myself a crafting bench and used it to create a wooden pickaxe. Then I mined into the ground for some stone to make my first set of stone tools and a basic stone katana of my own. Now we're cooking with gas. I used my new tools to clear a tree and start building a new secretive ninja base. I did some mining underground because I wanted the base to be a secret, so most of it would need to be under the surface. It's a good start. I'll do more later, but first, I need to figure out what's going on around here and why Shogun Skull is putting a hit on warden ninja heads. I went exploring around the Ebony Forest, looking for clues, until I found another gang of dread ghouls that Shogun Skull had sent after me. Big mistake, guys. This time, I'm armed. I pulled out my stone katana and made short work of the dread ghoul gang, leaving only one remaining. Tell me everything I need to know about Shogun Skull.
You fool! Even me talking about him seals my doom. You should know, you are a key part of his...
Boom! The last dread ghoul exploded! It must have been Shogun Skull's doing. He really was powerful. But what was he trying to say? I'm a key part of what? Better keep watching if you want to find out with me. On day 3, I continued searching around the Ebony Forest. I needed some kind of lead, some kind of vital clue, before I could progress any further. That's when I happened upon a small hut in the middle of the woods, where a strange man was just sitting around. Hi, I'm Zozo. Who are you?
I'm a nomad.
Oh yeah? What does that mean?
It means I used to wander around a lot, but since I got old and settled down, I don't do much traveling these days. What brings you to the Ebony Woods, Zozo?
He gave me some mushroom stew, and I sat down to talk to him. Well, I'm a warden ninja, and I used to live in a big warden ninja hideout with others like me. But then Shogun Skull attacked, and now I think I might be the only one left.
That doesn't surprise me. You know, things were once more peaceful across the land. There were dangerous creatures around, and sometimes a fight would happen, sure. But overall, we lived in harmony. Until one day, all of the leaders across the land suddenly disappeared, and the Shogun Skull rose up, taking on everything and everyone. He's the uncontested ruler now.
But we can't just let that happen. What should we do, Nomad?
It won't be easy, but your quest is simple, Zozo. You're going to destroy Shogun Skull.
From day 4 to day 5, I still had more questions about how the world got this way. I just didn't understand how one person could take over the whole world.
Well, Zozo, you must understand that the Shogun didn't just win by sheer brute strength. In his shogun's palace to the east, he made some valuable alliances with different groups. First, he made an alliance with the Dread Ghoul army, promising all the land and food they could want if they helped him rise to power. Then, he made a deal with the bandit warlord, the leader of the brigands. They could loot and pillage as they pleased, as long as they helped him crush his enemies. Dread ghouls and brigands started attacking any village or settlement they could find, crushing the opposition to Shogun Skull's rule. But the leaders? Nobody really knows how Shogun Skull got rid of them. He hired some other mysterious group to do his dirty work for him, but who they are has always remained a secret. In other words, to defeat Shogun Skull, there are a lot of other enemies you'll need to fight your way through first.
From day 6 to day 8, I thanked the Nomad for all the information he gave me and decided to set off and return to my base. It was getting dark, and I knew that all the mobs would be coming out soon. But on the way back to my base, I saw an innocent pink pixie cornered by a vicious feral squall golem. I needed to intervene. It's ninja time! Pulling out my stone katana, I ran in and fought the squall golem. He was much bigger and tougher than your average dread ghoul, but in the end, my stone blade and ninja training won out. The squall golem was defeated, and the pink pixie was grateful for me for saving her life.
That was so heroic. Thank you. I majorly owe you for this one.
It's no biggie. I'm Zozo, the Warden Ninja. Who are you?
I'm Polly, the pink pixie. And is there any way I can help you with your quest?
How about you come stay at my base for a while, and we figure something out together?
That sounds like a good idea.
So Polly and I returned to my base. I continued mining underground and created a cool room for her to stay in.
I'm pretty pleased with this.
Good. Now, I'm on a quest to defeat Shogun Skull. Do you have any idea what might be a good place to start?
Well, Shogun Skull is one of the greatest warriors in the world. You're gonna need to train really hard if you want to get good enough to fight him directly. Maybe you should seek out some kind of ninja master to train you.
That's an amazing idea, Polly! And so I had my next step, seeking out a ninja master to train me. And if you want to find out what happens next, keep watching until the end. Some big surprises are coming. From day 9 to day 10, I went to an underground cavern with my stone pickaxe to mine some iron for my next set of weapons, armor, and tools. I managed to gather up some iron ore when a huge hydra suddenly appeared in the cavern with me. There was no way I'd be able to fight such a powerful monster directly, so I activated my ultimate stealth and sneaked away to the exit. Sometimes the best way to fight is to not fight at all. From day 11 to day 12, I took the iron back to my base. I created a furnace and smelted it into iron ingots, which I then used to make iron armor, some iron tools, and an iron katana. And with all my fancy new gear and weapons, me and Polly the Pink Pixie decided to journey out to a nearby bayou to look for more clues. After some exploring, we stopped for a minute to talk. So Polly, what do you know about Shogun Skull? I'm trying to collect all the information I can. I think it might help me in my quest.
Well, in addition to his Dread Ghoul and Brigand armies, I know he has an elite group, 3 warriors, spread out across the land, who help enforce his will.
3 elite warriors? Sounds like I better take care of them before I take on Shogun Skull himself. Who are these 3 warriors?
There's the Gold Creeper, a walking weapon of mass destruction that people always fear is gonna blow up. Then there's the Fire Elemental, a powerful being with mastery over flame. And finally, there's the Crimson Wizard, a crafty and intelligent sorcerer who has mastered the mystic.
Wow, sounds like I've got my work cut out for me then. Before I could ask any more questions, a bunch of monster mushrooms attacked us. Even with my iron katana, it wasn't easy to take them down. These mushrooms meant business. But when I did take them down, I transformed into a bigger, stronger Warden Ninja with 20 hearts. Whoa, this is awesome! Better stick around to see what I transform into next.
That's rad, Zozo. But hey, maybe next time we should go somewhere a little drier. This bayou is just gross.
From day 13 to day 15, Polly and I returned to my base. I decided to spruce it up a little, adding some plants and other decorative improvements, and actually decided to make myself a proper room. Just because it's a secret underground base doesn't mean it has to be drab and dreary. That's when I remembered what Polly had said to me.
Maybe next time we should go somewhere a little drier. This bayou is just gross.
And it hit me. What could be drier than the Mojave Desert? Maybe I'd have some luck finding someone there. After taking some time to rest, I went out to the Mojave Desert. It was just as dry and hot as I expected, but there didn't seem to be much going on. That's when I was attacked by the Desert Lord, the ruler of the desert. Because he was on his own home turf, he was even faster and stronger than a ninja, and it was too late for me to use ultimate stealth. I broke away from the fight and stood back, but the Desert Lord still seemed ready to battle.
You are a trespasser on this land. This is my desert, and I'll never let you or the diabolical Shogun Skull you serve claim it.
Wait, there's been a misunderstanding. I don't work for Shogun Skull. I want to defeat him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just assumed you was working for the Dread Shogun.
But why?
Didn't all the Warden ninjas used to work for him?
My mind was blown. It all made sense now. The mysterious third group who worked with the Shogun Skull, it must have been the Warden ninjas. But why was he trying to destroy them now? Desert Lord, you've given me a lot to think over. Would you like to come back to my base and we can work together to defeat Shogun Skull?
Well, I hate to leave my desert, my true home. For now, it seems working together is the most sensible choice. Let's go, Warden Ninja.
The name's Zozo. Follow me. From day 16 to day 19, I returned to my base with the Desert Lord. I mined a new underground room for him, complete with a bed and even a few sandblocks, just to help him feel at home.
It's not exactly the desert, but thank you, Zozo. This'll do.
Seeing as how exploring had helped me discover plenty of interesting new things so far, I decided to continue visiting new locations, so I left my base once more. I went out to the prairie next to see what I could find. That's where I ran into a camel. Hey, Mr. Camel, I'm Zozo. Is there anything I can help you with?
The name's Joe. And as a matter of fact, there is. For the longest time, I've wanted to build a nice beach house on the Rainbow Beach, but it's infested by wraiths now. If you could help me clean out those wraiths so I can build my beach house, I'll give you a weapon I've been holding on to for a while. Something you might find useful.
That sounds like a good deal to me, Joe. From day 20 to day 22, I journeyed out to the Rainbow Beach to complete my mission for Joe the Camel. It was a really beautiful place. I could see why he wanted a beach house out here. When I ran into the group of wraiths he told me about, I drew my katana and charged in, slicing and dicing in a way that would make any Warden ninja proud. Soon, they were all defeated. I'm getting the hang of this whole ninja thing. Then, I saw something quickly moving towards me and noticed it was the Gold Creeper, one of the elite Shogun Skull warriors that Polly had told me about. Oh no, I gotta bounce! I didn't have any long-range weapons, so all I could do was run for my life as the Gold Creeper chased me. If it exploded while I was too close, I was doomed. But I kept chasing, getting closer and closer and closer. It started to get too close for comfort, so I jumped forward into some nearby water, hoping it would at least provide some protection. Boom! The Gold Creeper exploded! It was the biggest explosion I'd ever seen, taking a huge chunk out of the beach around me. But I'd survived! I'd completed Joe the Camel's quest, and I'd defeated one of Shogun Skull's 3 elite warriors. I'd call this a successful day. From day 23 to day 26, I returned to the prairie and met with Joe the Camel again. He was pleased to find out I'd gotten rid of the wraiths, and less pleased to find out the Golden Creeper had blown a big hole into the Rainbow Beach.
Still, a deal's a deal, kid, and you held up your end. You can take this set of throwing axes I have. Since you're a ninja, you'll probably benefit from some thrown weapons, perfect for those stealthy kinds of attacks.
Wow, these will be so useful! Thanks, Joe!
Don't mention it. If you need me, I'll be off constructing my beach house.
With that quest taken care of, I decided to continue exploring the world. I reached the scenic Red Oak Forest, where I ran into a gang of mossy skeletons working for Shogun Skull.
You're in some real trouble now. No bones about it.
That was an awful pun. Eat axe. I tried out one of my new throwing axes on the first of the mossy skeletons, defeating him instantly. Then I pulled out my iron katana to deal with the rest. It didn't take long for me to defeat them, all except one, who I needed some information from. Tell me what Shogun Skull is planning.
Ha! You're deluding yourself if you think you can beat him. He just sent out the armored Vindicator. If that thing gets you, you're doomed! Doomed!
With a strike of my katana, I finished him off. That gave me enough XP to level up, getting bigger, jumping up to 30 hearts, and getting access to my Warden Sonic Boom ability. This will be useful for helping me take on that armored Vindicator guy, if I ever even see him. From day 27 to day 31, I started making my way back to my base through the ebony forest. I was feeling pretty good about all my recent victories and the new abilities and weapons I'd gained. I'm actually feeling pretty unstoppable right now. And that's exactly when the armored Vindicator hopped out and attacked me. He was just as big and scary as the mossy skeleton had implied, and he was wielding a menacing axe.
Your journey is at an end, Warden Ninja. If you give up now, I can promise it'll be relatively painless.
I'll never give up. I'm willing to fight you to the bitter end.
Good. I was hoping you'd say that.
The armored Vindicator attacked once more. Every hit he gave me was shockingly damaging. Even with all my upgrades, I couldn't beat him at my current strength. Instead, I turned and ran back towards my base, narrowly managing to outrun and lose the armored Vindicator. That would be a battle for another day. When I reached my base, the Desert Lord and Polly the Pink Pixie seemed impressed with my new size.
Looks like that training is really paying off, Zozo. You're looking swole.
It's true. You're so much bigger and stronger than you used to be.
And since you're here, I've also got something that I think you'd like. My research suggests that if you go to the Rose Fields and seek out the Sergeant, he may be able to give you some information that'll help you with your quest.
Wow, that's amazing news!
Just be careful out there. I've heard that the Sergeant isn't exactly the friendliest guy out there.
With that in mind, I left my base and headed in the direction of the Rose Fields. From day 32 to day 35, following the Desert Lord's instructions, I went out to the Rose Fields. There, I saw the Sergeant sitting down and meditating among the roses. I didn't expect it'd be so easy to find him. I approached the Sergeant and called out to him. "Excuse me, Mr. Sergeant. I've been told you have some interesting information. Could we talk about it?" But the Sergeant didn't seem like he wanted to talk. Instead, he got up, ran towards me, and started fighting me with his fists. I didn't even have time to reason with him. All I could do was fight back against his onslaught of punches. After I survived for long enough, the Sergeant relaxed. He'd had his fun.
Nice skills, kid. Sorry, what can I say? I like a good fight. What information did you want?
I've been told you know a lot about Shogun Skull. I'm trying to defeat him.
Ha, Shogun Skull. I fought against his army back in the day. I was involved in a lot of those battles. What is it you want to know about him?
I want to know what the Warden ninjas had to do with his rise to power, and I want to know why he wants us all destroyed now.
That much is simple. As part of Shogun Skull's takeover plans, he needed to destroy the leaders and guardians of the free people to demoralize them and break their spirits. While his armies fought their armies, he needed an elite group of assassins to take out the high-value targets. That's where the Warden ninjas came in. They are excellent assassins, and with their stealth skills, they could sneak in and get the job done. And they did their job very, very well. But once their job was done and Shogun Skull was in power, he knew that if the Warden ninjas could help him into power, they might also be able to topple his throne. So he sent out his armies of dread ghouls and brigands to destroy every Warden ninja. You, kid, are probably the last one left.
From day 36 to day 39, I returned to my base. Knowing that I was public enemy #1 for Shogun Skull made me realize I could really do with some better armor, so I asked Polly for ideas.
I think the Shogun has a base in the tropical rainforest where you might be able to find some diamonds. Diamond armor and a diamond katana would be a huge help for you.
Excellent idea, Polly. I'll go there now. I didn't waste any time getting to the tropical rainforest and beginning my search for the enemy base. On the way there, I ran into an air elemental that lives in the forest.
"Excuse me, kind sir. I have a quest I need help with. Some nasty dead worms have invaded my beautiful rainforest. If you see them, do me a kindness and perform a little pest control, would you?"
Of course. I'll definitely get rid of those dead worms if I see them. I kept searching until I struck gold. Well, not actual gold. I found the enemy base, guarded by a pair of dread ghouls, and it was time to fight my way inside. From day 40 to day 43, the fight began, first with the dread ghouls. That was an extremely quick battle. I pulled out my throwing axes and threw one at each of them, defeating them instantly. Then I ran into the base, ready for the real fight to begin. And it would definitely be a real fight because the armored Vindicator was in there, waiting for me.
Finally, I can finish what I started and destroy you, Zozo. At least this time, you won't run away like a sad little coward like you did before.
No, this time I really am going to fight you with all I've got.
The armored Vindicator charged at me. I unleashed the sonic boom, stunning him. While he was stunned, I finished him off with my powerful ninja swing. I told you I'd beat you, armored Vindicator. I'm a Warden ninja of my word. With him gone, I searched around the room until I found a chest. Just like Polly the Pink Pixie had told me, there were diamonds inside. Looks like my armor and weapons are about to level up. From day 44 to day 49, I crafted my diamonds into a powerful diamond katana and even had some diamonds left over to make a full set of diamond armor. I'd hate to have to go against me using this bad boy. After that, I left the base with my new diamond katana in hand, looking forward to finding something to use it on. And as luck would have it, I happened upon a small gang of vicious deadworms. Hey, the air elemental told me to get rid of these. Time to kill 2 worms with 1 sword. Okay, a few more than 2. With my diamond katana, I defeated all the deadworms with ease and destroyed the infestation. Not even the Shogun himself could deny I was stronger than ever now. From day 50 to day 53, as I traveled further through the tropical rainforest, I came upon a cave that I sensed an unusual amount of power coming out of. This must have something to do with Shogun's skull. I should go investigate, just in case. But when I was about to enter the cave, a magical genie came floating out of it.
Halt, traveler. You are approaching the cave of the fire elemental. If you wish to enter, then you need to answer my riddle.
I remembered that the fire elemental was the second of the elite warriors working for Shogun's skull. I needed to answer the riddle, get in there, and defeat him. Okay, what's your riddle?
I belong to you, but your friends use me more often. What am I?
It was a challenging one. What do you think? Do you know the answer to the riddle? If you do, let me know down in the comments to help me out. Can you repeat the riddle?
I belong to you, but your friends use me more often. What am I?
That's tough. Wait, I've got it! You're my name. It belongs to me, but my friends use it more often when they talk to me.
Correct. You may pass through.
I entered the cave and saw the fire elemental waiting for me. He sent a few fire blasts my way, which I was luckily able to dodge. I fired a sonic boom at the fire elemental, then ran in with my diamond katana. With a few quick, decisive swipes, the fire elemental was destroyed. 2 of Shogun Skull's 3 warriors were destroyed, and I was ready to level up. I got bigger, stronger, and my hearts grew to 40. I'd also developed ninja speed, making me faster than ever before. I'm on the path to becoming a true ninja. I bet the Shogun is quivering in his boots. From day 54 to day 57, I was using my new ninja speed to zip through the forest. My powers were growing, but I needed some kind of way to hone my skills. Why can't I find the Ninja Master Mentor? I've searched everywhere and I still can't find him. Unless I've already found him and didn't even know. That's when it hit me. It was right under my nose from the very beginning. The nomad in his little hut in the ebony forest. The nomad who'd known a suspicious amount about what was going on in the world. I need to go back to the nomad right now. So I sped right back to the small hut in the forest, only to see the nomad outside again, waiting for me.
I wondered when you'd be back, Zozo. Glad you finally figured it all out. So, are you ready to begin your training?
From day 58 to day 62, the Nomad Master began his training. He said there would be 3 lessons. The first would be cutting down trees to practice my sword swings and to help me focus.
If you can slice through a tree, then no enemy should pose a challenge to you.
Next, he made me practice sword fighting with him. He was a tough opponent, but I could feel myself getting better as the sparring went on. And for the third lesson, he released a giant mummy scorpion and got it to chase me around until I finally built up the courage to defeat it with my diamond katana. Afterwards, I returned to the Nomad Master's hut.
You have done well, Zozo, and proven you are worthy. I'll teach you my special technique, Ultimate Slash. Much stronger than a regular slash. Use it wisely.
Thank you, Master. I will use it with honor. From day 63 to day 66, I returned to my base, only to see it under attack by a gang of dreadghouls straight from the Shogun's palace. Hey, get away from my base! I pulled out my diamond katana and ran in, taking them out with my ninja speed and ultimate slashes. It didn't take long for me to defeat them all, and that's when the Desert Lord ran up to me.
Zozo, we need your help. Some of those dread ghouls kidnapped Polly, the pink pixie. We need to get her back.
Oh no, where did they take her?
Out into the ebony forest. You need to get after them, quickly.
Don't worry, Desert Lord, I'm on it. From day 67 to day 70, I used my ninja speed to run back through the ebony forest looking for the dread ghouls that kidnapped Polly. It didn't take long for me to find them. Don't worry, Polly, I'm coming to save you. Thanks to all my training, these dread ghouls weren't a challenge for me. I slashed through them with my diamond katana until only me and Polly remained.
That was amazing, Zozo. Thank you. You saved my life from all those dread ghouls.
I'm so sorry for ever letting you get kidnapped in the first place, Polly. Let's go back to the base. We returned to the base, and I decided that after all this, I needed to put in an extra line of defense, building a defensive wall around the base's entrance. Better safe than sorry. I can't risk another attack while I'm away like that again. From day 71 to day 74, I wasn't sure where to go next. I knew that I needed to defeat the Crimson Wizard before I could take on Shogun Skull himself, but I wasn't sure where to find him. So instead, I decided to go back to one of the deadliest enemies I'd left behind before. With my new skills and my diamond katana, I returned to the underground cavern where I'd faced the Hydra before. As soon as I entered the cave, I blasted him with a powerful sonic boom, momentarily stunning him, and ran in with my ninja speed, hitting him with ultimate slash again and again, faster than he could even regenerate from it. Thankfully for both of us, the Hydra tapped out and agreed to tell me anything I wanted to know.
You're looking for the Crimson Wizard, right? No worries. I know exactly where he is. You just need to go to the Weeping-Wood Forest. He's guarded by some brigands. Just go after him and leave me alone. Please.
I left the Hydra to his own devices and ran off. I had a Crimson Wizard to defeat. From day 75 to day 78, I followed the advice given to me by the Hydra and traveled all the way to the Weeping Witch Forest. A place like this is a perfect hideout for an evil wizard. Why didn't I think of this sooner? I continued to go further in until I fell down a hill and found myself surrounded by brigands, just like the Hydra told me.
You wandered right into our trap, Zozo. There's no way you're ever gonna escape us here.
I don't want to escape, brigand. You and your bosses are the ones I've come here for. With my ninja speed and my diamond katana, I zipped from brigand to brigand, taking out each one with a single strike. Once they were down, all that was left to do was hunt down the Crimson Wizard. But the last thing I expected was for him to come to me instead. The Crimson Wizard appeared right in front of me and fired an energy blast that took out a number of my hearts. It was clear that he was the strongest of the Shogun Skull's 3 elite warriors.
This is hardly even a challenge. Why don't you show me your good time, Zozo? Have you come this far just to perish?
How's this for a good time? While the Crimson Wizard was distracted by his own gloating, I ran in and struck him with my katana, hitting him so hard and fast, he was immediately destroyed. Probably should have fully defeated me before you started bragging, Crimson Wizard. And this means that I've defeated all 3 of the elite warriors. And that clearly meant something because I leveled up into my strongest form yet, with 60 hearts. It's time to finally defeat Shogun Skull. From day 79 to day 84, I returned to my base to give Polly the pink pixie and the Desert Lord the good news. They looked amazed at my size and abilities.
This is incredible, Zozo.
It's amazing to see how far you've come, Zozo. We're so proud of you.
Thanks, guys. I think I'm ready to defeat Shogun Skull. Do you have any idea where I can find the Shogun's palace?
I can help you there, Zozo. I went there once. It's deep in the Zelkova forest, and I can lead you there.
Thank you, Desert Lord. Let's go! From day 85 to day 89, the Desert Lord and I traveled to the far east, into the Zelkova forest. We stopped for a moment for one last discussion. Desert Lord, it'll be too dangerous from here. I'll go alone.
Are you sure, Zozo? I don't want you to get hurt.
It's okay. I've been training for almost 100 days. I believe I can do this.
Okay, Zozo. I wish you luck.
And with that, the Desert Lord and I went our separate ways. From day 90 to day 94, I traveled deeper into the Zelkova forest, searching for the Shogun's palace. It's gotta be around here somewhere. Where could Shogun Skull be hiding?
Right behind you.
I turned around just in time to see Shogun Skull standing right behind me. Before I could fight back, he hit me and everything went black. When I woke up again, I was in the Badlands, miles away from where I was supposed to be, with Osiris standing right in front of me. You're not who I wanted to fight, but I guess you'll have to do. I still had my diamond katana, thankfully, and used Ultimate Slash on Osiris. He wasn't that hard to defeat, but knowing how far I was behind on my plans to defeat Shogun Skull now, I felt terrible. All I could do was make my way back to my base and figure out a new plan. This is gonna be a long week. From day 95 to day 97, I continued making my way back through the Badlands, frustrated that Shogun Skull and his minions had put me so far behind schedule. And speak of the devil, a gang of dread ghouls emerged from behind some rocks.
It's over, Zozo. We're going to be the ones to take you down.
Better mobs have tried and failed. I don't fancy your chances. I didn't have much time to waste on these guys, so I hit them with a sonic boom, then finished the rest of them off with a diamond katana. Shogun Skull, your end is near. On day 98, I returned to my base, exhausted from all the setbacks that had slowed me down and gotten in my way. I returned to find Polly the Pink Pixie and the Desert Lord waiting outside and looking equally sad for me.
I'm so sorry that all of this happened, Zozo. You've been facing the impossible. Perhaps we put too much pressure on you.
Maybe the Desert Lord is right, Zozo. It took a whole organization of Warden ninjas to deliver Shogun Skull into power. Maybe it was just wishful thinking to believe that one Warden ninja would be enough to overthrow him.
Guys, we can't afford to think like that. We need hope if we were ever going to win this thing. Shogun Skull is throwing everything at us, and that's because he's scared. Because he knows, deep down, that I can defeat him. So let's keep pushing and prove that evil jerk right. That seemed to pep them both back up, and if you want to support our adventures and see more, be sure to hit like and subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another Zozo video.
Zozo, if you believe it's truly time for the final battle, I'll lead you to the Shogun's palace again. Let's bring his reign of terror to an end, once and for all.
That's what I'm talking about. Lead the way, Desert Lord. I'm ready to do this. On day 99, following the Desert Lord through the Zelkova forest, I reached the Shogun's palace where we bid farewell. Of course, Shogun Skull was never gonna let me just waltz in. The gates opened, and first, he sent out a band of brigands to attack me.
We've been promised a real good payday if we can destroy you, Zozo.
That's money you'll never get to spend. I ran in with my diamond katana, supported by my now iron willpower. I'd never let these brigands defeat me. I kept fighting until not a single one of them was left, and only I was standing. Who's next, Shogun Skull? I can take anyone you throw at me. But the next group of mobs didn't come from the palace. They snuck up behind me. It was a gang of silent assassins. They were much tougher than the brigands, but with my expert diamond katana skills, I was able to still defeat them all. By this point, I was getting tired, but I still had the will to fight. Is that all you got, Shogun? The gates opened again, and out stepped a huge warrior. It was the bandit warlord, the leader of the brigands who'd helped the Shogun rise to power all those years ago.
Your army, Zozo! You've destroyed so many of my brigands! Do you have any idea how much effort it will take to replace them all? For that, I've decided I'm going to destroy you myself!
Not if I have anything to say about it! I unleashed my sonic boom, blasting the bandit warlord right in the chest! But he tanked it! He was completely unharmed!
Ha! Pathetic! That barely tickled! Do you really think such a feeble attempt would really defeat me, the mighty bandit chief, second only to the Shogun himself? This is going to be fun!
Worried that this could be the end, I pulled out one of my axes and threw it directly at the bandit warlord. To my surprise, it destroyed him instantly. Oh, I guess he was just bragging. Huh. With his guard force taken care of, all that was left was to enter the palace and battle the Shogun himself. On day 100, I entered the Shogun's palace and found the man himself, Shogun Skull, waiting for me.
Well done, Zozo. You've proven yourself and fought with honor. For that, I will give you the privilege of a warrior's death. You deserve little else.
All that bluster can't disguise how scared you are, Shogun Skull. I know the truth. You never would have gotten to where you are without people like me. And what the Warden Ninja gives, the Warden Ninja can take away. That's the true way of the ninja.
How arrogant, Zozo. Do you really believe you can take away this?
Shogun Skull began to transform into an even larger, more dangerous version of himself. The strongest I'd ever seen him.
No more talking, Zozo. It ends now.
Well, at least we can agree on that. The battle began. The two of us clashed katanas. We seemed equally matched in skill, but because of his dark magic, Shogun Skull was bigger and stronger. For a moment, I was worried it was over for me, when suddenly my warrior spirit kicked back in, and I found the will to fight again, and I also miraculously regained all of my health. I fought harder than I ever had before, hitting Shogun Skull again and again and again, until he was almost defeated. I'd never seen him look so weak and helpless. I charged up all of my strength, and with a single blast of my sonic boom, Shogun Skull was destroyed. And peace restored to the land once more. I love a happy ending.